All right, we are finally continuing. I just found out I am 3 quests behind the current main quest. In the middle of the darkness, where the flow of time is indiscernible, something is constantly making a faint clicking sound. It's almost as if someone is fiddling with a switch in the thick and boundless darkness.
이상하다.
How strange.
화면이 계속 안 켜지네.
The screen won't turn
배터리가 다
on.
된 건가?
Is it out of battery? As he tries to fix the problem, another man's heavy breathing gradually drowns out the clicking sound. Soon the screen finally lights up. Oh my gosh. The temperature control system installed in the laboratory protects the various resources within it by keeping each room at a temperature of about 21 degrees all year round. Jerome Adams turns a surveillance device in his hand around and points the camera at the thinly dressed man in the corner. Sensing the gaze of both the man and the machine, the man shakes his dirty hair and looks up.
여긴 뭐 하러 온 건가?
What have you come here to do? It's Neil! Oh my god, it's Artem's mentor! Oh my gosh, Neil Hume finally confirmed alive? In the center of the comically tilted screen, Neil Hume trembles uncontrollably every few seconds. Maybe he's just not dressed enough for the air conditioning, or maybe there are other inexplicable reasons. Jerome Adams kneels down to roll up Neil Hume's sleeves, his gaze lingering for a moment on the needle marks and old wounds littering his skin. What is Jerome Adams doing to Neil?
이유야 늘 같죠. 스승님이 석 교수님 몸 상태 확인해달라고 부탁하셨거든요.
The reason is the same as always. Dr. Sorge told me to check up on your condition.
언제든지 CCTV로 교수님 상태를 확인할 수는 있지만 이렇게 얼굴 마주보고 확인하는 게 훨씬 직관적이니까요.
I could just use the real-time monitoring to check you up on you at any time, but it's more intuitive to do this in person.
스승님께서는 교수님이 금방 무너지실 거라고 생각하셨는데 그렇진 않은 것 같네요.
He thought that you would collapse soon, but you seem to be holding on pretty well. Is that where the title collapse comes from? Will Neil Hume finally collapse? Neil Hume lets out a sardonic laugh in response to Jerome Adams' earnest concern. He glares at the man in front of him, or more precisely at the folder the man has placed on the ground behind him.
고유진이 또 나한테 무슨 짓을 시키려는 건가?
Oh, Yujin, is that what he said?
설마 내가 잘 협조하면 육체적인 고통이 덜할 거라고 말하려는 건 아니겠지?
What does Wilson Sorge want from me? Don't tell me that you're going to threaten me by saying that it'll be easier if I cooperate.
가끔은 정말 이해가 안 돼.
I really don't understand.
세상에 법을 아는 사람이 그렇게 많은데 왜 하필 날 골랐나?
There are so many people who understand the law better than me. Why does it have to be me? Looking past Jerome Adams, Neil Hume takes a long look at the pile of documents Jerome Adams brought up with him.
서류 위조, 탈세, 조세 회피. 자네들을 도와주고 싶어하는 전문가는 수두룩했을 텐데 말이야.
Forging documents, evading tax. I'm saying that there are many so-called professionals who would be willing to help you.
스승님께서는 꼭 교수님이어야만 하는 이유가 있다고 하셨죠.
Dr. Sorge said he chose you for a reason.
그리고 이 서류를 읽어보시고 위에 주석을 달아주시면 지낼 곳을 바꿔주신다고 하셨어요.
He said he'll also move you up somewhere if you read this document and make some comments on it.
이곳에서 나가게 해준다고.
He'll let me leave here?
네, 아시다시피 여기가 사람 살기 좋은 곳은 아니잖아요. 교수님의 건강 상태도 계속 악화될 거고요. 어쩌면
Yes, as you know, your health will only get worse if you stay here. He said something else, but I couldn't catch it. And then he said, maybe. Jerome Adams doesn't finish, perhaps out of consideration for Neil Hume's feelings. The abnormally calm young man and the tired-looking man stare at each other. Meanwhile, the camera in Jerome Adams' hand captures a shift in Neil Hume's emotions, from his initial anger to his current gloomy silence.
석 교수님, 사람의 생존 욕구는 포기할 수 없는 본능이라고 하더라고요.
Professor Hume, I've heard that the human survival instinct is something that can't be overcome.
자살하기 위해 건물에서 뛰어내린 사람도 결국 바닥에 닿는 마지막 순간에는 충격을 막기 위해 무의식적으로 손을 뻗는다고.
Even those who jump off a building to commit suicide will use their arms to block the impact before they hit the ground. After saying that, he nudges the folder behind him toward Neil Hume.
그러니까 교수님은 어떤 선택을 하실 건가요?
So what kind of choice will you make?
몇 줄만 써주시면 저랑 같이 여기서 떠나실 수 있는데.
Just write it down here and you can leave with me. Neil Hume looks down at the folder for a moment. The cover of the folder is completely blank. Just as he's about to open it, he suddenly grabs the camera in Jerome Adams' hand. Seeing this, the nearby guards step forward, but they quickly halt in their tracks by the piercing gaze of Jerome Adams. As a result, Neil Hume manages to turn the camera slowly until it is aimed at Jerome Adams.
떠난다.
Leave?
인질인 날 해외로 보내서 자네들이 끌고 가려는 건 아니고?
You're not planning on packing your hostage in a suitcase for a trip, are you?
교수님, 농담도 참. 그런 소문은 또 어디서 들으신 거예요?
You've got quite a sense of humor. Where did you hear that from?
간단한 추리일 뿐이네.
It's a simple deduction. Now that the camera is facing him, Jerome Adams has become the silent one.
경비 교체 주기가 전에 비해 더 잦아졌어. 오밤중에도 차량이 드나들고 말이야.
Oh, he's very observant. The guards are switching around more often, and the vehicles are moving in and out even late at night.
그 사람들이 어디로 갔다고 생각하나?
Where do you think those people are going, Jerome?
연휴를 즐기러 간 건 아닐 거 아닌가?
Don't tell me they're going on a fun holiday.
자네들의 눈에는
But you guys,
인질인 내가 이송해야 하는 물건과 다를 바 없겠지.
I'm just a hostage to be moved like cargo. Jerome Adams tilts his head to the side before chuckling, as if trying to hide his amusement and keep his composure.
경비의 교체는 정상적인 인원 이동이에요. 차량 출입 상황에 대해서는 여기서 교수님이 그런 소리를 들으실 수 있을 것 같진 않거든요.
The switching of the guards is just standard personnel change. And for the vehicles moving in and out, you wouldn't be able to hear that, would you?
그러니까 지금 저한테 거짓을 섞어가면서까지 뭔가를 떠보려고 하시는 거죠?
So
서 교수님.
You're just trying to feel me out with your half-truths, aren't you? Oh,
근데 지금은 그런 것보다 자기 처지를 고려하시는 게 더 중요하지 않을까요?
but before all of that, you should consider isn't your own situation more important? Due to the difference in their physiques and Neil Hume's poor health, Jerome Adams easily regains control of the camera with little effort. Neil Hume instinctively tries to grab Jerome Adams, who is about to stand up, but the guards beside him beat him to it. He hits the ground with a thud, clutching his
서
abdomen.
교수님, 꼭 이렇게 하셔야겠어요?
Professor Hume, do you have to
여기서
do
너무
this?
고집 피우시면 이런 대우밖에 못 받으실 텐데요.
If you're this stubborn, you won't be able to receive any other kind of treatment than this.
그러니까 자네 말은 나보고 협조하라는 건가?
So, you want to say that I should cooperate with you?
여긴 너무 어두워서 글씨가 잘 안 보이는군. 자네가 대신 읽어주지 그래.
It's so dark in here that I can't even see the words. Why don't you read it out for me?
한번 보도록 하지. 고유진이 보낸 개가 또 어떤 수작을 부릴 수 있는지 말이야.
Ooh, let me see what new tricks Wilson Sorge has taught his dog. Wow. Neil Hume glares vehemently at Jerome Adams. He doesn't avert his eyes, even if it means he might get kicked again. Ooh, I like Neil.
내가 그 얼굴에 이렇게 한 방 먹였지.
He seems like a very strong-willed man, which is, what we expect from Artem's mentor. After that, I aimed right at his stubborn face and pow.
그리고 한 방을 확 날려줬지.
Then I followed up with a punch like this.
아무리 건장한 남성이라도 버틸 수 없을 걸.
Even a strong man wouldn't have been able to endure that. In a karaoke bar decorated in the style of the last century, a chubby-faced man punches violently at the air. The people around him all move aside to give him more room. One of them even refills the man's glass.
아이고 김씨, 이제 20대도 다 지났는데 몸 좀 사려야지.
아이고, you're not in your early 20s anymore.
몸을 살이라고? 그렇게 해서 돈이나 벌겠어? 사지 멀쩡할 때 많이 벌어둬야지.
Last I checked, taking it easy doesn't get me paid.
근데 지금 하는 일도 오래 못할 것 같아.
But I don't think I'll be able to do this type of work any longer.
또 일자리 옮기려고?
Are you changing jobs again?
돈은 벌만큼 벌었어. 일을 옮기긴 무슨.
I've made enough work. Why keep working? Sorry, I've made enough money. Why keep working? Sorry. The man chugs the dark liquid in front of him.
20살 때부터 참 힘들게 살아왔지.
I've been living a
이제야
difficult life since I
큰돈
was
좀 만질 수
20.
있게 된 거야.
Now I'm finally making it big.
큰 돈? 김씨, 그게 무슨...
Big? Finn, what are you...
뭐 그리 묻는 게 많아?
Why are
짜증나.
you asking so many questions?
마셔.
So annoying. Drink, drink. Obviously enjoying the feeling of knowing more than everyone else, the man shakes his glass and then smashes it down hard on the call button next to him.
걱정 마.
Don't worry.
술값이 100만이 나오든 1000만이 나오든 나중에 바로 다 현금으로 갚아줄 테니까.
Even if the bill comes out to $1 million or 10 million, I'll have the money for you in 2 days.
돈 못 받으면 변호사 시켜서 나 잡아가라고. 어때?
You can send your lawyer after me, otherwise. How's that? Not wanting to spoil the mood, the manager lets out a few awkward chuckles at the lousy joke. As empty bottles keep falling onto the carpet, more waiters come in with more bottles of various colors. Even though it's already lunchtime, Rosa is still in Artem's office. A man in a black and white uniform sits awkwardly on one side of the medium-sized coffee table, glancing at her and Artem side by side.
그날 밤이 지나고 김 씨가 진짜로 사라져 버릴 줄은 누가 알았겠습니까?
How could anyone have known that after that night passed, he really would disappear?
아예 연락이 안 됩니다. 술값에 말할 것도 없고요.
I couldn't reach him at
여러
all.
번 생각해봤지만 역시 변호사한테 상담하는 게 좋을 것 같더군요.
And the bill was so high that I decided to consult an attorney.
백 변호사님? 백 변호사님!
Mr. Wing? Mr. Wing? Seeing Artem fully focused on reading the document in his hand, the karaoke bar manager hesitates for a moment before waving his hand in front of him. Artem hasn't uttered a word since the man started talking about his situation. He isn't distracted, but rather it's more like his thoughts have dragged him into a silent abyss. Is he still feeling jet-lagged? Rosa tugs the corner of Artem's suit gently while the manager isn't paying attention. If I knew this would happen, I would have just said no when he asked me to help him change his flight to go home earlier. Lately, Artem has been on one international business trip after another without a break, and he also mentioned this many times during meetings with the N2X investigation team. However, just when she thought this busy period would continue for a while, she received news a few days ago that he would return home early. Thinking of this, she can't help but glance at the suitcase at the corner of the office. Artem came to meet his client the moment he got off the plane.
전 괜찮습니다.
I'm alright.
자료를 보는데 그냥 좀 이상한 설명이 있어서요.
After looking at this properly, I noticed a strange description.
김 씨. 그러니까 김태석 씨가 노래방에 거액의 외상을 달아두고 연락이 두절됐다는 겁니까?
So you lost contact with Mr. Finn Jackson after he spent a lot of money on credit at your karaoke bar? Rosa can't help but look at the same document Artem was staring intently at a few seconds ago, spotting a photo inside it. The middle-aged man in the photo is wearing a full suit, and his shiny leather shoes seem to have caught Artem's attention.
몇 주 전의
Yes.
일입니다.
It's been a few weeks since then.
김씨, 그러니까 김태석은 저희 가게 단골 손님입니다. 자주 와서 노래도 부르고 그랬죠.
Kim Tae-seok, Finn Jackson, is a regular of ours who often came to sing.
근데 그날 밤처럼 비싼 걸 닥치는 대로 주문한 적은 없었습니다.
But I've never seen him act that way before.
김씨 지갑 사정을 잘 알기 때문에
I knew he
일부러
wasn't well off,
물어보기까지 했고요.
so I kept deliberately double-checking with him to be sure.
근데 워낙 성격이 다혈질이라 대놓고 돈을 갚으라고 하진 못했습니다.
But he's the
그냥
impatient and impulsive
언제 또
type,
들릴 건지만 물어봤죠.
so I didn't want to be too obvious when asking him to pay up. I just asked when he would come again.
그때 김씨는 가슴을 치면서 금방 돈 받아서 갚을 거라고 했습니다. 근데 나중에 전화했을 때는 받지를 않더군요.
At that time, he confidently reassured me that it wouldn't be long before he would have the money, but he didn't pick up my calls after that.
아이, 설마.
Don't tell me he. The manager clasps his hands together and twists his fingers nervously. Rosa starts frowning before his worried mumbling can lead her thoughts astray. Manager, as far as I know, legitimate karaoke bars generally don't allow customers to spend on credit, correct? Plus, you said you knew that he wasn't well off, so why did you still allow him to leave without paying that night?
김태석 씨는 개인적으로 친분이 있는 사이입니다. 전에도 돈을 빌려준 적이 있는데 항상 제때 갚았고요.
We have a close enough a personal relationship. And I've lent him money in the past. He always paid me back on time.
근데 이렇게 오랫동안 실종 상태 아닙니까?
But he's been missing for so
그런
long.
나쁜 추측은 하고 싶지 않습니다만
I don't want to assume anything malicious.
혹시라도
But maybe
그래서 물어보러 온 겁니다.
So that's why I came to consult
정말
you.
만약에 어쩔 수 없이 법적 절차를 밟아 채무를 추심해야 한다면 제 쪽에서 뭘 준비해야 하는 겁니까?
If I need to take legal action to recover the debt, then what should I do?
당연하겠지만 작은 일이기 때문에 꼭 백 변호사님께 부탁드릴 필요는 없을 것 같습니다만.
Though this is just a small issue, so it doesn't need to be you who handles this. The manager looks at Artem uneasily, perhaps aware of how much he charges for a case. Fees aside, Mr. Wing will probably assign a small case like this to me or another young attorney. Mr. Wing, Artem closes the folder the moment Rosa starts speaking. A corner of the photo is still exposed. As Artem takes another look at the man in the photo, a strange look flashes across his face. But before she can give him a puzzled look, he turns to look at the karaoke bar manager with his usual
이
professional
일은
demeanor.
제가 계속 맡겠습니다. 처음부터 저를 지명해서 의뢰를 맡기셨으니까요. 안 그렇습니까?
I'll take care of your case. Since you asked for me specifically, that's what I should do, right?
그것도 맞긴 한데.
Well, that's right, but
그때는 홈페이지만 보고 변호사님 연락처가 가장 위에 있길래 거기로 전화한 거라서요.
I just saw your contact details at the very top of the website, so that's why I called you.
근데 나중에 들어보니까
But then later I heard,
정말 다른 사람들이 말하는 것만큼 의뢰비가 비쌉니까?
are you really as costly as they say? In response to the seriousness of the manager's odd question, Artem raises his eyebrows and smiles helplessly.
비용은 걱정하지 않으셔도 됩니다.
You don't need to worry about the fee.
전 의뢰 유형에 따라 비용을 받습니다. 간단한 법률 상담은 상상하시는 것만큼 높지 않습니다.
My fees vary according to the type of case I take. A simple legal consultation won't cost you very much.
다시 말씀드리면 전 비쌀 수도 그리 비싸지 않을 수도 있다는 겁니다.
In other words, I can charge a lot, but there are times I don't. After saying that, he glances at the glass separating the office from the corridor for some reason. Rosa follows his gaze and sees Kiki Bennett waving and pointing at her. She rushes over to the glass door and closes it behind her so that Artem and his new client can talk in peace.
선배, 한참 찾았잖아요.
Sunbae, I finally
선배,
found you.
빨리 와봐요.
Hurry.
선배 자리에 있는 유선 전화기가 한참 동안 울렸다고요.
The landline
엄청 급한
phone on your desk has been ringing
클라이언트인가
for a
봐요.
while now. It might be an urgent client. Someone is calling my landline number? Even clients with the most urgent business needs usually reach out using her mobile number these days. Yet another unusual situation since Artem's return unfolds as she walks quickly toward the phone ringing at her desk. After answering the call, she hears a familiar voice. Okay, that's on the voice. Will it be Jerome Adams? I just expect him everywhere.
여보세요?
Oh, it's Marius. Okay. Hello.
변호사 누나 전화 맞나요?
Is this...
법률 의뢰를 상담하고 싶은데요.
Is this Nuna's phone number? Oh, Jesus. Does he have to say it like that? I need a legal consultation. Marius, why didn't you just call my mobile number?
메시지 보냈는데도 답장이 없어서 유선 전화로 건 거예요.
There was no response to my messages, so I called
내가
you instead.
맞춰볼까요? 아침 일찍부터 변호사 사무소에 가서 여태까지 휴대폰 볼 시간도 없었던 거죠?
Let me guess. You got to work early and haven't had a chance to check your phone since then.
전에 출장 때문에 바쁘시다던 분이 나타나셨나 봐요.
Does that mean that the guy who's been busy with business trips is finally back? Marius's teasing voice comes through the phone, but she instinctively picks up on a bit of curiosity and willfulness underneath. Since she has nothing to hide from him, she nods and tells him everything about the current situation. Yes, Mr. Wing returned on a morning flight today, and I've been busy since we were discussing a new case.
마침 잘 됐어요. 나도 두 변호사님이 확인해줬으면 하는 게 있거든요.
Good timing. I happen to have some new information I need you two to confirm for me. What new information? She can vaguely hear someone else talking on the other side of the phone, and the voice is also strangely familiar. Is it Luke? As she leans closer to the receiver to listen carefully, Marius's voice drowns out the other sounds.
여기서 얘기하려면 한참 걸릴 것 같은데요.
It's gonna take a long time to tell you,
그러니까 본부에서 만나서 얘기해요.
so let's just meet at the headquarters and talk. Ooh, wonder what's happening in this story. Several hours later, Rosa and Artem arrive at the headquarters. The first thing she sees after opening the door is Marius, who is reading a pile of documents on the sofa. Marius, are the others not here yet? An unknown object suddenly bursts in the quiet room. When she opens her eyes after a moment, all she can see is Artem's back.
뭐지?
What was that? Mr. Wing, you...
어라? 내가 생각한 것보다 반응 속도가 훨씬 빠르네요.
Oh, your reaction speed is faster than I expected. What happened? I can't see anything. Mr. Wing? While she's trying to get away from Artem to see what's going on, she suddenly hears Marius' casual comment.
이럴 줄 알았으면 누나도 끌어들일 걸 그랬어요. 그럼 확실히 성공률이 올라갔을 텐데.
If I'd known this would happen, I would have told you in advance or something, right? Then I would have had 100% of success. Tracing the sound to its source, she sees that Marius has put away the paper or documents and is now holding a small party popper. Artem must have acted on instinct when he stood in front of her to protect her the moment the popper went. That's so cute. I see. I love Artem's instincts. Just instantly steps in front of Rose to protect her. His shoulders are covered with colorful confetti. Looking further into the distance, she sees that Marius is winking at her slyly. Your coat, let me clean it for you.
폭죽? 이게 무슨...
Party poppers? What is this?
일찍 귀국해서 회의에 참석하게 된 걸 축하하는 거예요. 오랫동안 자리를 비웠잖아요. 다들 보고 싶어 했다고요.
I'm congratulating you on returning to our meetings. You've left your seat empty for a long while, haven't you? Everyone's missed you.
축하요.
Congratulations. As if he's trying to verify the truth of Marius' words, Artem mumbles as he looks at the surroundings. Without saying a word, the two other people visible to him in the conference room choose to avoid his eyes at this moment.
우리는 유신우 씨가 사람들이 모인 겸 회의하자고 해서 왔을 뿐이에요. 그 다음에 일어난 일에 대해서는
We only know that Marius wanted to gather everyone for this meeting. As for what happened, he raises his eyebrows as he seems to recall something. Then he stealthily stuffs the colorful flag in his hand behind a sofa pillow. They really did. That's so cute. They did miss him.
저도 잘 모르는 일이니까 깊게 파고들지 마세요.
I don't remember anything anymore, so let's just not think too deeply about it.
저도요. 윤노아 씨가 증명해 줄 거예요. 절대 제가 자발적으로 한 게 아니거든요.
Me too. Vin can testify. They forced me to do this. Marius gave everyone some items to welcome the two of them with, but some of them thought these items were too childish and didn't use them. Perhaps they did their best not to complain about Marius calling everyone here just for this until Rosa and Artem appeared. Because of this, Rosa nods out of some unspoken understanding. I can imagine. Shall we get back to the matter at hand? On the phone, Marius told me that there was some new information to confirm. What is he referring to? A rare Marius Artem moment.
그거라면 아마 강역시 쪽 조사 진도와 관련된 일일 거예요.
Perhaps it's related to the progress of Luke's investigation.
이제 시작했을 뿐이죠.
My investigation has just started. Without further explanation, Luke opens the big data lab and pulls up the
전에
page.
여민석 정서빈 사건으로 폭로됐던 해마회 고위층 자살 사건 말인데 국정원으로부터 추가 조사 허가 받았어요.
Regarding the suicide of executive members of the Seahorse Association exposed by the case involving Hank Barnes and Orcus Mallory, I now have the NSB's permission to discuss the investigation or something like that.
보이는 것처럼 조사팀도 빅데이터 센터에서 관련 사건 서류를 열람할 권한을 가지게 됐고요.
As you can see, the investigation team also has access to the relevant case files through the big data lab.
사건이 오래됐고 워낙 특별한 사건이다 보니 앞으로는 경찰 측과 합동해서 수사를 진행하게 될 거예요.
Given the long time expansion and special nature of the incident, I'm working on the investigation alongside the police.
어느 쪽이든 진전이 있으면 바로 전달할게요.
If there's any progress from that side, I'll share it with you. The cold electronic screen doesn't offer much, just a list of names that ring all too familiar, such as Hank Barnes, Luna Barnes, and Letta Gray. Oh yeah, that story was really sad. Behind each of those names are real people who got caught up in the same conspiracy at different points of time until they came to their attention. From the Sophora painting in Letta Gray's room to the old pyramid schemes case, the trail leading to the origins of the N2X drug research is becoming clearer. We must be getting close to the truth. It won't be long until...
경찰이랑 협동 수사를 하는 것 자체에는 이견이 없는데요. 근데
I don't have any opinions regarding a joint investigation with the police, but... Marius's voice interrupts her thoughts. Eyes fixed on the screen, he casually wraps the colorful confetti from the party poppers around his finger before releasing them again.
내가 잘못 본 건지 모르겠는데 이것보다 더 높은 우선순위의 사건이 있는 것 같은데요.
I don't know if my eyes are just playing tricks on me, but haven't some cases been bumped up to a higher priority? As Luke scrolls up the screen, everyone sees a line of highlighted
저거요.
text.
김태석 실종 사건.
There, that Finn Jackson disappearance case.
김태석?
Finn Jackson. That's the person who disappeared in the case Mr. Wing just accepted. After Rosa says that, everyone looks at Artem. While everyone waits for him to say something, he stares at the screen, deep in thought like he was before in his office. However, he seems unfazed by the case or the familiar name in front of him, calmly switching into his work mode as if it were second nature.
그 사람이 맞네요.
That's him.
자세히 한번 보여줄 수 있나요?
Can I see the details?
마침 의뢰인이 제공한 관련 자료도 가져왔으니까 빠르게 대조해 볼 수 있겠네요.
I happen to have information provided by the client with me, so we can do a quick cross-reference. After speaking, he switches places with Luke and browses the information on the screen, looking down occasionally to make notes on his documents. Rosa has seen this play out countless times at the firm. Knowing how meticulously Artem handles the details, she figures they'll be waiting for a while. However, she hears him clearing his throat gently after just a few minutes.
전체적으로 봤을 때 제가 의뢰인한테 얻은 정보는 김태석의 개인 정보와 실종 전 행적에 치중돼 있어요.
The information I got about the client before he vanished is primarily about his background and
그래서
whereabouts.
빅데이터 센터에 있는 정보들로 김태석이 실종된 다음의 행적에 대한 부분을 보완했죠.
The Big Data Lab offers clues about where he might have gone after his disappearance.
지금부터 이 정보들을 토대로 간단하게 사건을 정리해 볼게요.
I'll give everyone a brief overview of the case based on both sources of information. From where they're standing, she can see that Artem has circled many things on the documents he brought with him in just a few minutes. Saying he'll give us a brief overview is just his way of being humble. Mr. Wing's work efficiency is simply out of this world.
김태석의 개인 정보부터 보도록 하죠.
Let's look at his personal information
김태석은
first.
과거에도 절도 혐의로 징역형을 살았고 약 5년 전부터 미림시에서 일을 시작했어요.
He served a prison sentence due to suspected involvement in a robbery and moved to Stellis around 5 years ago to find a job.
지금까지 경비나 운전기사 같은 일을 해오긴 했지만
Up until
다
now,
오래가진 않았고요.
he's been working as a security guard driver, but he hasn't stayed long in any of these jobs.
일 자체가 비정규직인 것도 있지만 자진해서 사직한 경우가 꽤 많죠.
This might be because most of them were part-time jobs, and he tends to resign quite frequently.
일을 자주 바꿨던 이유에 대해서는 의뢰인의 기억을 토대로 간단하게 정리해봤어요.
As for the reason why he kept changing jobs, I roughly recorded some of the reasons the client told me. Having said that, Artem passes the documents around, letting everyone take turns reading them. Some of the contents are obviously a transcript of the karaoke bar manager's words, probably from when she went to answer the phone call at her desk. Couldn't make quick money, low wages, quarrels with coworkers, held in custody for fighting. One of these so-called reasons was that he felt that his boss glared at him in the mornings, which leaves her speechless. As she reads the documents, she starts to understand why Artem wanted her to read them themselves instead of just explaining everything. Whatever he says now might influence their opinions and lead them to jump to conclusions about Finn Jackson's behaviors. Is Mr. Wing choosing to let us read the materials ourselves instead of commenting on Finn Jackson to ensure we remain unbiased? But even so, most people probably still see Finn Jackson in the same light.
사람들의 시각으로 본다면 김태석은 돈에 눈이 먼 양아치군요.
To the average person, he was just nothing but a greedy ruffian. Or bully. Vin says what everyone is probably thinking before she does.
생활도 불안정하고 언행에도 충동적인 면이 여기저기 보이네요.
There was no stability in his life. Everything he did or said seemed to reveal his impulsive and emotional nature.
의뢰인인 노래방 매니저도 같은 생각이겠죠. 그래서 회상할 때 무의식적으로 이런 편향적인 서술을 한 걸 거고요.
This is exactly what your client thinks as well, which is why his account of the incident seems to be colored by a subconscious bias.
김태석은 노래방에서 광기 어린 소비를 보여주고서 갚겠다는 약속을 했어요.
He promised to repay the debt from
김태석의
the
성격을 아는
karaoke
매니저는
bar,
전혀 믿지 않았을 거예요.
but it's clear the manager didn't trust him due to his understanding of Finn Jackson's character.
이렇게 보면
If we look at it like that,
법률 지원을 찾은 동기도 명확하네요.
we can see evidence of why the manager chose to seek legal aid.
시간이 흐르면서 김태석이 약속을 안 지키고 숨어버렸다는
As time went
최악의
on,
경우를 가정하게 된 거죠.
he seemed to confirm that Finn Jackson was unable to fulfill his promise and had gone into hiding. After listening to Finn's inference, Rosa frowns after contemplating his words briefly. Going into hiding to avoid his debts, neither his personal situation nor anything he has done or said before his disappearance can make us sure of this conclusion, right?
맞아요.
That's right.
의뢰인의 생각은 그렇다 치더라도
Even though that's what the
김태석의
client thinks,
과거만으로는 사라진 이유를 단정짓기 어렵죠.
it's difficult for us to come to any definite conclusion based on his past experiences.
게다가 빅데이터 센터에서 제공한 사건의 세부 사항을 고려해 보면 채무를 피하기 위해서 도피했다는 주장은 설득력이 떨어져요.
Moreover, The hypothesis that he's gone into hiding to avoid his debts is even more untenable after considering the information from the big data lab. Ooh.
그건 또 무슨 말이에요?
What do you mean by that?
일주일 전쯤에 미림시 교회의 한 파출소에서 가짜 자동차 부품 암거래 사건을 수사하던 중
About a week
우연히
ago,
김태석의 차를 발견했다고 해요.
a police station in the suburbs of Dallas found Finn Jackson's car while investigating a case on the illegal reselling of vehicle parts.
교회에 폐기된 쓰레기 매립장이 버려져 있었는데 차체에
Mm.
충돌 흔적이 뚜렷하게 남아 있는 데다가 주변에서 김태석의 발자국도 발견됐죠.
His car was dumped in an abandoned landfill in the suburbs, but the damage on the body of the car makes it obvious that it had collided with something and his footprints were found nearby.
사건 현장을 종합적으로 조사한 결과 현재 경찰은 김태석이 어떤 원인으로 인해 차를 버리고 도망쳤을 확률이 높다고 판단했고요.
Based on the findings at the scene, the police judged that it's possible he abandoned the vehicle and fled the scene for some reason.
하지만 그 근처 CCTV가 부족해서
But there
차체
aren't enough
손상의
security
원인이
cameras in that area,
교통사고 때문인 건지 교통법규를 위반해서 그런 건지는 아직 확실하지 않아요.
so they can't be sure what damaged the car, if it was an accident or breaking traffic rules. The karaoke bar manager said Finn Jackson ordered a lot of expensive alcohol on credit at the karaoke bar that night. Could he have had an accident while driving under the influence of alcohol?
두 사건이 전후 관계에 연관성이 있을 수는
These two
있겠지만
incidents might be related,
사건 현장을 확인해 보지 않은 상황에서 결론을 내리는 건 어려울 것 같아요.
but it's difficult to draw a conclusion unless we take a closer look at the crime scene.
왜냐하면 그날 밤 김태석이 운전한 차에는 김태석 혼자만 있었던 게 아닐 가능성이 높거든요.
That's because there's a high possibility that he wasn't the only person in the car that night. More photos pop up after Artem taps the screen. The photos are all images of the landfill. In the center of the screen is a private vehicle with a QR code on it.
현재 경찰이 제공한 정보에 따르면 김태석은 부업으로 콜택시를 했는데 거의 매일 운행했던 걸로 보여요.
Oh, according to the information provided by the police, Finn Jackson works as a ride-sharing service driver on the side, picking up passengers every day to make some extra money.
쓰레기 매립장에 버려진 차 안에도 실제로 승객이 남긴 개인 물품이 남아 있었고요.
The personal belongings of a passenger were found in the car he abandoned at the landfill.
그리고 그 승객은 현재 김태석과 동일하게 행방불명 상태죠.
Like him, this passenger is also missing.
해당 승객도 미림시에 거주하는 시민인데 이름은 최예월.
This passenger is a
글로벌
citizen of
전자상거래
Stellis,
회사를 운영한다고 해요.
Tara Upton, and she runs a cross-border e-commerce company. According to the photos taken by the police, the inside of the car is a complete mess. Ride-sharing service cases that she has seen on the news flood her mind, and each case is terrifying enough to shatter people's assumptions of urban safety. No, I can't assume the worst immediately. While pushing the horrifying thoughts out of her mind, she notices something strange in Artem's narrative. Yeah, man, it's dangerous out there. Although the belongings of a passenger were found in the car, Artem still said it was only likely that there wasn't just one person in the car. Doesn't the presence of another person's belongings in the car directly prove that a passenger had gotten into Finn Jackson's car? Unless... By the way, did Finn Jackson really manage to avoid all their surveillance cameras on the night he disappeared? He just vanished into thin air like that?
쓰레기 매립장 일대의 인프라가 워낙 안 좋거든요. 화인이 전에 그쪽 지역을 개발하려고 해서 답사를 가본 적 있어요.
The infrastructure around the landfill is horribly poor. I surveyed the area myself because Pax was once interested in developing it.
말 그대로 상업적 가치가 없는 맹지예요.
It's pretty worthless.
뭐 우리한테는 그렇더라도 김태석한테는 그렇지 않을지도 모르지만요.
It's worthless to us, but maybe it wasn't so worthless to Finn Jackson.
진짜 전형적인 양아치라면 말이에요.
If he is just a regular ruffian,
김태석 본인의 능력이랑 인맥을 이용하면 몇 개 있지도 않은 CCTV를 피하는 것 정도는 어려운 일이 아니니까요.
if he used his abilities and connections, then it wouldn't have been so difficult to dodge the cameras working there. Marius deliberately glances at Artem after expressing his opinion on Finn
물론
Jackson.
지금은 다 가설일 뿐이에요.
But these are just my
아직
assumptions.
김태석에 대한 결론을 내린 건 아니고요.
I haven't drawn any conclusions about Kim Tae-seok.
어떤 상황이든 우선 쓰레기 매립장에 가서 직접 봐야 판단할 수 있는 거잖아요.
In any
안
case,
그래요?
we should check out the landfill ourselves before jumping to any conclusions, right? Even without the case, Finn Jackson is someone Artem needs to find urgently, so he will definitely go. Thinking about that, she shoots a quick glance at Artem. Just as she expects, he nods and then takes back the documents he passed around.
그렇네요.
That's right.
김태석은 제 의뢰의 관련자이기도 하니
Since he's related
제가
to another
사건의 후속
case I'm
조치를 하는
handling,
편이 좋을 거예요.
it's better if I go.
최대한 빨리 경찰 쪽에 사건 현장 출입을 신청하고 의뢰인과 추가적인 정보를 확인하도록 하죠.
I'll quickly file an application with the police to get access to the crime scene and verify the details with my client.
의뢰인은 김태석과 개인적인 친분이 있으니 사건 해결에 도움이 될 만한 정보를 더 얻을 수 있을지도
The
모르겠네요.
client seems close to Kim Tae-seok, so he might be able to provide more information.
혼자서요?
Alone? Vin sounds very calm, like he's asking if someone will go home or stay a little longer after getting off work. But even so, she can hear what he's implying. The case Artem accepted is progressing too quickly, and there are too many coincidences. After receiving just one phone call from a karaoke bar manager, Artem rushed back from overseas merely for a debt collection consultation. The disappearance of the debtor was also recorded and highlighted by the Big Data Lab. Is it because Mr. Wing already knows something that he's acting so quickly? If Artem had really conducted investigations on his own during his frequent business trips, that might explain why he's reacting so quickly. But he still hasn't told me what he did during his business trips. At the same time, she worries she might come across as overreacting if she starts questioning him about this. What if Artem really has been busy with the firm's affairs? While she wonders if she should interrupt their conversation, Vin's tone becomes more confrontational. Ooh.
사건 현장에 가는 것, 그리고 의뢰인과 만나는 것. 이건 분신술을 할 수 있는 게 아닌 이상 효율을 살려 동시에 할 방법은 없을 것 같은데요.
Unless you can be in two places at once. Impossible to efficiently visit the crime scene and meet your clients at the same time.
단독 행동도 팀원들이 선호하는 방식은 아니고요.
And working alone is not typically how our team operates unless...
백은우 씨한테는 이 사건을 빨리 조사해야 하는 특별한 이유라도 있는 건가요?
Perhaps do you have some reason that you need to start investigating this case as soon as possible?
제 뜻은
What I meant was, the fact that Dr. Richter also has similar doubts is not surprising, but I don't think he'll get the answer he wants by asking Mr. Wing directly. I should ask Mr. Wing if he'll let me go with him while I still can. I'll take this one step at a time. She tries to find the right moment to speak before the conversation becomes awkward, but then Artem shakes his head and breaks the brief silence.
당연히 그런 뜻은 아니에요.
Of course I didn't mean that.
저와 함께 움직일 시간이 있다면 반대할 이유가 없죠.
I have no reason to object to anyone joining me if they're free.
근데 제가 알기로 윤노아 씨는 교마회와의 심리 상담이 아직 안 끝났을 거거든요.
But as far as I know, you're not finished with your psychological consultation work with the White Horse Association. The topic steers away from Artem again. Vin also decides not to delve deeper into the matter like before and simply admits it.
네.
Yes.
그래서 요즘은 자리를 비울 수가 없어요.
So recently,
하지만 그렇다고 해서
there's no space in my schedule.
다른 사람도 바쁜 건 아니죠.
However, it's only my schedule and does not necessarily reflect the availability of
그럼-
others.
투표 어때요?
Then why don't we vote?
다들 손 들어봐요. 이 시간대에 다른 일 때문에 바쁘면 손을 내리는 거예요.
If you're busy during that time, go ahead and lower your hand. Maria seems to be enjoying himself and fans the flames by interjecting at this moment. Although it sounds like a joke at first, judging from his expression, he seems to be playing another one of his usual tricks. However, this time, Vin and Luke aren't in a hurry to distance themselves from the matter like before and raise their hands at the same time.
유치하지만 비교적 공평한 방법이긴 하네요.
This is childish, but it is a relatively fair approach. I'll do what everyone else is then. Huh? After several seconds, her hand is the only one still in the air. Since the others also agreed to vote on this matter, she thought that at least one of them would want to participate in the investigation. Why else would they have raised their hands to such enthusiasm? While still in shock and trying to wrap her head around the situation, she turns to Luke, who was closest to her. Luke, you...
국정원에서 해마회 고위층을 대상으로 한 조사가 이제 막 시작된 참이라 지원 가야 하거든.
The NSB has started investigating the executive members of the Seahorse Association, so I have to support them.
다들 나보다는 시간이 있을 거라고 생각해서 손을 내린 건데 아니면 다시 한 번 더 투표할까?
I put my hand down because I figured you'd all have more free time than me. Should we vote again? It's okay, you do what you need to do. What about you, Marius? Marius, who seems to be the most excited earlier, sticks his tongue out at her.
좀 봐줘요, 누나. 수업 들으러 가야 된다고요. 아직 논문이랑 과제가 한참 남았단 말이에요.
Let me off this once, Nina. I've still got classes and a ton of papers and assignments. He's just busy being a college student.
마감에 쫓기는 게 얼마나 힘든 일인데요.
It's tough being a deadline fighter. Why are they all... Meanwhile, Vin smiles casually as if Marius had acted exactly as he anticipated and done just what he hoped. After recalling Vin's profession and seeing a rare, relaxed expression on his face, she instantly understands what's going on. It's okay. Everyone has gone through this before. Well, it looks like it'll just be me and Mr. Wing then.
전 괜찮아요.
I'm fine with
같이
that.
움직이면 마음도 좀 놓일 거고요.
I'm more at ease with you there. I am too. Artem also seems a little surprised by what's happening, but he
일단
accepts it.
주차장에서 차 가지고 올게요.
I'll get the car
밖에서
from the
조금만
garage.
기다려줘요.
Wait for me. Sure thing, Mr. Wing. After watching Artem leave, she turns her gaze back to the room. Marius pulls a huge shoulder bag out from behind the sofa and deftly takes a Bluetooth earbud case out of a side pocket. The scene really reminds her that he is still a college student after all. Hold on, an earbud case? Marius, when did you start using earbuds? She remembers that he usually wears headphones, yet here he is wearing earbuds. Marius seems to be excited that someone has finally noticed something different about him and opens the small charging case in front of her again. Why is this so funny?
드디어 알아봐주는 사람이 생겼네요.
Finally, someone who noticed.
타인에서 개발 중인 블루투스 스포츠 이어폰인데 기존 모델의 거리 제한을 개선한 모델이에요.
These are
아직
Bluetooth
테스트
earbuds
중이지만요.
that PAX is developing. They've overcome the range limits of the old model, but they're still a work in progress.
개발팀 사람들 다 하나씩 쓰고 있는데 내가 안 쓸 수 없죠.
Everyone on the R&D team is using one, so of course I am too.
아, 누나. 일로 좀 더 와봐요.
Nuna, come here. What is it? Here's about the new product. She gets closer to him. Behind Marius, Vin seems to prop up his glasses, catching her attention with a flash of reflected light.
이어폰을 먼저 쓰고 머리카락을 이쪽으로 넘기면
If you put this on and then move your hair to the side like this,
움직이지 말아봐요. 내가 머리카락 정리해 줄게요.
and stay still, don't move, I'll move your hair for you.
짜잔.
짜잔.
이러면 수업 때 대놓고 딴짓할 수 있어요. 학교든 어디든.
You can slack off in class, whether at school or otherwise. In class, alarm bells go off in her mind. Yeah, this is definitely not something you want a professor to hear. Vin gets up and walks to the door before she can move her hair back in place. He then puts his hand on the handle.
소리나 쳐도 다 들려요.
I already heard everything.
제가 학교에서 유신우 씨 전공을 가르치진 않지만
I'm not the one teaching you,
교수
but
앞에서 큰 소리로 잔머리 굴리는 모습 보이는 건 좋지 않아요, 학생.
it's still not good to plot openly like this in front of any professor. He then closes the door behind him after teasing the both of them. God, they're so silly. Playful Marius is very cute. Vin walks around the garden with great familiarity and soon finds Artem's car. Oh my god! The ex-husbands! The ex-husband interaction. I love it every time we get it. Artem, who is flipping through the documents in his hand beside the car, looks up after hearing Vin approach. As if he were expecting Vin to appear uninvited sooner or later, Artem closes the documents and looks at him.
처음부터 시간 되는 사람은 딱 한 사람뿐이라는 걸 알고서 투표하는 걸 묵인한 거죠.
Knowing that she was the only person who would be available right from the start, you went ahead with the vote, right?
절 따라오게끔 만들려고.
You made it so that she would be able to keep an eye on me.
단독 행동은 위험하니까요.
It's dangerous to ask on your it's dangerous to act on your own. I think I've already proven that. Oh my god. Oh my god! Call back to his crazy actions, but it seems like genuine concern. Like, I love the development of N2X investigation team and how they're getting closer to each other. Interjecting softly to stop Artem from saying his inference out loud, Vin glances at the villa door he had just closed gently. The dazzling white steps in the sunlight remind him of some past events, bringing a smile to his face.
그 일 덕분에 조사팀에서 가장 믿을 만한 사람이 누구인지 확인할 수 있었죠.
Thanks to that incident, I was able to confirm who the most reliable member of our team is.
그건 그렇고 너무 급하게 나가는 거 아닌가요?
But you left in such a hurry that
두고 가다니.
didn't you forget something?
네?
응?
뭐 두고 온 기억 없는데.
I don't think I left anything. Artem's confused whisper is cut off abruptly. Silence fills the air as he stares at the name on the document folder in Vin's hand.
전에 유선상으로 말한 적 있죠.
I mentioned
돌아온
this
뒤에 얘기할 게 있다고.
over the phone earlier. There's something that I wanted to talk to you about.
이번에도 김태석 사건처럼 최대한 빨리 읽어줬으면 해요.
I hope you'll be able to go through these documents with the same speed and efficiency you demonstrated when working on Vin Jackson's case. Alright, it's time for the investigation at the crime scene. Oh, the car. It doesn't take long before the police approve their application to go to the place where Vin Jackson abandoned his car, and the two set off one morning. Marius is right. The place looks desolate, possibly because the development plan was shelved. As it took the entire morning to get from here to the city, it's already noon.
넘어지지 않게 발 조심해요.
Careful not to fall. After seeing the environment here, Artem decisively takes the lead and guides her along the narrow path through the garbage. Although she'd prepared good walking shoes because she anticipated the situation here, the path is more difficult to traverse than the two would have imagined. So, they move slowly toward the scorching sun. Right, under the scorching sun. Man, I can do it. The light reflecting from the abandoned metal next to the road makes it even hotter. A sigh of relief escapes her lips when she sees the police at the end of the path. When offered a bottle of mineral water by a young policeman, Artem waves politely to decline and starts looking around.
엄반장님, 지금 이게
Captain Morgan, right now, policemen are rushing around everywhere in sight, but there's also a crowd of people nearby.
실종자와 관련된 정보를 놓치지 않도록 아직 전담반 사람들이 일대를 전면 수색하고 있습니다.
The task force is conducting a blanket search here, so we won't miss any important information related to the missing persons. Captain Morgan, as far as we know, hasn't Finn Jackson been missing for almost a month now? They should have already searched for him ages ago. This landfill is massive, which only makes the search more difficult. Darius Morgan glances at her, then sighs helplessly.
무슨 말씀을 하시려는 건지 알고 있습니다.
I know what you want to say.
쓰레기 속에서 실종된 지 한참 된 사람을 찾는 건
Define-
사막에서 바늘 찾기와 다름없죠.
To find a missing person in a landfill is no different than looking for a needle in a haystack.
물론 그 때문에
But of course, that's exactly why. He motions for Rose and Artem to follow him, then he makes an opening in the
두 분이
cordon.
저희보다 운이 좋길 바랄 수밖에 없겠군요.
If we hope to find anything, there's no better chance than with you two. Alright. Investigation time. It looks like there are many small pieces of trash stuff here. A stuffed toy, it actually looks pretty cute. I wonder which child's bedtime companion this used to be before it ended up here. In front of her is a piece of sandy land that is slightly more level than the entire landfill. At first glance, the ground looks just as dirty as the road leading to the landfill, but she quickly... Oops. Mr. Wing, is this a roller mark?
한번 확인해 보죠.
I'll check. After asking the police officer with them if he can check the ground carefully, Artem crouches down without any regard for the dirtiness. He runs his fingers over the faint but regular pattern of the marks and nods at Rosa.
너비랑 방향으로 봤을 때 캐리어 바퀴가 지나가면서 남은 자국일 거예요.
Having seen the width and the angle of the turn, these marks were left behind in the sand by an omnidirectional wheel of a suitcase.
김태석이 버린 차량의 트렁크 주변까지 간헐적으로 이어져 있어요.
The trail leads
이상은 그
intermittently
김태석도
to
없고요.
all the way to the trunk of the car abandoned by Finn Jackson. There are also some strange scratch marks. Rather than calling them scratch marks, they look more like marks left behind by someone who was desperately trying to get rid of the roller marks, but then stopped in anger after realizing it was an elaborated task. Now that I think about it, the karaoke bar manager mentioned that Finn Jackson is quite impatient, but then stepped on them in anger. Okay. Could these marks have been left behind when Finn Jackson pulled the suitcase?
그럴 가능성도 배제할 순 없습니다.
We haven't ruled out that possibility.
샘플 조사 결과 바퀴 자국이 생긴 시점은 김태석이 사라진 그날 밤인 걸로 확인됐습니다.
After sampling and investigation, it can be confirmed that these roller marks were made around the night of Finn Jackson's disappearance.
누군가 발로 자국을 지우려 하는 흔적이 있고 일부는 빗물로 인해 손상된 상태입니다.
There was someone who tried to scrub away the roller marks, and there was some damage from the rain. Upon hearing this, Artem quickly checks the weather on his phone.
지난 몇 주 동안 이 지역에 비가 내렸습니다.
It's been raining in this area over the last few weeks, so it does add up.
사건 발생 당일 이곳에서 캐리어를 끌고 다니던 김태석이 이후에 그 자국을 지우려고 했던 걸지도 모르겠습니다.
So it's possible that he dragged the suitcase here on the night of the incident and tried to erase these marks afterwards.
성격이 급한 사람이라 아주 작은
But because he's an
바퀴자국을
impatient
지울 만큼의
person,
인내심 따윈 없었을 거고요.
he wasn't able to finish the work.
실종 이후에 빗물이 자국을 더 불규칙적으로 만들었겠군요.
And then after he disappeared, some of the marks disappeared in the rain, making the trail seem even more broken. But why would Finn Jackson place a suitcase in his car and drag it on the ground here? Had he already made up his mind to leave Stella's? Or was there something in the car that he had to get rid of? Oh my god. I hope it wasn't a body. Oh! The gaps in the tires are filled with mud spots. The CSI will need to collect samples for testing if we want to find out where this car has been. Oh, an omamori! It looks like Finn Jackson had abandoned the car and fled in a hurry because the door was left open wide and the interior was a big mess. Hanging on the rearview mirror is an ornament that is commonly seen on e-commerce platforms, but the words on it look unfamiliar to her. Mr. Wing, this text is
산스크리트어 같네요.
Sanskrit.
대학생 때 전공 때문에 라틴어랑 독일어가 필수였는데 호기심이 생겨서 소수 언어도 공부했었거든요.
Oh my gosh, a man after my own heart. When I was in college, besides taking Latin and German courses required for my major, I also studied some niche languages I was interested in.
그래서 산스크리트어나 그리스어를 조금 할 줄 알아요.
So I know a little bit of Sanskrit and Greek.
잘못 본 게 아니라면
If I'm not wrong,
이건 돈이라는 단어를 직역한 걸 거예요.
this is money. I knew it. I should never believe him when he says he only knows a bit of anything. Upon hearing their conversation, Darius Morgan comes over.
이 행운의 부적을 생산하는 업체를 찾았는데 번역기 결과를 그대로 가져다 쓴 거라고 합니다.
We found the business that manufactures this type of charm. They confirmed they copied and pasted this text from a translation software.
업체의 발송 기록에서도 김태석이 X 사례를 구매했다는 내용을 확인할 수 있었고요.
We were also able to confirm that he did purchase this ornament from their shipping records.
산스크리트어를 할 줄 아는 사람이 별로 없으니까 이걸 프린팅해서 한 방을 원하는 사람들한테 팔면 성공할 수 있을 것 같아서라고 하더군요.
They printed this on the ornament to beguile people who wanted to get rich because not many people know Sanskrit. That's right, Finn Jackson's past behavior does show a strong desire to make lots of money. Darius Morgan is about to continue when Artem moves closer to the ornament. Is there something strange about the text?
글자의 문제가 아니에요.
It's not the text.
엄반장님, 장갑 좀 빌려주시겠습니까?
Can you lend me a pair of gloves? After a moment, Artem squeezes the ornament gently after wearing the gloves used by the CSI officers.
이렇게 생긴 평안부에는 보통 수정과 같은 돌을 넣어두는데 여기에 든 건 돌이 아닌 것 같네요.
A protective ornament like this is usually filled with small pieces of crystal or other small rocks, but whatever's inside this one doesn't feel like anything like that at all.
열어볼 수 있는지 다시 확인해봐야겠어요.
We should check if I can take this apart. After he asks Darius Morgan and the other relevant personnel, the CSI, if the ornament can be dismantled, everyone eventually agrees to have a professional take it apart. After some rustling sounds, the CSI officer stands up with a small piece of creased paper in hand. Isn't this a name card? Tara Upton, CEO of Samara E-commerce.
제2의 월은 김태석이 실종되기 전 마지막으로
She was
체크한 승객입니다.
The last
역시나
passenger before he
실종된
disappeared.
상태고요.
And she's also missing.
제2의 월의 명의로 된 기업의 경영과 인원 현황에 대해서 이미 경찰이 조사에 착수한 상태입니다. 필요하시다면 언제든지 자료 열람을 신청할 수 있을 겁니다.
We're already investigating the operations and personnel of the companies under her name. You can request access to their information anytime. Artem, however, is in no rush to ask about Tara Upton's situation and flips over the name card instead. He seems to be fully focused on reading the card. Some time passes before he looks up at her.
명함에 접힌 흔적이 많아요. 명함을 받은 누군가가 여러 번 뒤집어 봤나 보네요.
The name card has many fold marks. It looks like someone has read this many times after getting it. This ornament belongs to Finn Jackson. Although it's common for people to modify the protective charms that are used to make wishes, it's just a little too creepy to stuff a stranger's name card into an ornament. Was Tara Upton really just one of Finn Jackson's passengers? Yeah, that seems like an important clue. What are these stains? Rosa leans into the car carefully and notices a lot of messy marks on the leather seat. There are dark spots between the scratches.
이건 마른 핏자국이랑 손톱에 긁힌 자국 같네요.
Ooh, these look like dried blood stains and scratches made by fingernails.
몸싸움으로 남겨진 걸 수도 있지만 다른 가능성도 배제할 수는 없으니까요.
This could have been left during a scuffle, but it doesn't rule out other possibilities.
엄반장님, 혈흔도 샘플 검사를 진행하신 겁니까?
Captain Morgan, has someone tested this blood stain yet?
네,
Yes.
제2의 월의 혈흔이 맞습니다.
It is Tara Upton's blood. Which means she's probably the one who made the scratch mark. What could have happened at that time? But the landfill can't talk and the parties involved. Tara Upton and Finn Jackson are both missing. Looking at these scratches make her increasingly confused, but so she subconsciously looks around to search for other clues. I think I see something down here. What is this? Mr. Wing, this name card is... A company name card is hidden in a gap in the backseat of the car. Rosa sees a familiar name on it, Tara Upton. Tara Upton was Finn Jackson's last passenger before he disappeared, so she's also missing. But because we don't have the relevant surveillance footage, we can't confirm whether she got on the car on the night Finn Jackson abandoned it or the time she got on or off the car.
여기 봐요.
Look at this. Artem points at certain lines on the name card which states the awards received by Tara Upton's company.
신공항구 기업 공익 실현상, 미림시 사회적 책임 기업상 후보.
Airport District Corporate Philanthropy Awards, Dallas
공익
Corporate
관련
Social
성명 후보
Responsibility.
선정이군요.
These are public welfare awards and nominations. They were awarded just this year too. It looks like Tara Upton is passionate about charity work.
그럴 가능성도 있지만
That's possible, but
정말 눈에 띄는 건 다른 곳에 있어요.
the more interesting thing is found somewhere else.
제 기억이 맞는다면 올해의 행정구별 기업 공익 실현상은 아직
According to what I
결과가
know
없어요.
or remember, the winners of the year's Corporate Philanthropy Awards haven't been announced yet, so it's possible this is fake. Ooh,
위조는 아닐 겁니다.
I'm afraid not. Darius Morgan quickly refutes Artem's
저희
guess.
쪽에서 이 내용을 토대로 조사해봤습니다. 결과가 아직 발표되지 않은 건 맞습니다만
We looked into it, and the committee
위원회에서
confirmed that she would have been given this
제이월한테
award,
상을
even though the
주려고
winners haven't been announced yet.
그리고 제2월의 회사나 다른 어떤 곳에서도 이것과 똑같은 명함을 찾을 수는 없었습니다.
But we haven't found any name cards like this one at Tara Upton's company or elsewhere.
아마 최예월은 어떠한 경로로 수상 결과를 미리 알게 됐고 그걸로 새로운 명함을 따로 판 것 같습니다.
It seems that she found out that her company would win this award and printed a new name card for herself. She would probably start using this name card right after the winners are announced. Artem has no other questions to ask the police about their investigation results at this time.
새로운 명함이라.
A new name card.
그렇다면 사건 발생 당시 회사의 경영자인 최예월만 이 명함을 가지고 있었다는 거군요.
That means that only Tara Upton, the CEO of the company, had this name card at the time of the incident. This once again proves that she had gotten in this car on the night Finn Jackson disappeared. Did the police open the trunk, or was it already open when the car was found? There doesn't seem to be anything unusual inside. I'll check it carefully later. Is this an iron or wood shed? It's already collapsed. This garbage smells like it's been here for a while. I better keep my distance. The blue spray paint here should be a part of the ride-sharing service logo. Now that I think about it, I've seen this company's ad many times in the firm's elevator. What else am I missing? The manufacturer of this car slashed their prices recently. This model is the cheapest one out there. To Finn Jackson, this car was probably the most economical car for him to use. Oh, here we go. I wanted to look at this earlier, but it wouldn't let me. Maybe I pressed the wrong place. Even the bumper is dented. After walking to the side of the car, she's shocked by the sight of the damage, which is far worse than she imagined.
아쉽지만 CCTV 영상이 없어서
Unfortunately, there's no
차량에서 도대체
CCTV
어떤 일이
footage,
있었던 건지 단정할 수가 없어요.
so we have no way of knowing exactly what happened to this car,
다른 차량과의 충돌이 아니더라도
other than being caused by impact from another
이
vehicle.
근방에 버려진 물건 중에 비슷한 자국을 남길 수 있는 건 얼마든지 있으니까요.
These marks could also have been left by many of the things discarded here. Rosa follows Artem's gaze and sees many hard objects such as steel pipes scattered in the landfill. Those dents could have been caused by someone smashing the car with those items. He's right, we can't confirm what accident Finn Jackson may have had without any key surveillance footage. This thought sends a wave of frustration and annoyance throughout her body. Given Finn Jackson's abilities and connections, it shouldn't be difficult for him to avoid the surveillance cameras. The casual guess Marius made during the meeting echoes in her mind. Stop, I shouldn't jump to a conclusion. That being said, how many people can be completely neutral and objective in a case? I wonder if that's going to be a big theme of this case. The back should be where the garbage disposal equipment is stored. Since everything in the landfill has been abandoned, there should be dust everywhere. If I need to investigate inside the warehouse later, I can ask Captain Morgan about it. Oh, okay, so it's the warehouse. We looked at the marks. It's been a long time since anyone has taken care of the landfill, so the ground is littered with items. This looks like a small nail. I need to remind Mr. Wing to watch where he's going here. Aww. Oh wait, the QR code. I just noticed that. This looks like a rideshare service QR code that can be found everywhere. Mr. Wing mentioned earlier that Finn Jackson worked as a ride-sharing service driver on the side to make money, so this doesn't look out of place.
잠깐만요.
Wait a moment. Artem, who pointed his phone at the QR code a few seconds ago, turns to her.
휴대폰으로 스캔해 볼래요?
Can you scan this code with your phone? Sure, give me a moment. After hearing a beep, the ride-sharing service screen she was expecting doesn't appear on the screen. Instead, she sees crude web pages riddled with e-marketing slogans like "Get rich with e-commerce" or "Housing fund withdrawal help." The shock she gets makes her leave this ominous-looking web page. What did I just see?
가짜 QR 코드예요.
It's a fake QR code.
아까부터 이상하다고 생각하긴 했는데.
I thought this was strange for a moment
이
ago,
차는
but
그냥 봤을 때 콜택시 차량처럼 보이지만
this looks like a proper ride-sharing service car at
여기저기
first.
의심스러운 점이 많아요.
But if you look carefully, there are many flaws.
QR 코드 말고도 콜택시라면 경찰 시스템에 연결된 CCTV 카메라가 설치되어 있어야 하는데 이 차에는 그런 게 없죠.
In addition to having the correct QR code, a ride-sharing service car should have a camera connected to the public security system, but both of these things are missing here. Does that mean Finn Jackson's identity as a ride-sharing service driver is fake? Why would he do that? As she looks around her, a bone-chilling possibility creeps into her mind. This car and everything along with it might not simply be the garbage that Finn was eager to abandon here. Maybe it was a tool that has completed its mission and is no longer needed. But I feel like I'm still missing something. I'll tell Mr. Ray my analysis after we've collected all the evidence we can. We need one more. All right, fine. Ah! I didn't notice these footsteps. Okay, I probably wouldn't have noticed those. Rosa takes a few steps around the car and sees some indentations in the sandy ground under her feet. Darius Morgan is standing nearby, but he seems to be deep in thought. Are these footprints? The size of the footprints become more apparent as she gets closer. These footprints are much larger than mine. Were they left by an adult male? Considering the size of the footprints and the fact that Darius Morgan is watching her, she has a vague feeling about the owner of these footprints.
엄반장님, 김태석의 발 사이즈는 확인하신 겁니까?
Captain Morgan, has your team confirmed Finn Jackson's shoe size?
차량이 발견된 다음 바로 미림시에서 김태석이 묵었던 저가 임대주택을 수색했습니다.
We quickly investigated the cheap rental where Finn Jackson was staying in Celis after finding this car.
개인 물품으로 봤을 때
After looking at his personal
평소에 자주
belongings,
신던 신발 사이즈는 270mm로 파악됩니다.
he usually wears size 44 shoes.
신발 사이즈뿐만 아니라 걸음걸이도 이 흔적과 일치합니다.
It's not just his shoe size. We found these marks are a good match with his walking
거의
habits.
단정 지을 수 있을 것 같습니다.
So we do think that these are his footprints. Hold on, Finn Jackson's shoe size aside, why would the police know what walking habits he has? Rosa gives Artem a puzzled look that he instantly understands.
걸음걸이.
김태석은
Walking
정보가
habits?
많아서 경찰 쪽에 관련 기록이 남아 있습니다.
His case files are quite thick, so we've got some relevant records at the station.
사진이나 지문, CCTV 영상 같은 것들이죠.
Photos, fingerprints, surveillance footage. After saying that, he scratches his head irritably.
아이러니합니다. 하필 이번에 흔적도 없이 사라져 버리다니.
It's really ironic that he disappeared into thin air under our noses. After walking around Finn Jackson's abandoned car, Rosa and Artem are sweating visibly. Rosa quenches her thirst with the iced mineral water given to her by a police officer and steals a glance at Artem's expression from the side after putting the cap back on the bottle. He stares at the abandoned vehicle in a trance with his suit jacket hanging over his arm. The bottle of mineral water in his hand is untouched. He soon realizes that she's looking at him and reluctantly opens the bottle like her.
그냥 계속 사마라라는 단어를 생각하고 있었어요.
I was just thinking about the word Samara. Isn't that the name of Tara Upton's company? Recalling the frown on his face when he was examining her company name card not long ago, she quickly bursts out a comment of her own.
네.
Yes.
번역이 완전히 똑같은 건 아니지만
It's
사마라에서의 약속이라는 동화에서
It's got
같은
multiple
단어가
meanings,
나오거든요.
but this word often appears in a fable called the Covenant of Samara.
그 이야기 속에서 바그다드에 살던 어느 상인은 우연히 사신과 만나게 돼요.
In that story, a Baghdad merchant
그리고 죽음을 피하기 위해서 도망을 치고 그렇게 사마라라는 작은 도시에 오게 되죠.
has an encounter with the god of death. Then after that, he flees for his life and eventually arrives at a small city of Samara.
근데 바로 그 사마라에서
However,
사신이 상인을 기다리고 있었던 거예요.
the god of death was waiting for him there.
사신은 이렇게 말했어요. 처음 바그다드 시장에서 만났을
The god of
때는
death then said this.
무슨 짓을 하려는 게 아니었다. 그냥 놀라서 움찔했을 뿐이다.
He was only surprised to see him in the market in Baghdad and wasn't intended to do anything to him there.
그리고 사신은 놀란 이유를 이렇게 설명했죠. 오늘 저녁에 너랑 사마라에서 만나기로 약속되어
And as
있었다.
for the reason he was surprised, that's because they were meant to meet here in Samara on this very night. So the merchant's attempt to avoid his fate actually led him right to it. Artem doesn't answer. For a moment, they both remain silent in the midday heat. After all, he, her, and even the police know that, he, she, and even the police know that it's probably just a coincidence that the company name and the city in the fable have a similar name. But even knowing this, anyone who has seen the crime scene won't be able to stop themselves from associating Finn Jackson and Tara Upton with the characters in the fable. The bloodstains on the car irrefutably indicate that someone was hurt here, making it seem like Finn Jackson is the god of death pursuing Tamara Upton. Mr. Ring, I've been thinking, I don't think this case is just a simple hit and run. A serious altercation took place here, and at least one party was following a premeditated plan. Artem doesn't dismiss her comment. He withdraws his gaze from the abandoned car and asks her softly.
저도 비슷한 생각이에요.
I think the same.
그럼 먼저 추측한 내용을 말해줄래요?
In that case, why don't you tell me what you think first? Oh dear. But that makes sense. I think I'm just trying anything at this point, but... Oh, okay. Okay, for starters, the bloodstains and scratches left on the back seat of the car suggest that she had a serious altercation with Finn Jackson. Although this type of tragedy often begins with a spur-of-the-moment spat between the passenger and driver, assuming they were only quarreling at the time, it still doesn't explain why he left roller marks at the scene. In other words, his overly sufficient preparation is actually the most suspicious thing of all. Okay, I knew that.
이론적으로 두 사람이 싸우게 된 건 모종의 이유로 김태석의 차량이 파손되는 바람에 최예월의 스케줄이 꼬이면서 시작됐을 가능성이 높아요.
That's right. In theory, if they had an altercation, it would most likely be because he damaged the vehicle for some reason, affecting her schedule.
만약 그렇다면 캐리어에 바퀴 자국이 나타날 이유가 전혀 없었겠죠.
But that doesn't explain the luggage roller marks at the scene.
김태석이 바퀴 자국을 발로 지었을 거라는 혐의는 말할 것도 없고요.
It also doesn't explain why he tried to scrub away the roller marks with his
말도 안
feet.
되는 짓을 저질렀다는 의구심만 키운 셈이죠.
It's not something that you would just do off the cuff. Yeah, taking into account the other factors at the scene, it's safe to say that Jackson didn't just cause this conflict on a whim. It's likely that he planned everything because of this. And this. Finn Jackson already had Tara Upton's name card and had stuffed it inside the protective charm hanging in the car before they disappeared. Judging from how worn out the name card looks, it seems as if he was intentionally trying to approach her.
그런 경향이 있긴 하지만 당신의 가설을 바탕으로 하면 한 가지 문제가 존재하게 돼요.
That is possible, but there is one issue with your assumption.
주변의 눈을 피해서 갑자기 다른 사람에게 접근한다는 건 거의 불가능한 일이거든요.
It's impossible to rashly approach someone without drawing their attention. Yes, that's why he chose to approach her as a ride-sharing service driver, becoming everyone's most familiar stranger. Still, he had to take plenty of risks, even with his plan to approach her this way. Ride-sharing services are monitored by the police, which means he can't be a real ride-sharing service driver. Perhaps that's why he prepared that fake QR code.
정말 한쪽이 계획적으로 저지른 일이라면
If this really was
대부분의
premeditated,
사람들은 김태석의 상황을 고려해 두 가지 결론을 내리겠죠.
given Finn Jackson's personal background, people would think two things.
첫 번째,
First,
김태석이 예전처럼 돈을 노리고
that he's returned to his old
기업가인
ways
최예어를 노렸다.
and robbed the entrepreneur Tara Upton for
이건
money.
일단 의견을 보류할게요.
But my opinion is a little bit,
두 번째, 김태석이 어떠한 개인적인 목적으로 상대방에게 접근했다.
Second, he approached her for some other personal agenda. Artem's tone while stating these two assumptions indicates he disagrees with them. She easily grasps what he's implying. Both of these assumptions stem from subjective judgments about the parties involved and aren't entirely rational. Yes, that's what anyone would think after seeing the crime scene, but it's our job to explore every possibility and discover the truth, right? For example, some of Finn Jackson and Tara Upton's actions don't make sense. Even if Finn Jackson was pretending to be a rideshare service driver, he had no way to make sure that Tara Upton would get in his car.
맞아요.
That's right.
가짜 기사라면 플랫폼에서 콜을 받지 못했을 거고.
If he's a fake driver, there's no way he can accept orders on the platform, let alone pick up his passengers. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
택시 자체가 눈속임이라면 말이 달라지지만요.
Unless the rideshare service is just a way to make people believe they don't know each other when they've already made plans to meet. Oh, so far it's been confirmed that Finn Jackson might have intentionally approached her, but that doesn't rule out the possibility that she might have a motive for meeting with him too. Yeah, that makes sense. Her conversation brings a smile to Artem's face, a smile that seems to contain a hint of approval. He straightens out his suit jacket and looks into the distance again.
물론 방금 얘기한 건 추측일 뿐이에요.
Of course, everything that we've discussed so far is just our assumption.
그렇다면 이제부터 두 사람의 인간 관계를 조사해 실마리를 찾아야 한다는 거겠죠.
So we'll need to investigate their respective interpersonal relationships to find more clues.
그래서 방금 생각해봤는데요.
I just thought about it.
어쩌면
Maybe we could. He stops after hearing some noise in the distance, but decides to finish the sentence anyway.
어쩌면 따로 움직이는 게 아니에요.
We could
나중에
split up.
다시 얘기하죠.
No, let's decide that later. Mr. Wing? He gets up quickly as she hears some noise coming from where the police officers have gathered. Oh, interesting. Rosa quickens her pace while following Artem along the garbage-strewn path. Interesting how Artem seems to want to work on his own these days. Before long, he creates an opening in the crowd and slips through with her. In front of her, a police officer with a sweat-covered forehead says something to Darius Morgan while gasping for breath after running too hard.
엄반장님, 뭐라도 찾으신 겁니까?
Captain Morgan, did you make new discoveries?
크진 않지만 24인치 정도 되는 캐리어를 찾았습니다.
We found a suitcase. It's not too big, probably a 24-inch one. A suitcase? The roller marks near the car Finn Jackson abandoned immediately come to her mind.
안에서 최월의 개인 물품이 다량 발견됐습니다.
It can...
그리고
We found Tara Upton's personal belongings, and as Darius Morgan considers what she says next, the police officer who was gasping for air suddenly coughs violently, catching everyone's attention. He looks rather young and wouldn't look much older than a college student without his police uniform. At this moment, his young-looking face is all twisted as he vomits into the hot sand. Oh no. Oh, they definitely found a body. I'm scared. Okay. Artem leans over and taps the car's touchscreen quickly, turning on the air conditioning. The sight of the police officers running past the car under the scorching sun reminds her that she is still at a crime scene. Not long ago, a rookie police officer in Darius Morgan's team found a suitcase at the foot of a mountain of garbage nearby, and its wheels matched the roller marks found near the abandoned car. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body? I know, right? They found Tara Upton's clothing and some suspicious human tissue inside the suitcase, and everything had been sent off for testing. All we can do now is wait patiently. As she thinks, she senses Artem move slightly next to her. He glances at her quietly. Upon realizing that she's noticed him moving, he sighs softly and opens the glove compartment in the car. Gummy candy? At least 3 or 4 packs of candy of various flavors are packed together in the small space. According to the label, one pack is chili oil flavored. The sight of the candies triggers her memories, making her chuckle helplessly at them.
앞으로 이렇게 같이 움직일 일이 많을 것 같으니까
I expected we would be
사탕을
working
많이
together a lot
준비해두면
like this together
좋을
in the
거라고
future.
생각했거든요.
So I prepared some candy.
김태석이 버린 캐리어를 찾기 전에 말했던 거 기억나나요?
Do you remember what I told you before the suitcase Finn Jackson discarded was found? Was it about splitting up to investigate the interpersonal relationships of Tara Upton and Finn Jackson?
맞아요.
That's right.
전 한 번 더 의뢰인과 만나서 김태석에 관련된 단서를 조사해 보려고요.
I'll contact the client, or I'll meet with the client, and then investigate any clues related to Finn Jackson.
지금 상황에서는 따로 움직이는 게 가장 효율적일 것 같네요.
In this situation, splitting up is a more efficient way to go about this. More efficient. She can't help but clench the bag of gummy candy in her hand. Artem had already emphasized this to Vin during the meeting at the headquarters. His desire to investigate this case as quickly as possible was also what aroused Vin's suspicions.
최예월 쪽
What
조사랑
aroused
정리를
Vin? I mean, what?
부탁해도 될까요?
Can you investigate the situation on Tara Upton's side and organize what you find?
제가 노래방 매니저 이외에 김태석을 아는 사람들이랑 연락해 볼게요.
I'll contact anyone else who might know Finn other than the karaoke bar manager.
교도소 사람이나 전에 접촉했던 경찰이나 이미 만나고 싶은 사람들이 몇 명 있거든요.
Whether it's people like his former cellmates or police officers who have some relationship to him, there are many people who would know him. I suppose we can, but
그런데
what? This is exactly what happened at the meeting earlier. Everything is progressing so quickly and smoothly under Artem's leadership that she doesn't have many opportunities to get involved. She knows very well that if she questions him about this right now, he will give her a seemingly legitimate reason: efficiency. But that brings her back to the first question. Why has Artem been so fixated on efficiency since he accepted this case? The fact that he just gave me some gummy candies makes it difficult for me to say no to him. Wait, what, Rosa? I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Of course, the best outcome I'm hoping for is that nothing will change. After that, she shakes her head and opens a bag of candies to make Artem feel at ease. But we need to get back to the city first before we split up, right? Yes.
네, 제가 운전할게요.
I'll
좀
drive.
더 쉬고 있어요.
Rest for a bit. Whoops. In a plain room with gray walls, Artem is sitting upright in a hard chair, checking the time on his phone every now and then. An iron door creaks as it opens, and a man who looks like a police officer enters the room.
명회 신청.
A visitation request.
아, 여기입니다.
Ah, here it is.
한 달 반 전에 신청하신 겁니까?
You submitted this request 6 weeks ago?
네. 여기
Or about a
준비해
week and a month, or a week and a half ago. A month and a half ago. That's correct. I also have the records here. After the brief exchange with the police officer, Artem straightens his upper body in the cramped meeting room. Once he returns to work alone, he has become much more taciturn than before. After an unbearable wait, a middle-aged man finally appears, dragging his feet over to the other side of the glass.
어떤 사람에 관해 물어보고 싶은 게 있습니다.
I want to ask you about someone. Artem cuts to the chase, taking a photo of from his folder and pushing it toward the other person. The middle-aged man grins after staring at it for a while.
이거 김씨 아닌가?
Look at this. If it isn't
이 사람이 누구 돈을 슬쩍
Finn.
하기라도 했나?
Did he rob someone else this time?
제 질문에 대답해 주시죠.
Please answer my questions. The man restrains himself slightly, or rather, he observes the calm man on the other side of the glass.
너 지금 무슨 생각하는지 다 보여.
I already know what you're
한
thinking.
번 빨간 줄이 그어진 우리 같은 사회악들은 평범한 인간들이랑 더 이상 어울릴 수가 없거든.
Scum like us aren't the same as everyone else after we commit a crime.
김태석은 말이야. 아마도 전형적인 사회악이라고나 할까?
I'm talking about Finn Jackson. He's scum among scum.
김태석의 과거에 대해 얼마나 알고 있습니까?
How much do you know about his past?
엄청 많지.
A lot.
이쪽은 말이야. 누구 하나 새로 들어오면 첫인사가 어이 밖에서 뭐하다 들어왔어거든.
Whenever someone shows up here, the first question they always get asked is, hey, what did you do to end up here?
그래서 김태석이 한 짓은 싹 다 알아.
So I know everything he's done.
어릴 때부터 상습 절도범이었는데 나이 먹고는 연쇄 범죄까지 벌였다지?
He's been a slick thief since young, even pulling off serious crimes like it was nothing.
연쇄 범죄 말입니까?
Serial crimes?
김태석을 감옥으로 보낸 그 절도 사건.
Are you
맞습니까?
talking about the robbery that landed him in jail? A look of disbelief appears on Artem's face. He flips through the documents at hand, which is a general record of the case that landed Finn Jackson in jail. But because the case happened a long time ago, it only states that Finn Jackson was suspected of being involved in a burglary in his
여러
hometown.
재판을 거쳐 본 사건으로 김태석을 5년의 징역에 처한다라는 기록이 있습니다.
After several rounds
혹시
of
그
trial, he
사람이
was sentenced to
노력하는
5
동안
years in prison.
이 일에 대해서 언급한 적이 있습니까?
Did he mention anything about this to you while he was serving his sentence?
각 재판의 대략적인 상황이라거나
Like what happened in each round of trials? Artem speaks cryptically, but the prisoner's upraised eyebrows indicate he understands what Artem is implying.
말했었지.
He did.
도둑질로 몇 번이나 끌려와서 재판을 받았는데 얘기 안 하고 배기겠어?
He was tried in court for so many times just for stealing some stuff. Why wouldn't he talk about it?
그때 받은 혐의가
Or did you think he wouldn't talk about it?
별도 하나만 있는 것도 아니야.
And he wasn't just charged with burglary. The man glances at the prison guard behind Artem before moving closer to the glass. It's obvious his action is unnecessary as Artem can hear everything he says clearly regardless of their distance. Maybe his reason for doing so is to get a better look at the reaction of this decent human being who was the complete opposite of him.
누가 그랬는데 말이야.
Someone said this, but
살인을 했다더라고.
he killed someone.
수단이 엄청 잔인했다던데.
그게 무슨 뜻입니까?
What do you mean by that?
사람들이 다 그러더라고. 김태석의 집에 숨어들어서 물건을 훔치기만 한 게 아니라
They say that he didn't just steal things when he busted into that house. They're saying he took out the owner and his son.
거기에는 산이 많거든. 사람들이 그 아빠를
His
찾았을 때는
hometown's got
이미
mountains
다
everywhere.
썩어 있었대.
But when they found the owner's body, it was already rotted away.
아들은 나이에 찾지도 못했어.
They never found the son.
근데 누가 산에서 사람 귀 한쪽을 주웠다고 하더라고.
But they found
그의 귀일 수도
someone's
있겠네.
ear in the mountains. It's probably that kid's.
근데 결국 김태석은
Ew.
살인죄 판결을 받지 않았습니다.
Despite all that, Finn Jackson was not sentenced for murder. Is that true?
증거 부족이라서 살인죄를 받진 않았어.
Yeah, they
대신
couldn't.
증거가 있어서 주거 침입 절도죄로 판결을 받은 거지.
They couldn't pin the murder on him because of lack of evidence, so they just hit him up with a burglary charge because of his rap sheet.
김태석은 항상 자기가 받은 형벌이 무겁다고 투덜댔어.
He kept saying that they hit him with a bogus sentence,
아무도
saying
안 죽였다고.
he didn't kill any or he didn't rob anybody or kill anybody.
근데 그렇게 말 안 하는 사람이 어디 있어?
But who wouldn't say
나도
that?
나 착하다고 하고 다녀.
I'm a good person too. Artem looks away in annoyance and speaks to the prison guard due to the prisoner's repeated bantering.
상황은 대충 이해했습니다.
I get the overall picture.
전에 관련 사건 열람 권한 신청해뒀는데 지금 다시 확인하고 싶은 게 있습니다.
Or I understand everything. I've submitted an application to view the related cases, and now I just need you to confirm one last thing.
김태석은 재판 결과에 불복한 것 같던데
Did he ever appeal?
당시 항소를 한 적이 있습니까?
Did you ever hear that he appealed the seemingly unreasonable verdict?
없습니다.
No.
처음에는 항소가 뭔지 아예 몰랐다고 하더군요.
He didn't know what an appeal
법으로
was.
자기 권리를 보호할 수 있다는 걸 깨달은 다음에는
And when he realized he could protect his rights with the law,
사법기관 사람들은 죄다 소송을 꼬드기는 녀석들이라며 차라리 가만히 있는 게 낫겠다고 했습니다.
because he thought that everyone in the legal system was just a bunch of hustlers, he said he'd rather stay in jail.
항소할 수 있다는 걸 몰랐다는 겁니까?
He didn't know what an appeal was? Artem mumbles the prisoner guard's words to himself repeatedly. He seems troubled by this complicated old case and a hint of helplessness that the person involved wasn't able to exercise his personal rights. Aww. I love Artem. I love Artem. Even in this situation, he's like, oh. When he looks at the criminal case or criminal again, he sees a hint of amusement on his face.
그게 다가 아니야.
That's not even half of
김태석
it.
사건이
I'm sorry, that isn't all of it.
종결된 건지 알고 싶지 않아?
Don't you want to know why they wrapped up his case so fast?
왜 그랬던 겁니까?
Why?
그때 담당자들이 사건이 커지면 자기 승진 날려먹을까봐 강제로
The
종결시켰어.
person in charge was scared he would blow up in his face and tank his career,
결국 수작 부린 게 들통나서 잘렸지.
but his scheme got
지금
exposed,
여기서 같이 재봉기 돌리고 있어.
and he's stuck in here running a sewing machine like the rest of us.
또 그 사건이랑 관련된 사람이라면
As for the other people involved,
김씨 어머니가 있었네.
there was also his mother.
수감되기 전에 그 사람 어머니가 찾아왔었어.
His mother came before he got locked up.
자백하라면서.
He was in
살인한 거
tears.
인정하라고 울고불고 난리였지.
She kept begging him to acknowledge what he did and admit he took someone out.
그런데도 결국 인정하지 않았다.
But in the end, he never acknowledged it, did he?
인정 안 했지.
Of course not.
자기 엄마가 자백서에 뭐라도 적어달라고 마지막까지 부탁했는데도 아무것도 안 썼어.
Even though his mother made a confession statement and practically begged him to sign it, he didn't say a single word.
그 사람 어머니는 죄를 인정하면 상황이 나아질 거라고 생각한 거겠지.
She probably thought everything would get better if he just owned up to it.
근데 당사자 입장에서는 안 했으니까 안 했다고 하는 거잖아.
But he kept saying that
너도
he didn't
인정
do it,
못하지?
and so he couldn't
어이,
sign it.
어때? 내 이야기 마음에 드나 모르겠네.
What do you think? Do you like my story? The criminal observes Artem, who is thinking in silence, and prompts him again like he's waiting for something.
네가 가장 찾고 싶어하는 김 씨를 대신 찾아줄 수는 없지만 숨 돌리는 틈에 이런 이야기를 들을 수 있어서 괜찮지 않았어?
I have no idea where he's at, but isn't it nice to kick back and listen to a story during work?
가장 찾고 싶다.
The one who wants to track him down the most? Artem interrupts him decisively. With one Eyebrow raised, he puts away the documents on the table and stands up after nodding to the police
사람을
officer.
찾는 건 경찰의 일이지.
Finding him is the police's
저는
job.
그쪽과는 상관없는 일입니다.
It doesn't have anything to do with me,
시간도 마침 다
nor does
됐군요.
this visit.
오늘은 여기서 끝내는 것도 괜찮겠네요.
Visiting time's almost over, so let's stop here. The prisoner guard walks over quickly after Artem signals him with his eyes. But the prisoner still stares intently at Artem, clearly interested in keeping the conversation going.
어이, 정말 상관없는 일 맞아?
Are you sure it has nothing to do with you?
아까 교도관한테 왜 네가 날 만나려 하는 건지 물어봤어. 물론 별말
I asked the prison guard why you wanted to see me. He didn't say anything, but I think I know what's going on.
짐작가는 게 있거든. 김 씨한테 무슨 일 생긴 거야.
Something happened to him, right?
맞지? 그러니까 그리 급하게.
That's why you're in such a hurry. The criminal seems to say something else, but the prison guard has already turned off the sound control system of the meeting room since the visit is over. As dead silence fills the room, Artem leaves the room. After leaving the meeting room, illuminated by cold lighting, Artem squints at the bright sunlight.
변호사님, 변호사님.
Mr. Wing. When his eyes adjust to the brightness, he sees someone jogging over while waving his hands in the sunlight.
잘못 온 걸까봐 걱정했습니다.
Oh, I was worried I went to the wrong place. You told me to meet you here, right? Oh, god damn it. That's the fire alarm. Alright, I'm gonna go downstairs. Hopefully nothing's happening.
네. 방금 안쪽 일이 지체되는 바람에 좀 늦었습니다.
Yes, I'm just a little late because I was doing something inside. The manager feels relieved after hearing Artem's words. He follows Artem into the shade of a tree while trying to pull something out of his bag.
전에 필요하다고 말씀하신 정보 조금 더 정리해봤습니다.
I've collected more of the information you wanted.
이건 김태석이 지금까지 몸담았던 회사들입니까?
Are these the companies that Finn Jackson has worked for so far? Artem flips through the handwritten information the manager hands to him.
네, 맞습니다.
Yes.
제가 기억하는 건 다 적었고요.
I wrote down everything I remembered.
거의 비슷할 겁니다.
They're all about the same.
것들이거든요.
Mainly just security companies.
다른 것도 있는데.
There's something else.
변호사님께만 따로 말씀드려야 할 것 같습니다.
But it's something that I should say to you alone. The manager's voice fades until it's barely a whisper. He looks at the towering prison wall with inexplicable fear and leans closer to Artem.
이거 보기보다 연루된 게 많을지도 모릅니다.
Well, there might be a lot more to do with this case than I thought.
네? 그게 무슨 뜻입니까?
What do you mean by that? For a moment, the manager looks at Artem and opens his mouth like he's about to tell him something. But in the end, he just shuffles awkwardly on the spot.
제 말은
What I'm saying is,
정말로 뭔가 알아내신다고 하더라도 확신을 갖기 전에는 함부로 움직이지 않는 게 좋을 것 같다는 겁니다.
even if you do manage to discover something, don't act on it until you're absolutely sure you should.
변호사님은 사람을 찾고 싶고
We're solving a
전
missing persons
돈을
case.
되찾고 싶고 서로의 목적을 이루려면 신중하게 행동하는 편이 좋지 않겠습니까?
You want to find him and I want to get my money. It's better to play it safe if we both want to get what we want, don't you think?
아무래도 변호사님은
In any case,
뭔가 다른 이유로 김 씨를 찾으시는 것 같습니다.
it seems that you have your own reasons for wanting to
무슨
find
일이라도
Finn.
생기면 서로 손해 아니겠습니까?
It wouldn't be worth it if something goes wrong because you act too hastily.
그게 아니라면 제 전화 한 통으로 변호사님이 귀국하신 게 설명이 안 되거든요.
Yeah, I can't understand why you would rush back from overseas immediately after I called you. The occasional chirping of birds on a nearby tree easily drowns out the sound of the manager's nervous whispers. In his eyes, the swaying shadow of the tree danced across Artem's face, making it seem as though Artem is half bathed in light and half cloaked in shadow. Wow, very obvious symbolism there. Meanwhile, Artem also gazes at the manager. The tree shadows have a way of temporarily concealing many things. In the end, Artem chuckles in a reassuring manner that casts away any lingering doubts.
무슨 일이라도 생긴다.
If something goes wrong,
사람을 찾는 것뿐인데
I'm just searching for a
무슨
person.
일이 더 생기겠습니까?
What could go wrong? Here. Several days after Rosa split with Artem, as it's still during working hours, she steps to one side to make way for people who are rushing around from time to time and opens the office door quietly. I guess I just couldn't resist coming back to take a look. Mr. Ring said that I could go to his office to retrieve information whenever I need while we're both working on this case, but everything in the office is the same as when he left it. The coffee cup sitting on his desk looks like it was placed there casually after he washed it. However, she knows very well that the two haven't met up since the return from the landfill. Even when she messaged him to confirm the situation, all she got were short replies like still investigating. It's been too long. I should try to contact him again. Oh my. He avoiding her? At this exact moment, her mobile phone starts ringing in her bag. As expected, Artem's name is not the name that appears on the screen.
그만. 나 전화하잖아.
Hold on, I'm on the phone. The sound from the other end of the phone makes her remember what life was like in college. Maria seems to have nudged one of his classmates before talking to her.
미안해요, 누나.
Sorry, Nuna.
갑자기 전화하고 싶어서.
I just
좀
suddenly wanted to call
시끄럽죠?
you.
잠깐만요.
But it's a bit noisy here. Give me a moment. As he says something to the classmate next to him, she quickly notices an important piece of information in his words.
야, 망 좀 봐줘. 나 도강이란 말이야. 들키면 안 돼.
Hey, keep watching me. I'm just sitting in on this class, so I can't be discovered. Marius, what do you mean you're sitting in on this class? Countless possibilities flash through her mind. She quickly walks to a corner of the office, but just as she's about to do her best to convince him about the importance of paying attention in class,
지금 쉬는 시간이라서요. 교수님은 조금
break
이따
time.
오실 거예요.
the teacher will come in a bit.
왜 도강하냐면 이번 학기 법학과 교양에 관심이 생겼거든요.
And as for why I'm sitting in this
누나랑
class,
같이 들어보면 어떨지 생각해 본 거예요.
this general education course offered by the law school caught my interest, so I thought it would be fun to listen to it with you. With me? You... Listening to Marius' nonsensical explanation, she can't help but sigh helplessly in the quiet office. First of all, the law school doesn't let students from other faculties audit classes. Second, I'm currently investigating and waiting for Mr. Wing.
진짜요?
Really? He speaks in a casual tone, but it feels like he can see right through her. But even if he has vaguely sensed something, he is in no hurry to point it out. It's as if he wants to keep chatting casually until he hangs up.
가끔은 일에서 좀 벗어나서 다른 것도 보고 해야 새로운 걸 알아낼 수 있을 거라고 생각하거든요.
You might be surprised by what you can discover if you take a break from work now and then and look elsewhere.
게다가 이 수업 교수님 말이에요. 누나가 아는 사람일지도 몰라요.
Moreover, you might know the lecturer of this class. I might know the lecturer. She thinks quickly about all the lecturers and professors she knows with an impending sense of doom. But before she can continue to persuade Marius and give up on auditing the class, she hears a voice that makes her dumbfounded.
거기 학생, 이제 곧 수업 시작할 겁니다.
Excuse me, the class is about to start. Oh my god, that's why I knew it. I mean, we all knew it. We all knew that it was going to be Artem. But what is happening? Things quickly become quiet in the classroom on the other end of the phone. The person she's been trying to contact all this time has been revealed in the strangest way possible, and he is even completely unaware of it. The brief pause after Artem speaks proves that he has noticed the uninvited student in the classroom. It's just a matter of time he discovers her.
수업에 참석한 학생은 옷깃에 대고 말하지 말아주세요.
Please don't speak under the collar of your jacket during class. He didn't notice me. Hold on. Now's not the time to feel relieved. Although Artem obviously wasn't talking to her, she still feels nervous like she's being watched. Caller, phone, call. The combination of these unrelated words reminds her of the Bluetooth earbuds that Marius showed her earlier. The rustling sound in her ear confirms her guess. It looks like Marius has no intention to hide the call and has instead decided to hide the earbuds more covertly. Has no intention to end the call. I can understand if Marius has come to listen to this lecture out of curiosity after finding out that Artem is teaching it, but why has Artem gone to the college at this time? Finally, her nagging suspicion turns into a deep curiosity, and she wonders what she should do next while standing all alone in Artem's office. Possibly because she instinctively wants to make herself more time to think before making a decision, she quickly types a few lines in the chat box. Because she doesn't want to make any more sounds that might disturb Artem's lecture, the messages she sends to Marius essentially all revolve around one thing. He needs to pay attention in class. Just before she taps send, Artem speaks again.
여러분 모두 석 교수님께서 최근 건강 문제로 장기 휴가를 내셨다는 걸 알고 있을 겁니다.
Oh my gosh. He's talking about Neil. Okay. You may all already know that Professor Hume has taken an extended leave recently due to health reasons. Neil Hume. Upon hearing this, her finger hovers over the send buttons. In all the time since she's joined the investigation team, she's hardly ever heard Artem bring up his mentor. Because she doesn't know much about him, she can't imagine how he feels about lying to the public about Professor Hume being on vacation.
석 교수님이 잠시 자리를 비우시긴 했지만
He may not be here with us now,
교수님의 교양 과목이 중단되는 것은 아닙니다.
but the general education course that he's in charge of teaching will not be suspended.
대학 측에서 커리큘럼을 조정하여 앞으로 매주 전문가를 초청해 강연하는 방식으로 진행될 겁니다.
The school has adjusted the course to invite industry professionals to share their experiences every week. Ah, that's why he's
학교
there.
측의 협의를 통해 이번 주 강의는 제가 맡게 됐고요.
After a discussion with the law school, they've invited me to teach you this week.
저도 여러분들과 같습니다. 석 교수님은 제 은사님이기도 하거든요.
I'm just like all of you. I was also a student of
제가
Professor
학교
Hume.
다닐 때 수강한 과목이기도 하고요.
I even took this class as an elective back when I was still at school.
다른 학생들도 커리큘럼이나 제 이력에 궁금한 점이 있을 수 있으니 지금부터 10분간 질문 시간을 갖도록 하죠.
If anyone has any questions about the format of this course or my background, you can ask. I'll give you 10 minutes. Even though she doesn't know much about his history with Neil Hume, she instinctively notices something strange in his words. For a moment, she feels like she's sitting in the classroom with the other students, listening to Artem share things that he's never told her in person. In the end, the student breaks the silence, snapping everyone out of their thoughts. Ooh.
잠깐만요. 백 변호사님이라면
If you're Pick Pyonasa,
테미스 변호사 사무소 파트너 변호사인 그 백운호 변호사님 맞습니까?
are you the Artem Wing partner of Themis law firm? Marius glances at the classmate next to him in surprise. As if he's learned something completely new, he whispers something to the student.
왜? 무슨 말이야?
What is it?
석 교수님이 직접 강의하셨을 때 백 변호사님을 여러 번 언급하셨거든.
Professor Hume mentioned Mr. Ring many times when he was teaching this class.
자기가 가장 아끼는 제자라고 했었어.
He said he's his most
두
valued
분이서
student
같이 진행한 법률 지원도 많다고 하셨고.
and that they did a lot of legal aid work together. Aww. As more people speak out in agreement around the classroom, more and more excited faces appear in the classroom. Encouraged by this, the student also raises his voice.
백 변호사님, 마음껏 질문해도 된다고 하셨으니
Since you said we
그럼
can
그
ask whatever
사건에
we want,
대해서 자세히 말씀해 주실 수 있습니까?
can you tell us about that incident?
습격당할 뻔했다가 마지막 순간에 가까스로 위기에서 벗어난 그 사건이요.
Oh my god. The incident in which you were almost attacked and managed to make a narrow escape at the last second.
마지막 순간에 가까스로 위기에서 벗어난 사건?
A narrow escape at the last moment? Artem looks very confused and frowns as he thinks for a moment.
아, 그 사건 말이군요.
You're talking about...
전에 석 교수님께 여쭤봤을 때는 대략적인 과정을 말씀해 주실 분이었습니다. 그때 무슨 일이 있었던 겁니까?
When we asked Professor Hume about it, he only went over the general process briefly. Can you tell us the details?
다들 듣고 싶다면 간단하게 얘기해 보도록 하죠.
If you all want to hear about this, I can give you a simple explanation. Artem knows he needs to be the one who ends the commotion he started, so he doesn't try to stop them. Marius whistles softly as the noise grows, then he turns his head and raises his jacket slightly before calling out to her.
안 끊었죠, 누나?
You haven't hung up, have you?
어떻게 계속 들을래요? 이런 기회는 흔치 않아요.
What do you think? Do you want to keep listening? Opportunities like this don't come around often. Oh, we are definitely listening. As Marius keeps encouraging her, she lets her tense body relax against the wall and lets out a sigh by a floor-to-ceiling window where no one stops by. I bet you won't hang up even if I told you to stop.
그렇죠.
That's right.
최근 계속 벼락치기 장인 상태였다지만
I've been busy
그래도
being
들은
a
얘기가
deadline fighter
있거든요.
recently. I've heard some things.
내가 누나였어도
If I were
파트너랑
you,
자꾸 따로 움직이는 걸 좋아하진 않았을 거예요.
I wouldn't like the feeling of always acting separately from my partner. Oh, is Marius playing matchmaker for someone else? That's crazy. Maybe the reason he hasn't ended this phone call is because he wants to break the status quo and rescue her from her state of information isolation. At this point, she doesn't have the time to ask him about where he learned about this because Artem is finally telling the students about the details.
제가 학교에 다닐 때
When I was still a student,
북구에서 어느 의뢰인과 만날
I
일이
traveled to
있었습니다.
North Stellus with Professor Hume to meet a
의료
client.
법률 지원을 제공할 예정이었거든요.
We were giving them free legal aid.
하지만 의뢰가 좀 특수해서
But due to
과정이
the nature of the
순조롭지
case,
않았습니다.
we ran into some obstacles.
정확히 말하자면 제가 교수님과 잠시 떨어져 행동한 시기가 있었는데
I,
그때 교수님이 정체불명의 사람에게 미행을 당하시게 된 거죠.
to be precise, someone followed Professor Hume when we briefly split up. I didn't know.
교수님은 본인이 감시당하고 있다는 걸 눈치채셨고
He realized he was being
위급한
watched,
상황을 암시하는 메시지를 저한테 보내셨습니다.
and he sent me a message to tell me about the situation.
휴대폰으로 메시지 보내면 상대방이 알아채지 않을까요?
Wouldn't they notice that something is wrong if he sends a text message? Marius seems to have predicted her question and asked Artem directly.
그 메시지는 교수님과 저만 이해할 수 있는 내용입니다.
That message was something that
전에
only two of
함께
us could
학술 문제를
understand.
논의할 때 접했던 언어로 작성됐거든요.
It was in a language that we used when discussing some academic issues in the past.
엄밀히 말하자면 그렇게 복잡하지 않았습니다.
It's a simple combination of foreign
산스크리트어나 그리스어
languages.
같은 외국어의 간단한 조합이었기 때문이죠.
It was a simple combination of languages like Sanskrit and Greek. Come to think of it, Artem did mention that he had learned those texts in the past when we were in the landfill. But she was focused on investigating the crime scene at the time and didn't consider how it might be connected to Neil Hume. Only now does she realize Artem's ability to respond so quickly during the investigation might have to do with his mentor.
그렇게 전 바로 위급 상황임을 알아차리고 경찰과 협력하여 교수님을 위험에서 구출해낼 수 있었습니다.
So I realized the urgency of the situation and worked with the police to get him out of danger.
교수님은 그 일이 끝나고 농담까지 하시더군요.
After that ended, he even joked about it with
우리가
me.
만든 암호가 꽤 효과적이군. 앞으로도 계속 사용하는 건 어떤가?
Since our secret code is so effective, why don't we keep using it?
만약 우리 중에 누군가가 위험에 처하거나 연락이 끊기게 된다면 이런 방식으로 구조를 요청할 수 있지 않겠나라고 말씀하셨죠.
If either of us gets into danger or we lose contact in the future, couldn't we use this as our way of signaling for help?
저라면 분명 본인을 찾아낼 수 있을 거라 믿는다고 하시면서요.
He said he never doubted that I would be able to find him. Oh, that he's hoping to find him again. Ah, is that why he reacted that way to the Sanskrits? Silence fills the air. For students in this class, it's just another ordinary afternoon. They're satisfied after hearing the story they want to hear. On the other hand, she feels her heart pounding louder and louder as she leans against the wall, her eyes fixed on Artem's desk. An SOS. The dazzling sunlight before her makes it clear that Artem had only shared a story that wouldn't change anything in the present. In the spreading silence, the clean and bright office in front of her reminds her that she's no longer a student and needs to get back to work. That's why she only nods in response to Marius' whispered
난
question.
원하는 답을 들었어요. 그럼 누나는 이 정도로 충분해요?
I've heard everything I wanted to know. Well then, was that enough information for you? Yeah. After the call ends, she calms down a little and starts writing a text message to ask Artem about having a meeting. However, she sees a red notification the moment the phone screen lights up. A new mail? The only people she's been in touch with via email recently are employees of Tara Upton's company. When she visited them, they said their company was in chaos due to their boss having gone missing, and that they didn't have enough manpower to deal with visitors. That's why her spirits are suddenly lifted when she sees that the sender is Samurai e-commerce. Please accept our sincere apologies for not being able to cooperate with your investigation promptly. We have worked as quickly as we can to compile a list of people who are familiar with our CEO. We hope this will be helpful. In the email, they also said that I could visit their company at any time if necessary. As she browses through the email attachment quickly, a line of text catches her attention. Jacob Yates, Tara Upton's personal driver? I guess it's normal for the CEO of a company to have a personal driver. But the fact that Tara Upton has her own driver raises a question. Why would Tara Upton use a rideshare service if she has her own driver? Well, we know that it was likely that it was just a ruse, right? Like they were obviously meeting each other for a reason. While pondering this, she checks the time and thinks to herself that Artem's class won't end anytime soon. She decides to send him a text message to update him on her latest findings. After that, she turns her attention back to the personal driver's name again. Maybe I should investigate this person first. Her phone vibrates just as she makes up her mind. This time, Artem has actually replied to her text almost immediately. If you have time, you can try to contact that personal driver you mentioned. I'm currently at the college and have made some progress too. I look forward to meeting up with you later. She takes one last look at the last sentence Artem sent, which gives her a massive boost of motivation, and quickly calls the driver.
여보세요?
Who is this? Jacob Yates seems to be in an open area like a park, and she can hear the sound of children laughing and playing from time to time. The situation gives her a strange feeling that compels her to raise her voice in hopes that he can hear her clearly. Hello, are you Jacob Yates?
네? 제 이름을 어떻게 아셨죠?
How do you know my name? He seems quite surprised at first, but warms up to her quickly after she explains the situation.
무슨 뜻인지 알겠습니다, 변호사님. 최예월 씨의 상황이 알고 싶은 거라면 언제라도 괜찮습니다.
Oh, I understand the situation. I can meet you anytime to tell you more about Tara Upton. Hang on.
오늘도 괜찮고요. 요즘은 일이 없어서 솔직히 한가하거든요.
Today's all right? I'm actually quite free today. It's still early, so it'll be really efficient if I can meet up with him today. Sorry, his voice sounds familiar, so I'm trying to see if I recognize it from somewhere. I think Artem will agree with me. After all, he cares more about the speed of the investigation than me. She quickly decides her course of action after giving it a moment of thought. That would be great, Mr. Yates. Well, where would be a good place for me to meet you?
장소요?
A place.
교마회라고 아십니까?
Have you heard of the White Horse Association? What? The White Horse Association? She subconsciously covers her mouth so that he won't hear her exclamation. I think I've heard of it before. In reality, she didn't just hear about it. Both Rosa and Artem dealt with this charity in the past since it was the place that took in Gerard Boone. That reminds me, I haven't asked Mr. Wing why he went to the White Horse Association alone to view Gerard Boone's information. I'll ask Mr. Wing after I meet up with him. Fortunately, Jacob Yates seems to think that the pause in her speech is caused by her unfamiliarity with his proposed location and continues the conversation in a friendly manner.
오늘은 계속 여기에 있을 겁니다.
I'll be here all day today.
빨리 만나야 하는 거면 이따 바로 주소를 보내드리죠.
If you want to meet as quickly as possible, I'll send you my location. After confirming the meeting time with Jacob Yates, she finally meets Artem as scheduled. He doesn't ask too much about her conversation with Jacob Yates. Instead, he just starts the car as usual. According to the investigation or navigation information on the screen between the two of them, they should arrive at the destination in less than 40 minutes. Perhaps realizing the two of them might not have much time alone, Artem turns to her while waiting at a red light.
제 서류 가방 좀 열어줄래요?
Can you open my
안에
briefcase?
자료가 2부 들어있거든요.
There are 2 documents in it. Oh, okay. She takes one of the documents out and flips through a few pages quickly.
대학교에 가기 전에 엄 반장님이랑 잠깐 만났거든요.
Before going to the college, I met with Darius Morgan.
사법감정센터에서 작성한 김태석 사건의 보고서를 받아왔어요.
I got a report issued by the Forensic Evaluation Center on Finn Jackson's case.
캐리어 안에 시신 조직이 심각하게 훼손돼 있는 바람에 사법감정센터에서는 완전한 보고서를 작성하려면 시간이 더 걸릴 거라고 했고요.
Because the body tissue in the suitcase has been severely damaged, they will need some time to issue a full report.
캐리어에 최예월의 옷가지와 소지품이 있던 걸 고려하면
The suitcase contains Tara Upton's clothes and
최예월의
belongings.
가능성이 높다고 추정하고 있어요.
So they think that it's very likely that the body tissue belongs to her. Did he flee after murdering Tara Upton? At this moment, silence is the best answer. With the written analysis report supporting it, she has no reason to question this inference. At least this means that the thing I need to confirm with Jacob Yates later will be quite clear. We'll need to investigate Tara Upton's background and find out where she was last before she died to deduce Finn Jackson's motive and locate him. With this thought in mind, she sets the forensic report aside and turns her attention to the other document Artem brought.
처음 조사를 시작할 때부터
When the investigation first started,
최예월과 관련된 사람들의 자료를 정리했어요.
the police compiled files on everyone who was connected to Tara Upton.
서진명 씨랑 연락이 닿았다고 해서 제가 사본을 달라고 했고요.
Since you've gotten in
아마
touch with Jacob
쓸모가
Yates,
있을 거예요.
I asked for a copy of this file. It should be helpful.
그리고 서진명 씨가 왜 교마회에 있는 건지도 주목할 만한 것 같아서 교마회랑 관련된 정보도 추가해뒀어요.
It should also be noted why Jacob Yates is currently at the White House Association. I've included some information about the association as well. Thank you. After taking one quick glance, she can see that Artem has specially circled Jacob Yates' alibi. He was at the hospital because something was wrong with his ear. I'll take a closer look from here. His thoughtful preparations remind her of when she went to the White Horse Association to help Gerard Boone with the procedures for transferring to another hospital. At that time, Artem confirmed Gerard Boone's written documents carefully and even investigated the donation transactions. All right, speaking of the White Horse Association, you were also there when I helped Gerard Boone with the transfer procedures, right? The light turns green just as he makes his honest admission. He grips the steering wheel tightly for a moment, then steps on the pedal like he has made up his mind.
최근 교마회의 구조와 운영 방식이 궁금해서 좀 더 주의 깊게 살펴봤거든요.
Recently, I've been curious about the structure and operation of White Horse Association, so I've been keeping an eye on it. Then is the White Horse Association...
표면적으로는 의심할 만한 곳이 전혀 없어요.
I can say that it looks like a perfectly legitimate operation on the surface.
하지만 우리가 접촉한 사건 관련자들 대부분이 연관된 이상 앞서 내린 결론에도 물음표를 붙이는 게 맞겠죠.
But since everyone we've met involved in this case seems to have some sort of connection to it, it's too early to draw any conclusions.
서진명 씨와의 만남에서 한 번 더 조사를 진행할 수 있으면 좋겠네요.
It would be nice if we could get this opportunity to dig deeper when we meet with Jacob Yates. Upon hearing this, she instantly understands why Artem is so well prepared for the meeting. She nods without saying a word and focuses on the documents he has brought with him. Something seems strange about the scene in front of her when she gets out of the car, making her wonder if she's feeling this way because she was reading through the case files during the ride. Lots of audio-visual equipment and colorful balloons are sitting on the neatly trimmed grass, decorating the scene with a festive vibe.
야외 상영회.
An open-air movie screening. While walking, Artem is given several flyers, most of which are distributed to promote the charity movie screening that the White Horse Association will be holding soon. The other issue is that it's members only, and they need tickets to get in. Listening to Artem mumble to himself in frustration, she tugs his sleeve to pull his thoughts back. Jacob Yates said he would be nearby. Let's start looking for him. He told me he would be wearing a colorful bracelet that would make it easy to identify him. She starts looking for anyone who matches the description and grabs her phone to contact him again. A soccer ball? Something bumps gently against her ankle. Looking up, she sees a few children looking at her guiltily. They are all wearing the same uniform and standing in the corridor connecting the main building of the White Horse Association and the field. To them, they're both clearly outsiders. So she takes a few steps forward and greets them. And hello, is this your...
죄송합니다. 공 좀 이쪽으로 차주시겠어요?
Sorry, could you kick the ball back? She turns to look at where the voice is coming from and sees a man exit the main building and walk towards her. It seems he was chatting with someone just moments ago. The doors of the main building are still shaking behind him, and she catches a glimpse of a figure behind the glass. The children look visibly relieved when he steps out of the shadows into the sunlight. Some of them even cling to him.
아까 안에서 두 분 오시는 거 봤습니다.
I saw the two of you
여기
from
아이들은
inside.
낯을 많이 가려서요. 많이 놀라셨죠?
The children here are scared of strangers. Were you surprised?
요 며칠 같이 놀아준 어른이 저 말고 별로 없어서 공은 저한테 주시면 됩니다.
I'm one of the few adults who have been playing with them these days. You can just give me the ball. Wait a second, he's wearing a colorful bracelet. The feeling of familiarity she gets from him isn't just her imagination. As she looks at him, she suddenly realizes something. However, Artem reacts before her. He picks up the ball and walks towards the man.
서진명 씨 맞으십니까?
Are you Mr. Jacob Yates?
얼마 전에 연락드린 거 기억하시나요? 최예월 씨에 대해 여쭤볼 게 있습니다.
We just contacted you recently. Do you remember? We reached out because we wanted to ask a few questions about Tara Upton.
네, 맞습니다.
Yes,
잠깐 기다려
that's
주시겠어요?
right. Wait a moment, please. Huh? Why did he... Jacob Yates doesn't say anything else until he walks all the way to them. Moreover, when he's talking to Artem, his head is tilted unnaturally like he can hear more clearly with his right ear. After that, he tilts his head again and bends down to whisper something to the children in the same manner. Then he watches as they run off. Oh, is he bugged?
보셨다시피 요 며칠간 교마회가 시끌벅적해서요.
As you can see, things are
조용한
quite lively
자리로
here.
옮기시죠.
Let's go someplace quieter.
이쪽입니다.
This way. Thanks. Jacob Yates clearly knows his way around here. The moment that they catch up to him, a gust of wind blows at her from the corridor. The wind isn't chilly. In fact, it feels faintly warm, but for some reason, it still makes her shiver. She looks at where the gust came from, the main building of the White Horse Association, which Jacob Yates just came from. Somehow, I feel like someone is in there.
변호사님?
Jacob Yates and Artem, who have already started walking, are looking back at her in surprise. I better forget about that for now. There are more urgent things to do. This isn't the time to be doubting her thoughts, so she quickly catches up to them. Only now does she take a good look at the man in front of her. Alright, time to start inspecting. Alright, he did say there was something wrong with his ear, actually. So maybe it's not that he's bugged. Jacob Yates always seems to turn his head slightly when listening to others. Could that be a personal habit of his? None of the information of the investigation so far suggests that he has such a habit. So yeah, I think it must be the ear infection, right? That reminds me, he always seems to turn his head slightly when listening to others. Oh, and the file Artem brought mentioned that Jacob Yates had an alibi when he was questioned after Tara Upton's incident. He said he went to the hospital that night because his ear was hurting badly. If I remember correctly, he had an acute otitis media. An acute otitis media usually causes hearing loss for a period of time, which would explain his little quirk. Bracelet? Probably charity bracelet. The logo on the bracelet looks familiar for some reason, but why? Where have I seen it? Wait, I remember. I saw it on the door when I entered the White Horse Association. Is it a bracelet for members of the White Horse Association? Since it's a charity, they probably sell promotional bracelets like that every so often. It looks like it's seen better days. It must have been worn for a while already. It's a work day today. Doesn't Jacob Yates need to go to work? Oh, right. He said earlier that he's been here the past few days. His personal file says that Tara Upton approved his paid leave before she disappeared. It looks like Tara Upton used a ride-sharing service on the night of the incident because of her driver was on leave. After that, a series of accidents took place. If Jacob Yates hadn't gotten sick and taken leave that night, would the events still have unfolded the same way? Wondering about what ifs now won't change anything. I better focus on the present. Right? In the end, Jacob Yates stops in the shade of a tree. The sunlight shining through the gaps between the leaves become brighter and brighter. Here in this space between light and darkness, he speaks to her softly. There's a lot going on with the light and darkness thing.
변호사님, 아까부터 여쭤보고 싶은 게 하나 있었습니다.
There's something I've been wanting to ask you since you arrived.
이렇게
since you reached
급하게
out.
저한테 연락을 주신 건 제 고용주인 최예월 씨한테 사고가 났기 때문입니까?
Are you here to see me because something has happened to my employer, Tara Upton? Seems to have noticed something. Is that why he wants to know more about what's happened? The police haven't announced anything about the suitcase yet, so Jacob Yates shouldn't have any way of knowing what happened. When she looks at his serious expression, the image of the blood-soaked inner lining of the suitcase at the crime scene appears in her mind. They are not allowed to reveal anything without the police's consent, so she shakes her head. Sorry, we can't comment on the case while the police are still confirming the details.
죄송해하실 건 없습니다.
There's nothing to
오히려
apologize for.
죄송한 건 제 쪽이죠.
I'm the one who should be apologizing.
제가 그날 휴가를 내지 않았더라면
If I hadn't taken leave that day,
아무것도 아닙니다.
it's nothing.
백 변호사님, 그날 저녁 최예월 씨가 탄 택시의 기사 말입니다만
About the driver of his car, of
경찰이
the
저한테
taxi that
알려준 건
night.
없지만 개인적으로 들은 소식이 있습니다.
The police haven't told me anything, but I've heard some things about him.
김태석이라는 사람 맞습니까?
He's called Kim
게다가-
Tae-suk, right? I also heard... Wait, how would he know that? Okay, that's a little... That's a little suspicious. Is it the person he was talking to inside? Who was talking to him? Certainly not Vin's uncle, right? Anyway, although they have already reminded him, he insists on asking about the details of the case, wishing to find out more, even if it's just about the scene or a possible suspect. The man's reaction makes her recall an easily forgotten personal information detail in his file. He's been Tara Upton's personal driver since he came to Stellis from his hometown. This means they've known each other for a long time. This must be why Jacob Yates cares so much about the case. Artem naturally also keenly notices Jacob Yates' desire to find out what happened and interrupts him before he can ask more questions.
서진명 씨, 사건 현황을 빨리 알고 싶어 하시는 마음은 충분히 이해합니다만
We do understand that you want to know more about the case as soon as possible.
확인되지 않은 소문들을 신경 쓰시면
But if you only focus on
최악의 경우를
unverified
상상하게 될 뿐입니다.
rumors, you'll focus on
그럼
negative
점점 더
things,
깊은 늪에 빠지게 되겠죠.
and then you'll fall deeper and deeper into a trap.
그러니
Trap?
근거
Gordon?
없는 소문에 흔들리지 않으셨으면 합니다.
Please don't let these unverified things affect you, okay? Jacob Yates stares blankly at Artem for a moment, then his tense shoulders relax a little.
제가 신뢰를 범했네요.
I lost my
요즘
composure.
계속 긴장한 상태로 있어서 자꾸 그때 상황을 떠올리게 되더라고요.
I've been very nervous and I can't stop thinking about those days.
사람이라면 누구나 그럴 수 있다고 봅니다.
I don't think you've lost your composure.
저도 가까운 사람이 위험에 빠지거나 행방불명된 적이 있거든요.
He does know. I know what it's like when someone you know is in danger or has gone missing.
사고가 난 걸 알게 된 다음에는
After
어떤
finding out about an
방법을 쓰든
accident,
누구보다 빠르게 그 사람을 찾아내고 싶어하는 건 다들 같은 마음이겠죠.
everyone wants to find that person faster than anyone else and do whatever it takes to bring them back.
변호사님도
You also... Instead of getting straight to business, which might make Jacob Yates uncomfortable, Artem decides to establish an emotional connection first. She notices what Artem is doing and cooperates with him to help Jacob Yates let go of his obsession. However, she knows very well that Artem didn't just make that up on the spot to console him. Part of what Artem said to him must be based on his first-hand experience.
사람을 찾아내 죄를 판결하는 건 경찰과 검찰의 일입니다. 개인적인 이유로 함부로 움직였다간 정당하지도 정의롭지도 않은 행동이 되겠죠.
It's the job of the police and prosecutors to find and convict someone. Any action you take out of selfish motives is neither reasonable nor righteous.
게다가 감정에 휘둘려 홀로 사람을 찾는 것보다
Moreover, there are
다른
other
방식으로
ways to
조사를
aid the
돕는 게
investigation.
더 좋지 않겠습니까?
That would be better than acting emotionally by searching for someone on your own.
그게 더 이성적이고 또 효율적이죠.
These are more rational and efficient. As Jacob Yates' clenched fist relaxes, her heart, which had been pounding anxiously over how he would take the news about the case, begins to calm down as well. It's so typical of Mr. Wing to comfort someone like this, making sure reason takes charge before emotions do.
그건 그렇겠네요.
You're right.
지금 제가 할 수 있는 건 변호사님들께 최대한 많은 정보를 드리는 거겠죠.
All I can do to help is provide you with as much information as I can, right?
이제 물어보셔도 좋습니다.
Now you can ask me anything you want. All right, let's go. Job description.
그럼 기본적인 것부터 시작해 보죠.
Then let's start with the basic information.
서진명 씨는 최예월 씨의 개인 기사로 오래 전부터 일해 오셨습니다.
You've been Tara Upton's driver for a long time now, right? Artem begins questioning Jacob Yates before she can even pull out the file with his information. His expression and quick responses make it clear he knows the key details like the back of his hand. Having noticed that as well, Jacob Yates nods forthrightly.
최예월 씨가 회사를 막 차렸을 때부터 있었으니까 나름 원년 멤버인 셈입니다.
Since I've been around since she started the company, you can call me a veteran of the company.
처음에는 운전일 말고도 전단지 배포, 고객 서비스.
He actually says something more like, you can call me like one of the OGs. Not as slang, it just kind of is. In the beginning, I wasn't just her driver. I did all kinds of jobs, handing out flyers, customer service.
나중에 회사가 천천히 궤도에 오르면서 최예월 씨의 개인 기사가 됐고요.
And after her company got on track, I became her personal driver. Personal driver. So you are responsible for driving. Sorry. So you're responsible for driving Tara Upton around on workdays?
네.
Yes.
근무일이 아니더라도
But not just on
주말에
weekdays.
고객을 만나러 가게 되면 제가 운전대를 잡았습니다.
I sometimes drive her to meet clients on the weekends too.
그렇다는 건 고용주가 언제 어디서든 부르면 바로 달려가야 하는 업무라는 거군요.
Then would you say that you're in an on-call position?
네. 비즈니스라는 게 참 힘들지 않습니까?
Yeah, isn't running a business
개인
hard?
기사가 항상 붙어 다녀야 하는 일이죠.
A personal driver's job is to always be around. Before Jacob Yates finishes speaking, he waves his hand at Rosa and Artem as if suddenly realizing he might have misspoken.
아, 오해하실 필요는 없습니다. 야근을 강요받은 적은 단 한 번도 없었으니까요.
Don't misunderstand.
제가
I've never
자원해서
been
출근한
forced to work
겁니다.
overtime. It's all voluntary.
자원했다고요?
Voluntary?
좀 더 자세히 이야기해 주시겠습니까?
Can you elaborate?
제 자료 보시면 아시겠지만
You read my
전
information, so you already know,
고등학교를
but
중퇴하고 일자리를 찾아 미림시에 왔습니다.
I started working here at Stella's after dropping out of high
저
school.
같은 처지에 첫 직장을 구한다는 게
For someone in my
여간 쉬운 일이
position,
아닙니다. 악덕 고용주를 만나지 않으면 다행인 수준이었죠.
landing that first job isn't so easy. You'd count yourself lucky if you didn't end up working for someone sketchy.
최예월 씨는 저한테 일자리를 마련해 준 것도 모자라 4대 보험에 주택 적금에 야근비까지 넉넉히 챙겨줬습니다.
Wow, she not only gave me a
사업
job,
초기라서 끌었을 자금도 별로 없으면서 말입니다.
but she provided insurance, my housing fund. She even paid me for overtime work, all while her startup was running on a shoestring budget.
은혜를 갚고 싶다고 하는 건 좀 이상할 수도 있습니다만 이렇게 오랜 시간을 같이 일해왔던지라 최예월 씨와 함께 업무를 하는 게 이제는 습관이 된 것 같습니다.
Well, saying I want to repay your kindness might sound a bit sentimental, but after all these years, going on business trips with her has just become a habit to me. I hope he doesn't turn out to be a bad guy. All right. You weren't Tara Upton's driver on the night of the incident because you were on leave. What was the reason for your time off? Asking Jacob Yates to confirm the reason behind his leave is to confirm his whereabouts around the time of the incident. If he really has been Tara Upton's driver for as long as his file shows, it would be strange for him to suddenly take leave before the incident. Jacob Yates smiles helplessly and points to his right ear.
귀가 오래전부터 안 좋았거든요.
My ear
심할
hasn't
때는
been good
상대방의 말을
for a long
제대로 못
time.
알아들을 만큼 통증이 오곤 합니다.
It always hurts, and when it gets really bad, I can't even make out what people are saying.
원래는 점이액 같은 걸로 적당히 버텨보려고 했는데 최예월 씨가 바로 유급 휴가를 줬죠.
I was intending to just endure it with some eardrops, but Tara made me take paid leave. And how long is that paid leave, may I ask?
보통 20일 정도 받았습니다.
Usually I get 20 days a year,
다 더하면 한 달 정도 쉴 수 있습니다.
plus 15 days of sick leave, so I have a little over a month off in total. Seriously? That's more annual leave than some attorneys in our firm. And in this situation, some attorneys means the same thing as a friend of mine. Evidently surprised, Artem follows up her question with one of his own.
그러니까
So,
최예월 씨가 한 번에 휴가를 그렇게 많이 줬다는 겁니까?
did she give you all those days of leave at once?
한 달 내내 쉰 건 아닙니다.
No.
딱 절반인 보름만 쉬었죠.
It wasn't a month. She gave me exactly 15 days. Just. Her hand holding the file trembles slightly as a sudden urge of envy hits her. I feel you, Rosa. I feel you as someone who also does not get a lot of time off. Artem looks at her with concern and coughs slightly.
돌아가면 대표님과 이 부분에 대해서 한번 얘기해 봐야겠어요.
When we get back, I'll have to have a chat with Celestine about employee benefits later. This is funny.
이야기가 잠깐 다른 데로 샜군요.
We've gone off track a bit.
그러니까 이야기를 정리하자면 최예월 씨가 유일한 개인 기사인 서진명 씨에게 병원 진료를 받을 수 있도록 장기 휴가를 지급하면서
Mr. Yates, it looks like that was so funny. It looks like Tara Upton gave you a lot of time off to get medical treatment, and you're her only personal driver.
사건 당일 밤 퇴근한 최예월 씨는 김태석이 모는 콜택시를 타게 된 겁니다.
So did she take a rideshare with a driver named Finn after leaving work on the night of the incident?
아마 그런 것 같습니다.
I guess so.
하지만 서진명 씨가 말씀해 주신 상황으로는 최예월 씨의 행동을 납득하기가 어렵습니다.
Oh, but
오히려 의문점이 더 늘었고요.
what you said doesn't actually shed a light on her actions. It actually makes things more complicated. I have one more question.
의문점이요?
어?
그게 무슨...
최예월 씨가 단순히 병원 진료 정도의 시간을 줄 생각이었다면 직원한테 그렇게 긴 휴가를 줄 이유가 없습니다.
So you had no reason to give you so much time off to see a doctor.
이 사실을 바탕으로
But
한
there's
가지
another
가능성을
possibility.
짐작해 볼 수 있습니다. 최예월 씨한테는 자신을 항상 따라다니는 개인 기사를 따돌려야 할 이유가 있었다는 거죠.
Oh, though we don't know the reason, perhaps she needed a pretext to send away the driver who's always been by her side.
따돌려야 할 이유...
A reason to send me away? Jacob Yates mutters to himself in disbelief.
잠깐만요, 백 변호사님.
Wait,
드릴
Mr.
말씀이
Wing.
있습니다.
I remember.
최예월 씨는 사고를 당하기 전에 누군가와 자주 연락을 주고받곤 했습니다.
She was always in contact with someone before the incident.
상대가 누구인지 또 무슨 이야기를 나눴는지는 다들 모르는 것 같지만요.
No one knows who this person was or what they discussed. Jacob Yates starts to speak more slowly, as if gathering his thoughts.
전 일개 운전기사일 뿐이라서
I
따로
was just her
물어볼 수가
driver,
없었습니다.
so it wasn't my place to
어쩌면
pry.
그냥 사소한 관계일 수도 있으니까요.
In any case, it could have been some business small talk.
아니요. 만약 그때 제가 조금 더 관심을 가지고 한 번 더 물어봤다면
No, if I'd paid more attention and asked her about it, then maybe, oh, he seems like a nice guy. He falls silent after lamenting about what he could have done, something which won't change the current situation. Artem and Rosa share a look, reaching a consensus tacitly. Given the current situation, pressing further would only send Jacob Yates down a rabbit hole of what ifs, causing him to become irrational. Mr. Yates, is it true that you provided an alibi during the routine police investigation? Although the police have already confirmed that Jacob Yates' alibi is credible, there's no harm in confirming it again.
네, 이겁니다.
Yes, here. Rosa takes the phone from Jacob Yates and sees an online appointment record for a high-end private hospital on the screen. It's a record of his medical consultation at this private hospital on the night of the incident. Huh? She quickly spots a familiar logo on the screen. She noticed this logo when she entered the White Horse Association, and the charity bracelet Jacob Yates is wearing also bears this logo. Mr. Yates, why is the White Horse Association's logo on this hospital's homepage? The White Horse Association seems to be involved in every aspect of Jacob Yates' life, which is quite intriguing. Jacob Yates looked at her in confusion, as if he's surprised she doesn't already know the answer to this question.
교마에는 의료 자선 단체입니다. 시내 여러 병원들과 협력 관계를 맺고 있고요. 두 분 모두 이미 알고 계실 거라고 생각했습니다만
The White Horse Association is a medical charity that works with a lot of hospitals in the city. I thought you two would already know this.
교마회와의 관계를 말씀드리자면
As for my connection,
최예월 씨가 전 직원한테 의료 보험을 추가로 들어줬고 이 병원은 지정 협력 병원 중 한 곳이었습니다.
well,
치료비 환급도 가능했고요.
Tara purchased additional medical insurance for all her employees so we can get our medical expenses covered there since it's one of the company's designated partners. Ah. Well, that's why Jacob Yates went there to get his ears checked. It makes sense now.
그날 밤 귀가 너무 아파서 힘들었는데
The pain in my
이곳
ear was really
병원에서
horrible that
응급 진료를
night.
한다고 했었습니다.
And that hospital offers emergency services.
의사 진료 말고도 이경 검사도 같이 받게 되면서 그날 밤은 계속 이 병원에서 시간을 보냈고요.
I had an otoscopy after seeing the doctor and spent the whole night at the hospital. Jacob Yates' account is consistent with what he told the police. To ensure that they haven't missed any crucial information, she reaches out and swipes the hospital's page on the screen. This address.
무슨 문제라도 있나요?
Is there a problem? She raises her head and looks around as she mumbles her shocking discovery under her breath. The hospital is the White Horse Association headquarters.
맞습니다.
That's right.
교마의 협력 병원이니까요.
This private hospital
방금
works with the
축구하던
White
아이들
Horse Association.
기억나십니까?
You remember the children playing soccer earlier?
그 아이들 모두 병원에서 치료 중인 환자입니다.
They're all patients.
교마의 후원 덕분에 병원에서 상대적으로 저렴한 비용으로 아이들을 치료해주고 있죠.
It's because of the White Horse Association's funding that the hospital can keep the cost of their treatment low.
후원을 받게 된 환자가 다른 의료기관에 이전하는 그런 경우도 적지 않다고 하더군요.
I've heard that there were many patients who received funding and were transferred here from other medical institutions. Gerard Boone, the name suddenly pops up in her mind. His mother's former ward mates helped him after he fell seriously ill, and he eventually received funding from the White Horse Association. She looks at the densely packed windows of the building behind her. Maybe he's sleeping behind one of them right now. No, now's not the time to think about that. I need to focus on the case first. All right, let's ask about Tara Upton. It sounds like your company has close ties with the White Horse Association. Is that right? Jacob Yates smiles and shakes his head.
여기서 열리는 자선 행사에 자주 참석하는 건 최예월 씨고 저희 직원들은 그냥 그 덕을 보는 정도입니다.
Tara always attends our charity events. We employees are just riding on her coattails.
최예월 씨는 업체와 교마회를 직접 연결해 주기도 하고 정기적으로 기부를 하기도 했습니다. 다양한 공익 활동에 본인이 직접 참여하는 경우도 종종 있었고요.
Not only has she formed a connection between the company and White Horse Association, but she also regularly donates money for charitable purposes.
그렇게 오랫동안 활동하다 보니 미림시에서도 관심을 보이며 여러 상을 주더군요.
Over time, the people of the city noticed her deeds and gave her many awards. That's true.
축하 기념으로 열리는 야외 상영회에 참석하려고 했는데
Originally, she was supposed to be here to attend the open-air movie screening to celebrate. Celebrate?
최예월 씨가 회사가 이번에 또 어떤 자선 기부상을 받게 됐다는 소식을 미리 들었다고 말하면서 당연히 축하해야 하지 않겠냐고 했습니다.
She told me that she heard the company was going to receive another charity donation award. That's definitely worth celebrating. Jacob Yates starts looking lonely and depressed again. Artem notices the change in his expression and interrupts his thoughts after pondering for a moment.
하지만 최예월 씨가 이런 일을 한 게 단순히 상 때문만은 아니라고 알고 있습니다만
We know that Tara Upton didn't do all that just for reward.
그건 당연합니다.
Of course.
최예월 씨가 그리 넉넉하지 않은 가정 출신이라는 걸 오래된 직원들은 다 알고 있습니다.
Aww.
그야말로 밑바닥에서 혼자 맨손으로 일어섰죠.
All the tenured employees know that she came from a poor family. She worked really hard to rise above her circumstances and build her business.
가난이 한 사람한테 미치는 영향을 본인이 잘 알기 때문일지도 모릅니다.
Maybe it's because she knows what poverty does to people.
최예월 씨는 후원 사업이 평생에 걸쳐 이루어야 할 자신의 사명이라고 하더군요.
She said that charity is her lifelong work. It does look like Tara Upton has put a lot of effort into charity work. Although she feels a little emotional about the situation, the doubts in her heart do not dissipate. But what does all that have to do with Finn Jackson? A middle-aged man with a record of robbery and theft and a female entrepreneur with a heart for charity. They're from two completely different worlds. All right. Oh. You have worked with the company for a long time. Have you heard Tara Upton or anyone at the company mention the name Finn Jackson? Jacob Yates sighs before she finishes speaking.
그 사람에 대해서 들은 적이 있었다면,
If I had heard about this
게다가
person before,
전과가 있다는 걸 알았더라면, 아무리
If I had
기가
known.
아파도 유급 휴가를 주겠다는 최예월 씨의 제안을 거절했을 겁니다.
no matter how badly my ear hurt, I never would have agreed to take that paid leave.
그럼 평소에 사장인 최예월에게 접근하려는 수상한 사람을 본 적은 없으십니까?
Have you seen any strange people trying to approach your boss?
네, 가끔 있었습니다.
Yes, sometimes.
사업 규모가 커지면 이상한 사람들을 만날 수밖에 없습니다.
When your business grows, you're bound to run into some strange people.
회사 앞에서 다짜고짜 길을 막아서는 기자도 있고, 이해관계가 충돌하는 경쟁 업체들도 많고,
For example, we've had reporters who tried to block us at our company gate, and business rivals with conflicting interests tried to stir the pot.
심하게는 우리한테서 또꼬물을 얻어먹으려는 불법 세력들까지 나타났습니다.
And there have been outlaws who tried to line their pockets with our money.
사기에, 갈취에 여러 일이 있었지만 최예월 씨가 매번
Blackmail,
해결책을
extortion,
생각하는
they tried
덕분에
many things.
재정적인 손실을 입은 적은 없었습니다.
But she'd always find a way to deal with them, though the company never faced any financial losses. Do you know how she handled these situations? Did she call the police or resolve them privately through other means?
그건 저도 잘 모르겠네요.
I don't know about that.
사장님께서 워낙 수완이 좋으신 터라 저희가 특별히 걱정한 적은 없었습니다.
Our boss is really capable, so we never really had to worry about anything. Suddenly, Jacob Yates pauses like he's trying to recall any potentially suspicious people. Rosa waits anxiously. In the end, he smiles politely and apologetically.
제가 기억하는 한 김태석이라는 사람을 만난 적 없습니다.
I've never met somebody called Finn Jackson.
참, 그럼 경찰도 그쪽을 조사한 거 아닙니까?
But the police should have investigated this person.
김태석과 최예월 씨 두 사람 고향이 같은 사이라던가 하는 건 아니겠죠?
They're not from the same hometown, are they?
네.
No.
아닙니다.
그럼 이상하네요.
That's odd. Jacob Yates' softly spoken sentiment is precisely what she's confused about. So far, this conversation has failed to shed light on how everyone is connected in the case. It's just made things even more confusing. I hope that information is helpful later. As for the personal details about Tara Upton, I doubt Jacob Yates is privy to those. She glances at Artem. After receiving his silent confirmation, she closes the notebook she uses to record the information, or the key information in the conversation. That's all for today. If we need to...
아이고, 이게 또 누구십니까?
Ah, it's you two again. Oh god, is this Vin's uncle? Before she can identify the speaker, she's overwhelmed by the strong scent of men's cologne. Ew. Resisting the urge to sneeze, she turns around to look at the speaker at the same time as Artem.
윤주혁 씨. 말씀 많이
It
들었습니다.
is Mr. Matthew Richter. I've heard a lot about you. I knew it! As Matthew Richter strolls across the lawn towards them with his hands in his pockets, he gives them the impression that the White Horse Association is like his own living room. Jacob Yates' reaction only reinforces the impression. After Matthew Richter nods at him, Jacob Yates bids us goodbye and leaves silently. Sorry, bids them.
솔직히 오늘 여기서 만날 줄은 몰랐는데 여긴 무슨 일로 오셨죠?
Honestly, I didn't expect that I would be meeting you here today. Why are you here? Looking at his rather arrogant face, annoyance quickly spreads throughout her body. I should just come up with an excuse. We're
영화 보러 왔습니다.
here to watch a movie. Artem reacts before her, even holding the stack of flyers someone forced into his hands in the air.
교마회에서 자선 상영회를 주최한다고 해서 어떤가 보고 싶어서요.
We read about the charity open air movie screening and thought that we'd swing by.
근데 와서 보니까 회원만 참여할 수 있다고 하더군요.
But when we got here, we saw that it was members only.
윤주혁 씨는 자선 활동에 열정적이신데다가 교마회의 주요 후원자라고 들었습니다.
I heard that you've always been passionate about
어떻게
charity and you're a sponsor of the White Horse Association.
없겠습니까?
Could you pull some strings for us? I like that his expression is so tense. As they say, you should fight fire with fire, so the best way to deal with a pushy person is to be more annoying than them. If Matthew Richter wants to accept Artem's compliment, he would have to respond to his request. Which means he'll have to act like a truly generous philanthropist and help the companions of a nephew he dislikes get movie tickets.
진작 말씀하시지.
You're being serious, right? Matthew Richter stares at the two of them, seemingly caught in an intense internal struggle before finally shrugging his shoulders.
마침 남은 티켓이 있거든요.
I do have some leftover tickets. They're good seats, too. It looks like he's decided to go along with Artem's act for now. They nod in response and take the thin tickets from Matthew Richter's hand. 3 tickets? Mr. Richter, it seems like you might have slipped us an extra ticket.
맞을 텐데요.
No, it should be correct.
3명. 맞잖아요.
There really are 3 of you, aren't there? As he speaks, he steps aside so they can see behind him. In the distance, they see someone incredibly familiar, half crouching in the sunlit grass, surrounded by children.
윤 선생님, 제 스포츠카 정말로 고칠 수 있어요?
No! Vin is crashing their movie date! Dr. Richter, can you really fix my race car?
다시 한번 해볼게.
I'll try again. Vin? This is so sad. This is why they have silly music. Oh my gosh. The so-called race car is actually just a child's toy car, but something seems simple, seemingly simple, like repairing a toy isn't that easy for adults with little experience in car repairs. I remember now. Vin did say he would be giving psychological consultations to members of the White Horse Association recently.
가서 인사라도 하죠.
Let's go and greet him.
어쩌면 도움이 될지도 모르고요.
We might even be able to help him. Perhaps because he can't bear to see Vin continue to struggle with the flat tire of the toy car, Artem suggests helping him out. Yeah, Artem knows cars. Oh, that's so funny. Vin, however, is fully focused on the tire and doesn't notice the two of them approaching him.
윤 선생님, 이런 거 수리 잘 못하죠?
Dr. Richter, you don't actually know how to fix this, do you? Oh, this is so silly. Vin will hate this because I do remember Vin tried to fix a kitchen sink or a leak for Rosa once and then flooded her whole apartment. Oh, that's so silly. And now he's gonna have to rely on Artem. He's gonna hate this.
무슨 소리?
What are you saying?
그래.
He's so
무슨
tense.
소리야?
Yeah, of course. What are you saying?
자원봉사자 오빠가 윤 선생님은 우리 나이 때부터 스포츠카를 엄청 많이 봐와서 수리할 수 있을 거라고 했단 말이야.
A volunteer said that Dr. Richter had already seen many big sports cars when he was our age, so he definitely knows how to fix them.
자원봉사자 오빠는 거짓말 안 해.
He wouldn't lie to
윤
me.
선생님이 누구보다 수리 잘한다고 했어.
He said that he's better than
자원봉사자 오빠.
anyone in the world when it comes to fixing things. Oh, you're here. A volunteer who knows Vin.
잠시 지나가겠습니다.
Oh my god, everyone is here. This is so fun. Oh my gosh. Jerome Adams is here. Excuse me. When they turn around to look at Jerome Adams, Rosa sees Matthew Richter looking on with amusement. After that, Vin also stops what he's doing. After all, at this impromptu gathering of uninvited guests, the first thing everyone does is to work together to fix a toy car. Oh my god.
여기 타이어 이쪽을 살짝 들어올리면
If you gently lift this layer of the tire,
고장난 타이어랑 휠을 분리해서 타이어를 교체할 수 있어요.
then you'll be able to separate the faulty layer from the rim and replace the original tire. I didn't know that Jerome Adams knew how to fix cars too. Is there anything he can't do?
그냥 일상에 필요한 노하우랄까요?
It's just some essential life hacks.
어렸을 때 장난감 자동차를 많이 접해본 건 아니지만
I didn't get to play with toy
자전거나
cars as a kid,
자동차나 비슷하지 않을까 해서요.
but it seems similar to fixing a bicycle or a car. Jerome Adams seems to be used to people looking at him like this, so he answers her unspoken question directly. A car? Are you saying you can even fix? Jerome Adams smiles in response to the cry of surprise that escapes her mouth. The children listen to their exchange, half understanding what's going on. At the same time, Vin snorts as he tries to hide his dissatisfaction.
그동안 같이 지내면서 정말
After
못하는
spending
게
time with
뭔지
you,
생각이 안 날 정도네요, 견우 씨.
it seems that there isn't anything that you're bad at. During this time,
교마회에서 자원봉사를 하고 있거든요.
I've always been a
윤
volunteer here,
선생님의 심리 상담 활동도 가끔 도와드리고 있고요.
and I occasionally help out with Dr.
아이들이랑
Victor's
야외에서
psychological
놀고 그런 거예요.
consultations. For example, I organize outdoor games for the children. Jerome Adams answers her straightforwardly like he hasn't heard the hidden meaning of Vin's words. He hands the fixed toy car to the child and looks up at Vin.
이제 문제 없을 거예요. 그럼
There should be no problem now. Well then,
나중에 또 장난감 자동차나 다른 게 망가지면 언제든지 저한테 맡겨주세요.
if anything else breaks down in the future, then leave it to me.
꼭 그럴게요.
I will. As he says this, the children waiting anxiously nearby for their toy car start waving at him too. Even farther in the distance, Matthew Richter continues to observe the little party. It looks like Vin wants to say something to Rosa, but he gives her a quick look because of many watchful eyes nearby.
마침 잘 됐네요, 견우 씨. 제 심리 상담에 도움이 필요할 것 같아서요.
There's no time to lose, Jerome. I think my psychological consultation activities could use some help.
지금 같이 가줄 수 있나요?
Do you think you could go with me?
물론이죠.
Of course.
그럼 다들 일 때문에 바쁜 것 같으니
Since it looks like we're both busy, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, see you later, Dr. Richter. Their agreement to see each other later is just pleasantries to avoid arousing anyone's suspicions. There's no way Vin can't guess why Artem and Rosa are here. At the same time, Jerome Adams' presence here is too coincidental. Or in other words, he's probably here at the White House Association to investigate something or someone. Therefore, the best solution for all of them right now is to actually split up. Time to get back to work then. Wait. As Vin walks off in the distance, she suddenly remembers something important and begins searching for Artem. Mr. Wing, we forgot to ask Dr. Richter if he wants a movie ticket. But then again, these tickets are useless to us because you only asked for them as an excuse to be here. Mr. Wing? After searching for a while, Rosa realizes that Artem has quietly made his way back to the shade of the tree when she wasn't paying attention. It's nice and quiet here, the perfect spot for him to gather his thoughts. When he sees her wandering around looking for him, he snaps out of his thoughts and waves at her.
아까 자동차를 수리하고 있을 때는 끼어들기가 좀 그래서요.
I didn't have much to say when the car was being fixed.
이 근처에 있으면 자꾸 서진명 씨가 전에 한 말이 떠오르더라고요.
It seems like whenever I'm around here, I'll find myself thinking about what Jacob Yates said to us. Mr. Wing, do you think there's something strange about his description of Tara Upton?
이상한 건 아니고
Nothing strange,
일부 추론을 배제할 수 있게 됐어요.
but we can rule out some of our previous inferences.
사건 현장 조사 끝나고 제가 얘기했던 김태석의 두 가지 범행 동기 기억나나요?
Do you remember how after we investigated the crime scene, we talked about two possible situations in which Vin Jackson could have committed the crime? Yeah, the first is that he committed the crime due to a personal vendetta with Tara Upton. The other is that he was attempting to rob her. If we consider Jacob Yates' statement, some things do seem to be illogical in our previous inferences. Oh, okay, inference time. Yay! Okay, this one went much better than the last one. The last one was so bad. According to Jacob Yates' recollections as well as Upton and Jackson's personal information, there's no evidence suggesting they've ever crossed paths. Since they've never crossed paths, that shouldn't be an act of revenge.
그렇다면 예전에 제가 말한 또 다른 가능성.
What about the other
강도질을
possibility?
숨기기 위한 살인을 저질렀을지도 모르겠군요.
This could have been a robbery that escalated into murder. It doesn't add up either. If Jackson was the one who had criminal intent, then there's no explanation for Upton's abnormal behavior.
맞아요.
That's right.
사건이 일어나기 전에 최예월은 누군가에게 연락을 취했을 뿐만 아니라
Before the incident,
기사인 서진명한테 휴가를 줘서 일부러 자신과 떨어지도록 만들었어요.
she tried to get in touch with a certain person and also seemed to have intentionally sent away her driver, Jacob Yates, by letting him go on leave.
최예월이 의도적으로 접촉한 사람이 정말 김태석이라면
If we assume that she was trying to contact Vin Jackson,
가능성은 낮아져요.
then the odds are slim it was just a simple robbery or murder by him. This means my original assumptions might not hold up. That went much more smoothly. Oh my god. Is it possible that one pretended to be a ride-sharing service driver and the other pretended to be a customer because they wanted to cover up their real reason for meeting with each other? But if that's true, why was she killed? Due to the lack of evidence to support her doubts, Rosa's voice starts to fade.
그 의혹에 대해서는 혼자 의미 없이 논증을 반복하기보다
Regarding your doubts, instead of getting stuck in a loop of self-argument,
계속 앞으로 나아가야 돌파구를 찾을 수 있을 거예요.
it would be more efficient to gather
끊임없이
information
정보를
and piece it
수집해
together.
퍼즐처럼 하나씩 차근차근 맞추는 거죠.
Yeah, we should put the pieces of this puzzle together one piece at a time. That means we'll have to talk to a lot more people like police officers, medical examiners, or other people who might know something. By the way, are we splitting up again? Even though she tries to keep her tone relaxed, Artem's hand pauses for a second while organizing his briefcase. Maybe he's weighing all the possibilities in his mind, or maybe he's reaffirming his existing beliefs. It isn't long before she hears a faint clicking sound. Although his briefcase is now locked, Artem's hand still rests on the cover.
네,
Yes.
따로 움직이죠.
Let's move separately. Oh no.
시간이나 효율 문제 말고도 최근에 업무상 학교에 가야 할 일이 있어서요.
This isn't just because of time and efficiency, though. I also have work to do at the university. Is this because you need to teach a class? After she asks a second question, Artem doesn't turn to look at her first. But as the silence thickens between them, he sighs and finally meets her gaze.
변호사 사무소 채용 관련 일이에요.
Oh, it's related to the firm's
알잖아요.
recruitment.
졸업 시즌에 로펌들이 학교에 가서 설명회에 하는 거.
It's graduation season. Many firms are giving presentations at the college during this time.
게다가 이번에 학교 측에서 저를 우수 동문으로 초청하고 싶다고 해서
On top of that, the
안 갈
college
수가
wants me to
없네요.
show myself on campus as an outstanding alumnus, so I have to go. You have to go, huh? At the very least, she hasn't heard anything about Artem being invited back to the college at the firm during this time. Although it's possible Human Resources has yet to announce this news, it's hard not to be suspicious once she started having doubts. Artem notices her hesitation and almost says something, but all he does in the end is close his briefcase gently.
아무튼
Anyway,
급한 일 생기면 바로 연락해줘요.
contact me
알겠죠?
immediately if anything urgent comes up, okay? Okay, I believe you. She knows he's just comforting her and trying to prove that he has a clear conscience, but they both know that this is the same as investigating a case. Unless there's clear evidence that proves that Artem or she has other ideas, to ensure neither of them overreacts irrationally, they both decide to back off and maintain the already precarious balance. Ooh. This is an interesting side of their relationship to show, right? This doubt. Oh, Gladiolus Valley. In the laboratory, exhaled white steam rises slowly until it becomes one with the pale light in the ceiling. Crouching down, Jerome Adams examines Neil Hume's wounds carefully and lets out a sigh.
이러시는 이유가 뭐죠, 석
What?
교수님?
Why do you do this?
이런다고 얼마나 더 버틸 수 있는데요?
How long do you think that you can hold out?
자네가 생각하는 것보다는 오래 버티겠지.
Oh, I can hold out much longer than you think.
나한텐 아직 숨겨둔 카드가 있다고.
I still have a trump card.
자네들이 날 여기에 가두기 전에 이미 많은 정보를 알아냈거든.
I've already discovered a lot of things before you captured and locked me up here. As he's already dehydrated, Neil Hume's chest makes an indistinct sound when he laughs. Oh.
날 이렇게 잡아와 매일 같이 있게 해준 덕에 오히려 그 일들이 사실인지 확인할 기회가 더 많아졌어.
Oh, by keeping me with you here every day, you've given me chances to verify what I discovered.
그래서 뭘 알아내셨나요?
So what did you discover?
고유진이 자네 스승이 되어 금난 계곡을 맡을 수 있었던 이유가
I know why Wilson Sorge became your mentor and assumed control over Gladiolus Valley.
당시 고유진이 금난 계곡 선임연구원 학술 부정 행위를 조사해 명성을 얻었기 때문이라더군.
Is because he gained prestige after leading an investigation into a scandal involving academic misconduct by a senior researcher at Gladiolus Valley.
아이러니한 건
The ironic thing is,
외치던 사람도 피로 물든 도살자였다는 거지.
well, the person upholding justice is also a blood-stained butcher.
아, 배영석의 일을 알고 계셨군요.
So you know about Tanner Feldman. 배연석. Having said this, Jerome Adams gives up on beating around the bush and stares straight at Neil Hume. Neil Hume laughs heartily as if celebrating his success in forcing the youth in front of him to finally talk about the heart of the issue.
배영석?
배연석.
견우, 자네는 아버지라고 부르는 게 맞지 않나?
Isn't it better that, shouldn't you be calling him father?
배영석도 이곳에서 일했었지.
Ah.
고유진이 자기를 실험 데이터 조작 혐의로 고발하면서 결국 결백을 증명하지 못하고 자살하게 됐지만
He used to work here. Wilson Sorge accused him of falsifying experimental data, which led to him committing suicide because he couldn't prove his innocence.
근데 정말로 조작했는지는
But no one knows if
여전히
he
미제로
did
남아있어.
falsify any data.
데이터가 조작될 수 있다는 건 혐의도 똑같이 조작될 수 있다는 거 아닌가?
If data can be falsified, then can't the accusations be falsified too?
그 사건으로 아버지를 잃은 아이는
Meanwhile, the child who lost his father due to this incident
스승이라 부르고 앉아 있다지.
now stands by the culprit side and calls him his mentor affectionately. Oh no! Okay, I think I see where this is going. Oh, I bet Jerome was experimented on as a child. Why is there so much child experimentation in Themis? I mean, this is obviously still a theory. I could be wrong, but I just feel like it's probably true. Just because it's so predictable. Oh no, by his own father, which would not be surprising. We've already seen that happen once. Oh no. Unpleasant friction sounds echo in the room as Neo Hume moves slowly toward Jerome Adams. With the last of his strength, he grabs Jerome Adams' white coat and pulls him close. However, the youth has no intention of stopping the other man's sudden and potentially dangerous
왜
action.
그러시죠, 서 교수님?
What is it, Professor Hume?
별건 아니고
Nothing.
질문 하나만 하지.
I just have a question.
분명 피해자이면서 대체 왜 가해자 편에 서는 건가?
You're clearly a victim, so why are you on the side of the perpetrator?
복수를 위해 악당 옆에 숨어 있을 타입은 아닌 것 같은데.
You don't seem like the type who bides his time,
그렇다고 해서 고유진의 말을 잘 듣는 것도 아니고.
and you don't seem to be that loyal to Wilson Storge.
대체 그 이유가 뭐지?
So what's the reason? The white steam he exhales dissipates immediately upon making contact with Jerome Adams' face. It's almost as if the white steam had made contact not with a human being, but a stone or dry ice.
피해자?
A victim?
전 처음부터 끝까지 저 자신을 위해서 살았을 뿐이에요.
Since the beginning and until the end, everything I've done has been for my own sake.
자신을 위해서라고?
For yourself?
자네는 좀 더 설득력 있는 말을 할 줄 알았는데 말이야.
Oh, I thought that you would say something more convincing than that. Neil Hume's hands shake slightly as he is on the verge of exhaustion, but he doesn't let go.
제가 왜 거짓말을 하겠어요?
Why would I lie?
한쪽은 오랜 세월 동안 제 몸에 약물 실험을 해온 아버지고
I knew it. On the one hand, there's my father, who was conducting drug experiments on me for years.
한쪽은 저한테 자유를 주고 흥미로운 연구를 할 수 있게 도와주는 사람인데
And on the other hand,
정상적인
there's the
사람이라면
person who let me,
어느 쪽을 선택하겠어요?
who gave me freedom and let me research things that I'm interested in. It's an easy choice, isn't it?
그래서 스승님이 아버지를 고발했을 때 전 아무 말도 하지 않았어요.
So I didn't say anything when he accused my
딱히 해야
father.
할 말도 없었고요.
I didn't have to say anything. Oh, I knew it! Oh my god! It does make me feel a little sorry for Jerome, but also more scared. Oh my god. The expression on Jerome Adams' face at this moment is relaxed and peaceful, and he pries Neil Hume's hands off his white coat slowly.
그 일들을 그냥 지켜보고만 있었다고.
So you just wanted to see everything unfold.
뭘 그리 놀라시는 거죠?
Why are you so surprised?
아버지라는 존재가 무너지는 건 자주 있는 일이잖아요.
This isn't the first, this isn't the last time that a father figure's image has been ruined.
전 예전에 겪었고 교수님 주변 사람 중에는 백은호 씨도 지금 겪고 있겠죠.
Oh, I experienced this, and Artem is probably going through the same thing right now. Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Is he making him doubt Neil Hume? Amidst all of this, is that why Artem has been so anxious recently?
은후.
Mhm. Unable to understand the sudden change of topic, Neil Hume repeats his words subconsciously.
백은호 씨요.
Yes, Baekunu.
석 교수님은 사람 손에 키워진 고양이를 보신 적 있나요?
Have you ever seen a kitten raised by humans?
오랫동안 사람이랑 같이 지내다 보면 어떤 고양이들은 인간을 부모로 여기기도 하죠. 어딜 가든 그림자처럼 따라다니고.
After spending enough time with humans, some kittens will regard the humans as their parents. They'll even follow them everywhere.
그러다 눈앞에서 사라지면
If you suddenly
불안해하며
disappear,
소리를 지르고 온갖 방법을 동원해 찾으려고 애를 쓰겠죠.
it will meow nervously and find every way that it can to find, and do everything that it can to find you.
지금 사람을 아기 고양이와 동일시하는 건가?
Are you comparing humans with kittens right now?
그냥 조금 서투른 비유라고 하죠.
It's just an analogy.
완전히 똑같은 건 아니지만
Not exactly the
어느
same,
정도 비슷하긴 하니까요.
but somewhat similar.
백은우 씨가 찾아다닐 거라는 걸 아시는 거죠?
You know that he'll look everywhere
그러니까
for you, right?
이렇게 폭행을 당하고 실험체 취급을 받아도 굴복하지 않는 거고요.
That's why you'd rather endure these beatings and be used as an experimental subject than give in.
조금이라도 연약한 모습을 보이면 백은우 씨에게 있어서 아버지라는 존재가 무너지는 것과 다름없게 될 테죠. 그가 알게 되면 어떻게 생각할까요?
It's because you know that once you show a hint of weakness, your image as his father figure will be shattered. How do you think he'll feel when he finds out?
왜? 날 겁주기라도 하려고?
What, are you threatening me right now?
교수님이 가장 두려워하는 건 그게 아니에요.
I know that's not what you're most afraid of.
교수님이 가장 두려워하는 건
What you fear
백은우 씨가 교수님을 찾고 보호하려다가 자신의 선량함과 교수님에 대한 믿음에 역으로 당하는 거겠죠.
Is that his kindness and trust in you will get him killed while searching for you and trying to protect you?
무슨 말을 하는 건가?
What are you saying?
사람을 너무 쉽게 생각하는군.
How can a person be so easily influenced?
백은우 씨라면 그럴 거라는 거 잘 알고 계시잖아요.
You know he'll do all that because you're
교수님은
important enough to
백은우
him.
씨한테 그만큼 중요한 존재니까요.
After Neil Hume is gently interrupted, dead silence and the smell of rust instantly fill the empty room. The cold light and Jerome Adams's calm expression are reflected in his eyes, which are still locked in a taunting gaze, but have started to tremble uncontrollably.
석 교수님이 협조하는 척이라도 하셨으면 이렇게 괴롭지 않으셨을 텐데.
You could have
여기서 도망갈
feigned
기회를 잡을 수
cooperation to lessen your
있으셨겠죠.
suffering, but and bide your time for an opportunity to leave here.
근데 욕심을 너무 부리셔서 오히려 여기서 벗어날 수 없게 됐네요.
But because you got too greedy, now you have fewer options.
그게 무슨 헛소린가?
What nonsense is that?
애제자의 생사는 신경 쓰지도 말고 자기 목적을 위해 협력하는 척해서 정보를 얻으려고 하셨다면
I'm saying that if you completely disregarded your students' safety and focused on your own goals by pretending to cooperate with us to obtain information,
연기라고 해도 바깥과 연락이 안 되는 상황이니 사람들은 교수님이 배신했다고 생각할 거예요.
even if you're pretending, people would still believe that you switched sides since you can't tell anyone the truth.
사람들은 보통 겉모습만 보니까요. 백은우 씨처럼 교수님을 아버지처럼 여기는 사람만 무조건적으로 교수님을 믿어주겠죠.
Few people would look deeper than the surface. Only a few people like Artem, who regard you as a perfect father figure, would believe in you unconditionally.
백은우 씨는 최선을 다해 교수님을 찾아내려 할 거예요. 다른 사람들한테 교수님은 변하지 않았다고 증명하려 할 거고요.
He'd do everything he could to find you so that he could prove to everyone that you haven't changed.
근데 교수님을 못 찾는다면 백은우 씨의 주장은 성립될 수 없어요.
But he can't prove anything till he sees you.
그때가 되면 필사적으로 설득하던 백은우 씨를 사람들이 어떻게 바라볼까요?
And then what would everyone think of him who's trying so desperately to convince them? Yeah, that's true. People would start suspecting him, which is exactly what's happening. I see.
이렇게 된 이상 빨리 방법을 찾아 탈출해야지 라고 생각하면서도 어렵게 얻은 이 기회를 이렇게 포기할 교수님이 아니죠.
So then you could try to find a way to escape, but you don't want to give up this precious opportunity. At this moment, Jerome Adams' whispered words are sharper than a syringe and pierce Neil Hume deeply in places he can't even reach himself. Just like when he was forcefully injected with drugs in the past, he can only endure this feeling until he finds himself drowning in a sea of anxiety.
금난 계곡 깊숙이 들어가거나 스승님한테 접근할 기회는 많지 않으니까요.
You won't get very many
위기라고 하잖아요.
chances to explore
안 그래요?
Gladiolus Valley deeply or get close to Dr. Swords. To you, this crisis is more like a gateway to the heart of evil, no?
걱정하지 마세요.
Don't worry.
교수님을 고발하진 않을 거니까요.
I won't tell anyone.
적어도 지금 당장은요. 그냥
At least
충고
not yet.
한마디 해드리는 거예요.
I'm just giving you a reminder.
둘 다 얻고 싶어서 욕심 부리고 계시잖아요.
You
백은우
have-
씨를 위해 무언가를 하고 싶으면서도 빈손으로 이곳을 떠나는 건 싫으신 거죠.
Yeah, after all, you're greedy, right? You want to do something for Artem, but you don't want to leave here empty-handed.
내가 은우 때문에 겁먹어서 아무것도 못할 것 같나?
Do you think you can scare me into doing nothing out of fear for Artem?
은우는 알아서 잘할 거야.
He knows how to take care of
난
himself.
항상 믿어왔으니까. 그 아이는 누구보다
I've always
먼저
believed in
날
him.
찾아낼 거네.
He'll find me before anyone else.
자네가 아무리 추측해봤자 내가 여기 남아있는 이유는 절대 알아낼 수 없어.
You'll never be able to guess why I'm staying here or what I'm trying to do.
그럴지도 모르죠.
Maybe.
근데 이 소리 좀 들어보세요.
Listen to this. Tick tock, tick tock. After the human voices fade away, the only sound left in the room is the ticking of the clock.
석 교수님, 이제 교수님한테 남은 시간은 별로 없어요.
You don't have much time left.
백은우 씨는 혼자서라도 목적을 달성하기 위해 자기가 가진 모든 패를 사용할 거예요.
Artem is someone who will wager it all when he has a goal that he must achieve.
돈, 명예, 마지막에는 자기 자신까지 걸겠죠.
Yeah, he'd risk money, fame, and in the end, even himself.
결국에는 자신의 선량함 때문에 그리고 교수님을 지키고자 하는 마음 때문에 조금씩 통제력을 잃어갈 겁니다.
Finally, he'll gradually lose
지금의
himself,
교수님처럼요.
lose control of himself due to his kindness and his desire to protect you, just like what's happened to you now. In the increasingly thick silence, the man's glazed eyes search futilely for something. Maybe he is searching for a way to escape or a certain person. However, the only thing in front of him is the legal document Jerome Adams brought with him. Legal documents. Oh, I'm so stressed. Ah, the Artem chapter. I wonder how this ends. Luke twirls his pen absentmindedly. Meanwhile, the grin on the face of the person who prompted him to twirl his pen grows wider by the second despite his serious demeanor.
친절한 시민 씨, 최근 발생한 기업 데이터 대규모 유출 사건에 대해 알고 있는 걸 말씀해 주시겠어요?
Would you please tell us about the recent large-scale corporate data leakage?
강혁 씨가 이 사건을 담당하고 있을 줄은 몰랐네요.
I didn't know that you were working on this case too.
예전처럼 도시의 불법 조직들을 감시하고 있는 줄 알았는데요.
I thought that you would be watching those potentially illegal organizations in the city like always.
저도 그쪽이 신혼 미상의 유모 씨로 나타날 줄은 몰랐네요.
I didn't know you would be dragged here to be an anonymous.
그리고 제 업무에 대한 방금 질문에 답하자면 멀티태스킹에 뛰어나다고만 해두죠.
But just so you know, I've always been good at multitasking. Mario shrugs nonchalantly in response to Luke's safe answer. His eyes linger on the document in Luke's hand for a few seconds. Company source codes have been leaked from a code hosting platform and an investigation has been launched.
그렇게 많은 기업의 기밀 데이터가 온라인에 흩뿌려졌으니 화인도 피해를 입었는지 어쨌는지 궁금해하는 게 당연하죠.
With so much confidential data floating around online, it's only natural that some people are concerned about whether Pax has also been affected.
안타깝게도 해커는 나한테서 아무것도 캐내지 못해요. 그러니까 오늘은 그냥 놀러 온 거라고 하죠.
Too bad the hacker didn't manage to get anything from me, so I'm just here to have a stroll. Luke frowns subconsciously after hearing Marius' tone, which is so casual you would think he was here for sightseeing. But he doesn't say anything because some colleagues from the NSB pass by from time to time. Marius, on the other hand, waits patiently for a few seconds before lowering his voice when no one is paying attention.
솔직히 데이터 문제보다 누나 상황이 더 신경 쓰이죠?
Actually, more than the data issue, I think what's going on with Rosa requires some attention too.
그게 무슨 뜻이죠?
What do you mean?
누나가 속한 조사팀의 진전이 너무 느리잖아요. 충분히 투명하지도 않은 것 같고.
The speed and transparency of her team's investigation seem to be lacking.
난 수업 들으면서 도와줬으니까 이번에는 강혁 씨가
I tried to help while I was in class. This time,
필요로
will you?
한다면
Of course.
행동을 취할 겁니다.
I'll help her if she needs me. While they're talking, the busy flow of people behind them resumes quickly. Without changing his expression, Luke writes something on a piece of paper while he keeps talking,
억지로 시간을 내야 한다 해도
even if I have to make time.
몸은 괜찮고요?
Is your body doing well? Sounds weird no matter how I say it, but maybe that's the point. Luke looks up at the person in front of him. It's said that people tend to reveal their trump card at the last minute to catch their opponent off guard. Luke sighs calmly as if he's expected to be tested by the person revealing their trump card.
멀쩡해요.
Never been better. Is this a cutscene? When they enter the busy firm alone again, when she enters the busy firm alone again, Rosa suddenly gets the feeling she's trapped in a time loop. Investigate the case, split up with Artem, meet briefly, and then split up again. She finds it impossible to eliminate all her doubts about Artem's reason for splitting up with her. Yet she hasn't been able to find a good chance to discuss this matter with him alone. I need to find a way to break this deadlock, but what can I do? Lost in thought, she walks forward with her head down, only to come to a quick halt when someone suddenly appears in front of her.
괜찮으세요? 죄송해요. 제가 앞을 제대로 안 봐서 부딪혔네요.
Are you alright? I wasn't paying attention and bumped into you. Sorry, I wasn't looking in front of me and bumped into you. Sorry, I'm the one who didn't notice. Small shipping boxes and documents are scattered on the ground at her feet. She quickly crouches down and hands an envelope to the delivery man who is picking everything up. She soon notices that a corner of the envelope she's holding onto is torn. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I must have accidentally...
아니에요.
No.
보내신 분이 저한테 주실 때부터 찢어져 있었거든요.
You didn't do that. The
아직
envelope was already
멀쩡하니까
torn when I
바꿀
received
필요
it.
없다면서요.
The sender even insisted on using it, saying it could still be used. The delivery man quickly consoles her after seeing her stare at the envelope. However, this isn't enough to make her look away and feel relieved. Instead, before she knows it, she recites the recipient's name in her head. To Mr. Wing of Themis Law Firm. Wait, there's something else. As a piece of paper in the envelope slides to one side, she sees a name through the tear in the envelope. Vin Jackson. This document is related to the case. The delivery man starts to look at her in confusion, probably because she's been staring at the envelope for too long.
변호사님이랑 아는 사이신가요?
Do you know Mr. Wing?
픽이라서 빨리 전달해 드려야 하거든요.
This is an Intercity Express item that must be delivered quickly.
보통 본인이 직접 받으셔야 하는데 아무리 전화해도 안 받으셔서요. 이게 다 무슨 상황인지.
Oh, the recipient needs to sign for it, but he's not answering his phone. What should I do in this situation? Extremely curious about the contents of the document, an idea flashes through her mind while she watches the delivery man scratch his head in annoyance. Can a friend sign for this type of express delivery on the recipient's behalf?
네, 여기 연락처만 남겨주시면 돼요.
Yes, I just need to record their contact details. Then you can give it to me. I'm Mr. Wing's partner at the firm. I'll put the document on his desk.
그래주시면 너무 감사하고요.
Oh, I would
먼저
be so
여기
grateful if you did that.
사인해주시고.
Please sign here. Oh shit, Rosa. This is illegal. Surely you're not allowed to open other people's mail. She shows the delivery man her work ID to prove that she's an attorney of the Themis law firm and takes the envelope. The delivery man rushes off through the revolving door and disappears. Meanwhile, she places her focus on the envelope again. Artem has expressly confirmed that she can access any information he collects since she's investigating Finn Jackson's case with him. Alright, fine, I guess there's a loophole. Drowning in curiosity, she even forgets to take a step forward into the elevator despite the door opening. She's gonna read it either way. Let's do it in his office, though. I promised the delivery man I would put the folder on Mr. Wing's desk, so I shouldn't eat my words. But what would happen after delivering the document? All she can do is update Artem on the phone. They would both still be trapped in an endless cycle with nothing changing. As someone who is also working on the case, I do have the right to know the contents of the folder. Even though she tries to keeps trying to convince herself that she's doing this for the case, deep down she knows that's not what's really driving her to open the envelope. This is her first time in the last few days to break the vicious cycle she's trapped in, and she can't just watch it slip away. I should take a look. She examines the surface of the envelope carefully. The sender's name is quite common. As for the contact information, this is a virtual mobile phone number. She searches the number repeatedly but fails to find any useful information. After that, she looks inside the envelope. She takes out the contents of the envelope one by one, which includes photos of companies, screenshots of web pages, copies of companies' business certificates, and other records. So Mr. Wing is still collecting information on Finn Jackson's past employers. Oh, wait. She finds some leads after comparing these records. Some companies are using outdated seals on their most recent operating documents. Others have all the necessary legal paperwork, but are essentially shell companies with empty offices in real life. Ooh. She flips through the documents faster and faster because the conclusion's already clear to her. All of the companies that employed Finn Jackson in the past have committed fraud to varying extents. He isn't educated well enough and doesn't have enough time and energy to commit fraud on such a large scale. Could this be the work of his employers? But why would they put in so much effort to cover up things for an ordinary employee? Ultimately, all the information about these companies leads her to a website with a rather strange domain name that is operated overseas. By placing an order through this website, she can hire someone to plan illegal activities like kidnapping or even more serious crimes, with each option clearly priced. I guess that was his work. Whether it's truly possible to hire people through this website or if it's just an online scam, it has certainly raised her suspicions.
사업 규모가 커지면 이상한 사람들을 만날 수밖에 없습니다.
When your business grows, you're bound to cross paths with some odd characters.
회사 앞에서 다짜고짜 길을 막아서는 기자도 있고, 이해관계가 충돌하는 경쟁 업체들도 많고.
Oh. For example, we've had reporters who tried to block us at our company gate, and there were many business rivals with conflicting interests trying to stir the pot.
심하게는 우리한테서 또꼬무를 얻어먹으려는 불법 세력들까지 나타났습니다.
Even worse, there are outlaws who try to line their pockets with our money.
사기에, 갈취에 여러 일이 있었지만 최예월 씨가 매번 해결책을 생각하는 덕분에 재정적인 손실을 입은 적은 없었습니다.
Blackmail, extortion, there were many cases like this, but Tara always found a way to deal with them, which is why the company has never suffered any financial losses. Do you know how she handled these situations? Did she call the police or resolve them privately through another means?
그건 저도 잘 모르겠네요.
I'm not really sure about that.
사장님께서 워낙 수완이 좋으신 터라
Our boss is really
저희가 특별히
capable,
걱정한 적은 없었습니다.
so we never had to really worry about anything. The information in the envelope makes one thing clear. Finn Jackson is one of the people available for hire. Someone hired him to commit crimes. She subconsciously mutters under her breath. That would explain why these companies, or his employers, all committed fraud. It's all a front to cover up crimes. Is this why Finn Jackson and Tara Upton both acted strangely before the incident? Finn Jackson accepted a job. Tara Upton wanted to resolve the matter privately like always, except her plan didn't work this time. This information is really important. I need to let Mr. Wing know right away. She quickly calls Artem, knowing there's no time to waste. But after hearing the busy tone many times, she only receives a message from Artem. I'm in a meeting. If this is urgent, we can meet at my place. In a meeting? Okay. This is weird. Because she's found some new key information, she reports her findings to the others in the investigation team and shares her location before going to Artem's residence. Like always, the scent of perfume, similar to those used in a hotel lobby, fills the hall. Sitting behind the front desk is a security guard. However, her instinct inexplicably tells her that she shouldn't go upstairs right now. I hope I'm overthinking things. She has no idea what the meeting Artem mentioned in his text is all about, and he also responded faster than he usually does. After thinking for a moment, she calms herself down and walks towards the security guard with a polite smile on her face. Excuse me, do I need an access card to use the elevator here? This is my first time here, and I need to deliver some work documents to my boss, but I don't know where to go. Although she knows she can use a special passcode to use the elevator even if she doesn't have an access card, it's best if she pretends that she's never been here before, and she hopes she can trick the security guard for now. After all, the security guard is the only person here who can accompany her into the elevator to Artem's residence, and having him come with her is an insurance measure just in case. Oh,
사장님, 어느 분 말씀하시는 거죠?
your boss? What's the name? I'm looking for Mr. Wing Artem. She tells him Artem's apartment number and waits for him to contact the owner via the intercom. So far, everything seems to be in line with the security procedures of a luxury apartment complex. After several minutes, the security guard hangs up and walks over.
알겠다고 하시네요. 길 안내를 부탁하셨어요.
He said all right and asked me to show you the way. As the elevator is currently on the 5th floor, she waits silently for it to descend after he presses the button. Nobody seems to be keen to break the silence. Meanwhile, she keeps thinking about the phone call between the security guard and Artem. He just told the security guard to show me the way. He didn't find it strange that I asked the security guard to show me the way, even though he knew I already knew how to get upstairs. Oh my god, this is so confusing. As the elevator is about to reach the 1st floor, she calmly takes out her phone and tries to contact Artem. However, in the next few seconds, all she hears is the elevator opening. Then darkness sweeps toward her as the stranger's hand pulls her inside the elevator. Oh god, I knew it. Not Rosa getting kidnapped a second time! After taking her phone and making sure she's blindfolded, the person who dragged her into the elevator doesn't say another word. What's even stranger is she can smell Artem's cologne on the soft fabric covering her eyes. Could this be Artem's tie? Oh. This is not how I wanted to do this type of scene. After the elevator reaches a certain floor, the stranger finally speaks to her.
앞으로 가시죠, 변호사 아가씨.
Keep walking forward.
허락 없이 백 변호사님 휴대폰으로 연락드린 점 이해해 주시길 바랍니다.
Please understand me for using Mr. Wing's phone to contact you.
서류를
Is this Wilson George's voice?
보답으로 백 변호사님을 만나게 해드리죠.
We wanted to return the favor for you bringing these documents to us. Your reward is meeting up Mr. Wing.
그동안 몰래 연락을 주고받은 지 꽤 됐지만
He's been in contact with us for a while.
사람을 많이 끌어들이는 게 더 재밌을 것 같거든요.
But things will be more interesting with more people involved.
변호사 아가씨 말입니다.
Specifically you. A reward for running an errand? As she reluctantly steps out of the elevator, she realizes the damaged document sent to the firm was probably bait to get her involved. At the same time, the person's polite words imply that she's on the verge of finding out everything Artem has been trying so hard to conceal. I need to calm down. I'll first check up on Artem's situation and wait for an opportunity. Because she was forced to move around with her eyes covered, she can only rely on the smell of Artem's residence to determine where she is. She walks through the hall and then turns into a room at the stairs. Then someone walks up to her and gently removes the tie covering her eyes. Oh my god, what's happening? Ah! I have this card. I haven't listened to it yet. Oh my god. What is happening? Oh, I'm so anxious. Okay. Artem throws his tie aside casually, which then slides along the smooth table. Oh, there it is. He looks good. Okay, anyway. Meanwhile, the person who removed the tie has already returned to where he was previously. He's leaning back comfortably on the sofa. Even though it's quite dark in the home theater, she can sense his gaze lingering on her for a while. This seems like one of Artem's acts, right? Like he does this a lot, actually, now that I think about it. Which is probably why they made him pursue an acting career in one of the things.
우리 사무소 사람을 데려온 겁니까?
You brought one of my attorneys?
솔직히 이 사람을 데려온 게 거래에 무슨 쓸모가 있는지 모르겠군요.
Honestly, I don't think that bringing her here will serve any purpose for our transaction.
당연히 쓸모 있습니다.
Of course it's
저희는
useless.
김태석의 고용주로서 그쪽과 거래할 의사는 얼마든지 있거든요.
As Finn Jackson's
대신
employer,
그만큼 공평해야 하지만 말입니다.
we're more than delighted to show up and do business with you, provided that everything is fair.
워낙 변호사님이 열심히 준비하셔서 저희도 초대에 응할 수밖에는 없었습니다.
You were so well prepared that we were forced to show up and meet you.
그래서 균형을 맞출 수 있는 카드를 따로 준비한 거고요. 이 정도는 이해해 주실 거라 생각합니다만.
But we wanted to have some bargaining chips to keep the scales balanced. You don't mind, right? Was this about a transaction, bargaining chips? Since the man claims to be Finn Jackson's employer, he should be in charge of that business for hiring people to commit crimes. But why would Artem take the risk of having a transaction with these people? Is it just to locate Finn Jackson? Isn't that too risky? Oh! Did Artem send the package to Artem? Did he deliberately leave that open so that she would look at it and look into it and find, like he knew that she would discover, this is a convoluted plan, that like Finn Jackson's employers were, you know, these people who hired him to commit crimes. That would explain why he didn't answer when being called to pick up for the package too. He knew that she would sign for it. Is that also why he sent her back on her own? Artem thinks to himself. When he opens his eyes again, there seems to be a subtle smile in his expression as if he's enjoying all this.
카드?
A bargaining chip?
고작 이런 협상에서 우위를 점해보겠다고 우리 쪽 사람을 속여서 데려온 겁니까?
You tricked her into coming here just to get the upper hand?
마음이라도 아프신 겁니까?
Are you feeling upset?
마음이 아프다.
Upset?
예상 밖이라고 하는 게 더 맞겠군요. 보통 변호사의 협상이라는 건 종이 문서로 움직이는 거라서요.
More like I'm surprised things aren't turning out how I planned. After all, as an attorney, I'm used to dealing with paperwork and negotiations.
서로의 균형을 맞추기 위한 협상의 카드가 살아있는 사람이라는 건 이쪽한테는 꽤 신선한 경험이네요.
But a negotiation where real people are used as bargaining chips, that's new to me.
근데 협상에 새로 합류한 변호사님은 아직 상황을 제대로 못 파악한 것 같습니다만.
The only problem is this attorney who has just joined us doesn't understand anything yet. The combination of his half-true villain act, playful sarcasm, and unintentionally revealing protectiveness makes the scene unfold in front of her feel as absurd as a stage play. Yep, always a play. Under the spotlight, Artem only needs to pull her gently to drag her into the stage with no way out. Yes, I don't understand anything. Why have you been acting alone during this time, and why are you mingling with these people? I hope you can give me a reasonable explanation. She also expresses her long-suppressed doubts in a half-serious tone. In this conversation that seems both like a performance and a confrontation, Artem observes her quietly before saying anything. Oh, I love how they change the expressions. It's so nice. However, it's impossible for him to give a direct answer in this situation.
카드가 되려면 학교의 학생들처럼 질문을 쏟아내는 게 아니라
Oh.
지시를 이해하고 따라야 하는 겁니다.
The first thing you need to know about being a bargaining chip is you shouldn't ask questions like a student in class. You should learn to understand and follow instructions.
첫째,
First,
아무것도 물어보지 말고 이쪽으로 걸어오세요.
walk over here without asking any questions.
둘째,
Second,
대화가 끝날 때까지 조용히 제 옆에 앉아 있어야 합니다.
sit quietly beside me until this meeting
끝나는 대로
ends.
집에 데려다 줄 테니까요.
When everything's over, I'll take you home.
그리고 오늘 밤은 서로 못 본 겁니다.
And
알겠죠?
act like you never saw me tonight. Understand? Speaking gently like he's giving her a case, Artem seems to be leading her into an unknown path where she can enjoy the chaos with him. At the same time, the criminal stares at her grins and staring at her grins.
이게 무슨 소리입니까, 백 변호사님? 이 사람은 저희가 데려왔으니 저희 카드죠.
What are you doing right now, Mr. Wing? We brought her here, so she's our bargaining chip.
지금 상황을 파악하지 못한 건 그쪽 같습니다만
It seems you're the ones who don't understand the situation.
물건은 물건으로, 사람은 사람으로. 거래는 이미 시작됐습니다.
Ooh.
전 이미 가격을 제시했고요.
People are people, bargaining chips are bargaining chips. We've already begun our exchange, and I've already made an offer.
우선 우리 사무소 사람부터 돌려받도록 하죠.
I want my
지불할
attorney back,
대가는 바로 저 자신입니다.
and in exchange, I offer myself. What?
그쪽한테 확실히 이득인 조건 아닙니까?
Isn't that a sure win for
제
you?
두뇌, 법조계 인맥을 모두 사용할 수 있게 될 테니까요.
My brain and connections in the legal industry will be at your service.
그쪽은 그 사람만 저한테 돌려주면 됩니다.
You just need to return
알고
her to
있는
me
정보를 조금 제공해주면 더 좋겠죠.
and reveal a bit of information that you know.
예를 들면
For example,
그쪽이 데리고 있는 석찬호 교수님이 지금 어떤 상태인지 같은 거 말입니다.
how Neil Hume is doing in your hands. The name she's never expected to hear here takes her by surprise, leaving her completely stunned. She looks at Artem suddenly, but she can't see his expression clearly due to the light from the screen that has been turned on behind him. God,
석찬호?
what is happening?
무슨 말인지 모르겠군요, 백 변호사님.
Neil Hume? I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Wing.
다들 알고 있으니 모르는 척 안 해도 됩니다.
You understand. You don't need to pretend.
당신들은 보안업체로 위장한 작은 조직을 만들어 이따금 협박, 납치 같은 의뢰를 받아왔습니다.
You formed a group under the guise of a security company and accepted jobs such as intimidation and kidnapping from time to time.
그러다 어느 날 누군가로부터
And then one day,
미림시 법조계에서 저명한 석 교수님을 납치해 오라는 큰 건을 맡게 됐죠.
from someone, you received a lucrative job in which you had to kidnap Professor Hume, a famous figure in the legal community in Stellis.
제가 이렇게 확신할 수 있는 이유는 이 영상을 일찍이 손에 넣은 것도 있지만
This video, which I got hold of, is only one of the reasons why I'm so certain of this.
드디어 그동안 국내외에서 수집한 정보와 증거들이 빛을 발하게 됐거든요. 덕분에 그쪽을 찾아낼 수 있었고요.
The information and evidence I've been collecting locally and internationally finally came in handy, and I was able to meet you. Artem presses the remote next to him in front of everyone. The image on screen is distorted while Artem fast forwards to a certain moment, revealing a familiar figure who is squirming and cursing.
늙은애, 계속해봐. 어? 계속해보라니까.
Just keep trying it. It's Neil Hume and Finn Jackson. Time seems to come to a stop at this moment. Oh, that's why when he heard Finn Jackson, he immediately flew back. After the shaking footage cuts from Neil Hume to Finn Jackson, who is kicking and hitting him, Rosa looks away and stares blankly at the man with his back to the screen in front of her. When did he get this video? How many times has he seen it? 5 times, 10 times, or would he occasionally think of what's happening in the video when they're investigating something together? The person who he's been searching for behind everyone's back is right behind him, except they are separated by a screen. Her limbs become weak as her anger turns to exhaustion. She feels the ground is sinking beneath her, pulling everyone down with it. The screen dims after the video ends, and darkness engulfs everything in the room, including Artem's expression. I think we can do one more, and then... In the darkness, the leader of the criminal organization standing between Rosa and Artem breaks the silence. He snorts nonchalantly, even though Artem's video has revealed the criminal act of his underling.
어쩐지
I see.
겨우 김태석 하나 때문에 백 변호사님이 우릴 찾을 거라고 생각하진 않았습니다.
I didn't think that you might have invited here because of Finn Jackson.
근데 말입니다. 고작 영상 하나로 거래 사슬을 파악했다는 겁니까? 의뢰를 받아서 납치를 했다.
But the taking of orders, the kidnapping, and the job, did you really manage to piece everything together from just one video?
저희가 이리저리 바쁘게 뛰어다닐 정도로 석찬우가 그렇게 값진 인물은 아닌 것 같던데요.
I didn't know that Neil Hume was attractive enough to make us do so much.
그쪽 눈에는 그냥 평범한 대학 교수일지 몰라도 다른 사람들한테는 놓칠 수 없는 인재니까요.
Oh, that's so different. That line is so different. He said he's just an ordinary college professor to you, but he's someone who others wouldn't let go of so easily.
석 교수님은 법조계에서 상당한 명성을 떨치시는 분입니다.
He has a high standing in the judicial
다른
community.
사람들이 노리는 건 아마도 그분의 전문적인 능력이겠죠.
If there's anything anyone wanted from him, it would be his professional ability.
그쪽이 석 교수님을 고문한 것도 결국 석 교수님의 정신을 무너뜨려 의뢰인의 도구로 만들려던 거 아닙니까?
So didn't you torture him to wear him down mentally so that he would become a tool for your financial backers? Artem turns on the screen again, but this time he pauses the video at the last scene with Neil Hume lying on the ground.
작업이 꽤 순조롭게 진행됐나 보군요.
Looks like you've been
그럼 이제
successful,
남은 건 석 교수님 세뇌에 성공했다는
which means the
걸
next step is to find a
의뢰인에게
way
증명하는 거겠죠.
to prove your success to your financial backers.
그쪽 수준에서는 석 교수님을 이용해 우선 그쪽의 법률 문서를 위조해 보는 게 생각해낸 최고의 방법이었을 겁니다.
So you believe that the best way to prove that was to get him to forge some legal documents for you first.
그러면 석 교수님이 세뇌돼서 범죄에 자발적으로 가담했다는 걸 증명할 수 있으니까요.
Then you could prove that you've cracked his mental defenses and he's willing to voluntarily participate in your crimes.
그리고 위조된 문서는 반복적으로 사용할 수 있습니다. 그럼 예상치 못한 상황에서 쓸모가 있을지도 모르죠.
The fake documents might come in handy for an
오늘
unexpected
그렇게
purpose,
우리 변호사를 속여서 데려온 것처럼 말입니다.
such as tricking my attorney to come here tonight. Ah, I see. So it wasn't Artem, it really was them. Oh. Artem's eyes shift from the crowd to her. To be more precise, his eyes are focused on the envelope she's still holding. Artem thinks that Neil Hume forged some documents after he was threatened by the people in the video. Why is he so sure of that? At the very least, she couldn't find any evidence indicating his involvement when she checked the documents before. The leader of the criminal organization seems to have realized this too and keeps looking at Artem and Rosa.
서류를 한번 훑어보고 누가 쓴 건지 알아볼 정도로 백 변호사님이 대단하신 줄은 몰랐군요.
We didn't realize that you were so impressive that you could tell the identity of a document's author just by looking at it.
사람이 글을 쓸 땐 저마다의 습관이 있습니다.
Ah.
자주 사용하는 표현, 배열 방식, 특정한 문장 순서 등등.
I was thinking this too, like it must have been like the way that he organized things, right? Everyone has their own writing habits, such as certain expressions, text layouts, even specific word
그
orders.
사람에 대해 충분히 많이 알고 있으면 분석해내는 것도 어렵지 않다는 것.
This analysis isn't difficult if you know someone well enough.
그리고
And
이 백 변호사가 실수한 건 아닌지 확인하고 싶지 않습니까?
do you want to find out if Mr. Wing wouldn't be able to notice?
실수한 거라면 오늘 밤뿐만이 아니라 앞으로도 웃음거리, 심지어 약점으로 삼을 수 있을 테니까요.
If he gets it wrong, you can ridicule him tonight and in the future, or even use this against him. After leading the conversation, he urges Rosa softly without taking anyone's
이
consent.
거래랑 아무런 관련 없잖아요. 무사히 빠져나가고 싶다면 제가 시키는 대로 해요.
You have nothing to do with this deal. If you want to leave safely, then just follow my instructions.
제가 말한 2단계 기억하죠? 제 앞으로 와요. 다른 건 생각하지 말고요.
Do you remember the 2 things I told you? Walk in front of me and don't think about anything else. I can only cooperate with him for now. As she walks towards Artem, she notices his eyes flickering. He seems to intentionally avoid her gaze and quickly opens the envelope. After the rustling of paper fades, Artem raises a stack of paper in the air and drops all the evidence on the carpet at her feet.
이게 뭐 하는 짓입니까?
What is this?
어떻게 말해야 할까요?
How should I say this?
처음에는 그냥 이게 석찬호 교수님이 작성한 게 맞는지 확인하고 싶은 거였습니다만
At first, I only wanted to confirm whether he prepared these documents,
상황이 상상 이상으로 흥미롭게 진행돼서요.
but things have become far more interesting.
이 서류들은 최근에 급하게 작성하고 발표된 겁니다. 분명 석찬호 교수님의 작성 습관과 일치하는 부분이 있죠.
Oh, interesting. These legal documents were written hastily and issued recently. I can see the shadow of his writing habits in some clauses.
하지만 보잘것없는 수준입니다. 업계 사람이라면 한눈에 문제점을 알 수 있는 저급한 위조 서류고요.
But it's very crude. It's so terrible anyone in the industry can tell at a glance. What? That means... At this moment, Artem is relaxed enough that he pauses. The faint sound of electricity in the home theater seems to grow louder in dead silence. Meanwhile, the face of the ferocious-looking man in front of Artem seems to be turning red in the darkness.
그 말은 영상처럼 고문을 당하고 생명이 위협받는 와중에도
That means that despite torturing him in the video or threatening to kill him,
석 교수님은 굴복하지 않으셨다는 거겠죠.
he didn't give in.
이 점은 제가 예상한 대로입니다.
That's what I expected.
그럼 이 사실들이 확인됐으니 이제 오늘 밤의 본론으로 들어가 보죠.
Since I've confirmed that, we can get to business tonight. Artem seems to have even predicted the criminals would become increasingly impatient. He glances around slowly.
도대체 누가 석 교수님의 글을 모방해 서류를 작성하겠다는 엉터리 계획을 생각해낸 걸까?
What kind of person would come up with such a half-baked plan to write up a legal document mimicking his style?
보나마나 진퇴양난의 상황에 놓인 그쪽일 겁니다.
Looking at it, it has to be you.
그쪽 의뢰인이 빨리 결과를 보고 싶어 하니까.
You were forced to take things into your own
교수님을
hands
흉내내서 어물쩍 넘어갈 수밖에 없었던 거겠죠.
by writing something in his style to fool people because your financial backers were desperate for results.
하지만 이런 흉내는 금방 들통나기 마련입니다.
But since it's an imitation, who knows when you'll be immediately exposed.
도대체 하고 싶은 말이 뭡니까?
So what are you trying to say? The joy that filled her heart when she learned that Neil Hume wasn't completely under the control disappears when she hears the leader of the criminal organization speak angrily. At the same time, she notices a few of the people beyond the circle are moving quietly to block the door of the home theater. However, she has a plan to counter their moves. She moves stealthily away from Artem slightly and gropes in the darkness with her right hand. After touching this cool antique phonograph, she feels a row of small round buttons. This is Mr. Wing's residence landline phone. The security guard must have used this to communicate with these people when I told him I wanted to go upstairs. The security guard is so advanced here, or system is so advanced here, so there must be an emergency button I can press to alert the police. No one has noticed anything unusual yet, but her heart races as she tries to identify which button she can use to communicate with the outside world without being noticed.
그러니까 석찬호 교수님한테
Oh my
헛수고할
God.
바에는 자발적으로 도움을 주겠다는 사람을 찾는 게 낫지 않겠냐는 겁니다.
Oh, I'm saying that wouldn't it be better to work with someone who's extending you an olive branch and willing to work for you?
제가 석 교수님의 명의로 그쪽의 법적 문제를 대신 처리해 주겠습니다.
I can take care of your legal problems in his name. Her hand stops suddenly. Not only because she heard Artem's ambiguous words, but also because he has quietly grabbed her hand in the darkness. He keeps looking ahead and waits for everyone to focus on him. He wants to take his place?
저희가
Sacrifice himself?
잘못 들은 건 아니겠죠?
Jerome Adams called it.
위조하는 걸 도와주시겠다는 겁니까?
Are you saying that you're willing to commit fraud for us?
석 교수님이 할 수 있는 건 저도 할 수 있습니다.
Anything that he can do, I can also do.
들통난다고 해도 제가 나선 걸 알면 의뢰인도 크게 실망하진 않을 겁니다.
Even if this arrangement gets found out, your financial backers shouldn't be too disappointed when they find out I'm willing to take his place. It's just an act. She's been telling herself this the moment she entered the home theater. However, in the darkness where nobody is watching, Artem slowly moves her hand hovering over the landline phone away. His next words plunge the conversation into an even more chaotic gray area.
제
What's happening?
성의가 의심된다면 먼저 이쪽 변호사를 보시죠.
If you're questioning my sincerity, look beside my attorney
이
first.
집은 아파트 단지 내 다른 집들과 마찬가지로 화인의 스마트 제어 시스템이 설치되어 있습니다.
Oh my gosh! Is he
보안
selling
정보
her out?
시스템도 포함되어 있고요.
Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, this is making me anxious. Like other residential apartments, this apartment is installed with Pax's smart control system, which includes an alarm that calls the police.
마침 화인에 아는 사람이 있거든요. 차단 권한을 얻어 시스템을 비활성화해 뒀습니다. 지금 몰래 신고하려고 해도 시스템을 다시 연결하려면 시간이 걸릴 겁니다.
I happen to know some people who work at PAX and obtain permission to disable the system, which means the system will need some time to reconnect even if someone wants to call the police right now. Oh my god.
쉽게 말하자면 누가 전화기를 막 누르더라도 아무 일도 일어나지 않을 거라는 거죠.
So nothing will happen even if someone presses the buttons on the phone right now. And after Artem stops her attempt to turn the situation around, she finally realizes the true nature of this negotiation. Nobody is acting. He may have even decided long ago to take the place of his mentor.
교수님은 그 일이 끝나고 농담까지 하시더군요.
After that, he joked with me about it.
우리가 만든 암호가 꽤 효과적이군. 앞으로도 계속 사용하는 건 어떤가?
Since our secret code is so effective, why don't we keep using it?
만약 우리 중에 누군가가 위험에 처하거나 연락이 끊기게 된다면 이런 방식으로 구조를 요청할 수 있지 않겠나라고 말씀하셨죠.
If either of us gets into danger or we lose contact in the future, we can use this as our SOS signal.
저라면 분명 본인을 찾아낼 수 있을 거라 믿는다고 하시면서요.
He said that he would always believe that I would be able to find him.
제가 신뢰를 범했네요. 요즘 계속 긴장한 상태로 있어서 자꾸 그때 상황을 떠올리게 되더라고요.
I'm sorry, I've been so nervous that I just keep thinking about the worst case scenario.
사람이라면 누구나 그럴 수 있다고 봅니다.
I don't think you've lost your composure.
저도
I think your
가까운
reaction is
사람이
normal.
위험에 빠지거나 행방불명된 적이 있거든요.
I know what it's like when someone you know is in danger or has gone missing.
사고가 난 걸 알게 된 다음에는 어떤 방법을 쓰든 누구보다 빠르게 그 사람을 찾아내고 싶어하는 건
After finding out
다들
about
같은
an accident,
마음이겠죠.
it's everyone's first instinct to try to find that person faster than anyone else and do whatever it takes to bring them back. Oh my god. No, if this goes on, Mr. Wing will... As if she's watching a card game that she has no power over, she realizes that Artem has finally used his trump card. Her heart beats wildly like a pounding... My heart is beating wildly. Oh my god, I'm so stressed. Like a pounding drum as she watches him walk further into the distance until he disappears into some indiscernible future. Even if he's prepared a way out, she can't bear to see him betray himself and work with people he despises. There are obviously better options. She speaks decisively after clearing her mind. I finally understand the situation now, Mr. Wing. You want to work with them to locate Finn Jackson and create an opportunity to make contact with Neil Hume in person. As for the people you're negotiating with, she pretends to think carefully for a moment and acts calmly like Artem does when he confronts people. She then glances at the man opposite her. You guys still can't trust Mr. Wing yet and think it's impossible for him to voluntarily become your accomplice, even if he says he's doing this for Neil Hume.
파트너분의 눈치가 꽤 빠르시군요.
Your partner has sense.
그럼 변호사 아가씨 의견을 좀 들어볼까요?
So let's listen to what your advice is, what your opinion is. Now she's become the uncertain factor to them. She senses Artem's eyes rest on her in surprise, as if his plan has been broken. Why try to force complete agreement and trust between people from two completely different worlds? What you both want is to give yourself more bargaining chips to protect your own interests. I'm giving everything one extra option. Artem won't need to deal with your documents personally. I will. This is the real reason she was lured here by that envelope. She'll be the one who restrains Artem so that he won't sink deeper and deeper into this quagmire of crime. She can even take advantage of the situation to stop Artem from obstinately doing whatever he wants to find his mentor. I'm capable enough to do anything you need. Plus, I'm sure you've realized that I'm an important partner to Artem. If I'm under your control, with just a little effort, she can pull the now empty envelope from Artem's hand. While taking the envelope, she lets its sharp edge run gently along his wrist. Then you'll also have a hold over him, just like now. Oh my god, Rosa, she's so badass! But oh my god, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I don't think... Oh, what would happen if you go along with his plan? I'm so curious now. Artem stares at her the whole time, seems to be going over all the possible chain reactions after realizing just how determined she is. However, she waits silently for the man's response without looking at Artem in case she wavers. Time continues to pass. Eventually, the other party breaks the silence.
근데 변호사 아가씨, 정말로 이쪽에 합류하는 대가를 받아들일 수 있겠어요?
But, Miss Attorney, are you sure that you can pay the price of joining us? What do you mean?
간단해요.
It's simple.
두 번째 석찬우가 되는 거죠.
Oh, you'll become the second Neil Hume.
삼엄한 경호를 받겠지만 감시하에 활동해야 하고.
You'll be protected, but always under someone's surveillance.
실종자처럼 살아야 할지도 모르죠.
You might even have to stay away from from your social circles and disappear from everyone's lives.
이걸 다 받아들일 수 있다고요?
Can you accept all of that? The man looks at Artem first when he speaks. His actions make his intention very clear. He's testing Artem's bottom line, not trying to scare her off. Why would I change my mind if no one is objecting? Hold on, why would Mr. Wing? As she says this in a low voice, she notices Artem's upper body move unnaturally nearby, but she doesn't have time to wonder why he did that as the man beckons to her.
그럼 거래는 성사된 걸로 합시다. 백 변호사님이랑 세부적인 부분을 상의하고 싶은데 잠시 나가서 쉬고 계시죠.
The deal is done then. I have some details to discuss, so I'm gonna ask you to go outside and have some rest. The door of the home theater has been opened, and Artem doesn't seem to have any intention to stop her. As she's about to step outside the bright room,
무슨 내용이길래 앞에서 얘기 못하는 겁니까?
what details can't be discussed in front of her? The man chuckles like he's finally managed to wait for his opponent to lose his cool.
그러게요.
That's right.
무슨 내용일까요?
What details indeed?
백 변호사님은 지금까지 두 가지 조건을 제시하셨습니다.
You gave us
첫
two
번째는
conditions.
찬우를 만나는 거, 두 번째는 김태석을 찾는 거.
The first was to meet Neil Hume. The second was to find Vin Jackson.
만약에 말입니다. 이 중 한 가지는 처음부터 저희가 들어드릴 수 없었던 거라고 한다면
What would you do if I told you
어떻게 하실 건가요?
we'd never been able to meet one of those two conditions? Oh no! They can't fulfill it? What's going on? Oh, Finn Jackson's dead. As she watches the situation unfold before her, she realizes something. These cunning and greedy criminals who agreed to show up tonight have never thought about reaching a fair deal. Artem and she are both prey that they have been targeting for some time now. Unfazed, he sighs in relief before standing up.
그럼 이쪽에서는 그쪽이 과욕으로 말귀를 못 알아듣게 되었다고 생각하겠습니다.
Oh, then I would think that your greed has made you so blind you can't even grasp simple words anymore.
다시 원점으로 돌아가 좀 더 직접적인 방식으로 다시 협상할 수밖에.
And we're back to square one, and I'll negotiate with you in a different, in a more direct manner. What?
제가 부르기 전에는 고개 들지 말고 가만히 있어요.
Don't raise your head until I tell you to. She feels a dull pain in her shoulder. As she loses her balance and falls into the sofa, she sees one of the underlings fall to the ground. He tries to subdue Artem, but as he charges forward, he skillfully uses his momentum to hurl him into the wooden shelf filled with vinyl records behind her. Records fall to the ground, and Artem, slightly out of breath, now holds the pocket pistol that he somehow took from the underling's pocket. She hears an ominous clicking sound as the others react quickly.
그래요, 백 변호사님.
Ah, that's right, Mr. Wing.
감을 좀 잡으셨군요.
This is the kind of transaction that I wanted.
감을 잡았다.
I've grasped the situation.
아닌
Something?
척하시는
Sense?
겁니까?
Stop
지금
acting all
그쪽의
civilized.
모습이야말로 스승을 찾기 위해 수단과 방법을 가리지 않고 우리랑 손을 잡으려 하는 공범 그 자체 아닙니까?
You finally look like someone who's desperate enough to become our accomplice to save his mentor.
다시 말해, 이건 저희랑 접촉하기로 선택했으면 반드시 치러야 하는 대가인 겁니다.
This is the price you pay for choosing to make contact with us.
섬이 되는 첫걸음이랄까요?
It's your first step to becoming people like us.
그래요, 그 표정이 나와야죠.
That's it. That's the expression.
저희랑 얘기하는 게 지긋지긋하고
Did you find it annoying to deal with us?
경찰 대신, 법 대신 직접 우리를 처벌하고 싶을 정도로 말입니다.
Do you hate us? Do you want to punish us on behalf of the police and the law? Or instead of the police and the law? Artem seems to say something, but she misses what he said because her full attention is drawn to something else. Even the men who are pointing their guns at her a few seconds ago look over at it. Less than half a meter from her hand, something has fallen to the ground in the chaos. The screen lights up as it spins on the spot from the constant vibrations. Her phone. Okay, I think we can do this, and we'll save the epilogue for next time. Hopefully. I'll read fast. Oh my god. The vicious man with the gun clicks his tongue because the phone keeps ringing and doesn't look like it'll stop anytime soon.
누구 휴대폰입니까?
Whose phone is that?
대답 안 하면 그냥 박살을 내버리는 수가 있어요.
If you don't respond, I'm going to smash it. It's mine. She forces herself to answer him before anyone else can make a move. Yeah, she was like, no, not my phone. My games are on there. Sorry. She finds herself in a more difficult dilemma. Should she answer the phone, and how will she answer the phone? She stares at Marius' name on the screen and feels like all the blood in her fingertips is about to rush back to her heart. Fortunately, the pistol that Artem snatched has created an opportunity for her. The man wants to come over and check the phone, but he can't move because he's in a standoff.
누굽니까?
Who's calling? I need to come up with something.
왜 말이 없습니까?
Why aren't you saying anything?
거기 누가 좀 가서 확인해봐.
Hey, someone check. It's a student from Celis University. Huh? Although their leader has given them a command, the underlings don't dare move toward her because they aren't sure if Artem will shoot them. Rosa jumps at the chance to feed him an answer that is partly true and partly false. If you really have investigated Mr. Wing properly, you should know that he has been invited to give lectures at the college. I was there too. After class, a student asked me for his number, and I gave him my number because I didn't want to bother Mr. Wing. This student harassed us many times during the class. He'll keep calling until I answer.
그럼 빨리 안 받고 뭐 합니까?
Then why aren't you quickly answering it? The man is obviously more worried about a bullet that could be fired at any time than this unreasonable student. After voicing his irritation, he looks back at Artem, who has been silent the whole time.
조금이라도 상황이 이상하게 흘러가는 것 같으면 둘 다 바로
If I get the slightest hint
제외할 수 있게 해드리죠.
that something's off, I'll do to you exactly what I did to Neil Hume. Answer the call. Hello, aren't you that student in the general education class that Mr. Wing was teaching? I remember you were quite active in class and asked a lot of questions about him and Professor Hume. You left quite an impression on us. She senses Artem's astonished eyes on her. Her words give way that she had eavesdropped on him, but this is also her only way to let Marius know the unusual situation they're facing.
아, 맞아요. 전에 도강했었죠.
Yes, I was in that class. She pretends to sigh helplessly and continues speaking like she really is comforting a mischievous student. I've already told you that you can send Mr. Wing an email if you want to discuss anything about the class with him. You'll interfere with our work if you keep calling me.
지금 다들 바쁘신가 보네요.
Oh, is this a bad time? Or you're sorry. In Korean technically, like it seems like you're busy right now. Exactly.
근데 메일을 보내도 언제 답장이 올지 알 방법이 없잖아요.
But there's no way for me to know how long it'll take to get a response if I send an email.
아, 나중에 또 오시나요? 설명회나 그런 거 안 하세요?
Do you think that you'll come back again for a presentation?
제 쪽에 백 변호사님을 만나 뵙고 싶어하는 친구들이 많아서요.
There are many classmates who want to meet Mr. Wing. Fortunately, Marius catches on quickly and does a good job of keeping up with the act.
괜찮다면 시간이랑 장소 좀 알려주시면 안 될까요?
If it's alright, it'd be great if you could give me a time and location. Actually, there's a campus recruitment presentation plan, but we might hold it online because Mr. Wing will be working from home during that time.
재택이요?
Working from home.
알겠습니다.
Alright.
그럼 시간은요?
And the time? Marius repeats himself softly. Hearing the underlying meaning of his whispered words, she answers quickly. Next Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Meanwhile, the time displayed on the clock at the home theater is 10:30 p.m. Now that she's conveyed the information about the time, place, and relevant people, she and Artem just have to hold on until the call ends. Oh my gosh!
알겠습니다.
Alright.
그럼 나중에 다시 얘기 나눌까요? 어차피 금방
Then let's
다시
talk later.
만날 거잖아요.
We'll see each other soon anyway. After ending the call, she realizes her palms are completely covered with sweat. Now I just need to wait. I must be patient. I wonder how long it'll take Marius to get here. The feeling of relaxation that surges through her tense body fills her ears with a pounding sound that drowns out all the sounds around her. As a result, she doesn't even notice the increasingly loud sound of electricity in the home theater. By the time she notices, her wait has come to an end. The power's out? That shouldn't happen at Artem's apartment. Someone grabs her wrist before she can think. The next thing she knows, she's running with this person. Oh, it's Artem for sure. She can't see where she's going in the darkness, and the only thing she can smell is Artem's cologne. Hold on tight. After hearing another loud bang, man, cards like stories with Artem are always so exciting. I love that despite how like calm and stuff like he is, like the stories with him just end up like this. Oh, sorry. After another loud bang, she feels like she stepped on something broken on the floor. Then the night breeze rushes into the home theater. Oh, the rooftop. I did see a swimming pool. You go first. The wind howls at the edge of the balcony. Artem lifts her up easily and helps her climb over the railing into a blind spot. Looking down, she sees a fire escape ladder about 2 meters away from her. The closer she gets to the other side, the more clearly she can see the neon lights of the streets through the gaps in the stairs. Should I climb down?
위험하다고 생각되면 안 해도 돼요.
You don't need to take any think of anything dangerous. Artem pulls her back toward him, probably because he doesn't want her to look down over the edge of the railing. He has also climbed over when she wasn't paying attention. He moves slightly to give her some room to move around in this cramped space.
방금 제가 협상을 위해 스마트 제어 시스템을 꺼뒀다고 한 거
You remember what I said about during the negotiation about disabling the smart control system in my home? Yes?
그 사람들을 속이기 위해서
I was bluffing.
거짓말한 거예요. 화인 보안 센터랑 연결된 시스템이라 제 쪽에서 무슨 수를 쓰든 끌 수가 없거든요.
I knew it. The smart control system is connected to Pax's security center. There's no way I could disable it.
그래서 화인 쪽 관리자가 조작해주면 시스템의 긴급 프로그램을 가동할 수 있어요. 전원을 차단한다거나 경찰에 신고하는 식으로요.
That means the managers at PAX can activate the emergency response procedures such as cutting off the power supply or calling the police if they want to.
그리고 집주인이 아니라면 이런 곳에 사람이 숨을 만한 작은 공간이 있다는 걸 절대 모를 거예요.
Nobody except the owner of this complex would know about the space to hide in, so we just have to wait. Pax, was that power outage really caused by Marius? But he shouldn't be able to do anything that quickly. Did you tell the others about your situation? The most natural and easiest conclusion for her to make is that, like always, Artem told and warned everyone about his situation before making contact with those dangerous people. However, he shakes his head after a long pause.
아니요.
No.
조사팀의 사람들이 이렇게 빨리 반응할 수 있던 건 당신 덕분이에요.
They acted so quickly because of you.
조사팀 사람들은 어쩌면 최근 제 동향에 대해 의심을 품고 있었을지도 몰라요. 그래서 당신이 여기로 온다고 했을 때 더 각별히 신경을 썼을 거고요.
They were probably already worried about what I've been up to and paid extra attention after learning that you would come to my place.
그리고 저로서는 오늘 밤의 거래와 교수님의 일 모두 당신만 알았으면 좋겠거든요.
After tonight's transaction and the matters concerning my mentor, I only wanted you to know them. You only wanted me to know, but why? She finds herself unable to finish her question. She hears a flurry of footsteps approaching, which means that more people are coming to the rooftop to search for them. After that, she feels Artem tighten his grip around her waist. To her, his action feels like a symbol of his determination in what seems like an inevitable situation, rather than an instinctive reaction to his fear of being exposed.
곧 알게 될 거예요.
You'll find out soon. Oh my god. Soon after that, Marius helps her climb back the open area on the rooftop.
어때요? 금방이라고 했죠?
What do you think? I said I'd be here soon, right? You came sooner than I imagined, thanks. She's not in the mood for chit-chat right now, so she inspects the surroundings after she thanks Marius. Despite their casual attire, all the young people moving around the scene are NSB investigators, and Luke is recording something at the edge of the crowd. You guys.
일찍부터 국정원은 이 불법 조직을 쫓고 있었어.
Oh.
이번에 미끼를 풀어 한 번에 잡아낸 거고.
The NSB has been monitoring this criminal organization for some time now. This incident kind of evolved into a sting operation, and we managed to catch them all.
근데 둘이 이렇게 모험을 강행할 줄은 몰랐네.
I just didn't expect that you would
김태석을 찾으려고 직접 조직이랑 접촉할 줄이야.
take a huge risk just to find Finn Jackson by directly reaching out to his accomplice. Finn Jackson? Upon hearing her slightly confused whisper, Luke stops what he's doing and looks up.
아니야?
Am I wrong?
백은우 씨랑 둘이 최근 김태석의 행적을 찾아다녔잖아.
I know you've been searching for Finn Jackson.
초기 조사가 끝나면 왜 이런 짓을 벌인 건지, 왜 너까지 끌어들인 건지
Oh.
물어봐야겠어.
He sounds very upset. After the preliminary investigation, I need to ask him why he took such a great risk and even got you involved. Just like when she entered the home theater a few hours ago, Luke is completely unaware of anything related to Neil Hume and is focused solely on the case itself. I only wanted you to know about tonight's transaction and the matters concerning my mentor. The words Artem said to her not long ago ring in her ears.
안색이 안 좋아 보이네?
You don't look well. I'm just a little cold after standing here on the rooftop for so long. I'll feel better with a blanket. I see. So it's like he couldn't say anything in front of them because he doesn't want them to know what he's really up to, but he wanted to make sure Rosa understood what this was really about. After saying goodbye to Luke for now, she goes to the other side of the rooftop away from the crowd instead of going downstairs. The first thing that catches her eyes are the waves of the swimming pool rolling in the wind. Artem's reflection in the moving water turns his head to look at her from the railing.
왔어요?
You're here. He seems to have known from the beginning that she would be rescued, or sorry, they would be rescued, and that she would come to him. As she gets closer, he shuffles toward the railing until they're looking at the night view next to each other. The night breeze whips up her hair, which almost rests gently on Artem's arm. Mr. Wing, when did you find the new clues about Professor Hume? Although she hasn't confirmed her guess with anyone, she believes it's very close to the truth. Artem has been looking for Neil Hume since before the Finn Jackson case, right? Or maybe even earlier.
전에 비밀 경매 행사에서
An underground
강간된
auction.
교수님이 폭행당하는 영상을 입수했어요.
I found a video or I
오늘
bought a
미디어를
video
보면서
of my mentor being
당신이 본
beaten
그
up.
영상이죠.
That's the video that you saw in the home theater.
영상의 모습을 드러낸 사람을 조사해 보니
After checking everyone who appeared in the video,
찾아낼 수 있었어요.
I found the man named Finn
그렇게
Jackson
그
and
사람에 대한
investigated
조사를
him.
시작하게 됐고요.
You didn't tell anyone about this and nobody noticed anything either?
제가 말한 적은 없어요. 이상한 점을
I do
눈치챈
remember the
사람이
video
있다면
scene, actually. It's been a while, but I do remember him watching a video with Neil Hume. I didn't bring it up myself. As for whether anyone noticed anything strange about me,
윤노아 씨가 의심한 적은 있는데
Vin had his doubts.
단순한 추측일 뿐이었어요.
But all he had were unfounded
실질적인
speculations.
증거는 아무것도 찾지 못했죠.
Dude. The Vin and Artem ship is sailing. The toxic ship for
그래서
sure.
지금 석찬호 교수님의 상황을 아는 건 저 그리고 당신뿐이에요.
But right now, the only people who know about Neil Hume's situation are you and me. Artem's tone makes her feel like they're having a conversation about their daily lives in the evening breeze, but the sounds coming from the distance behind them constantly remind her that they both just escaped from a perilous situation at the cost of sharing their secrets with each other. But the others will also find that out soon, right? Everyone will ask us about what happened tonight. When that happens,
과연 그럴까요?
will they? Artem's rhetorical question gently fades in the wind. She looks at him in confusion because she doesn't understand what he
아까
means.
같이 여기에 숨어 있을 때
When we were hiding here earlier,
왜 당신을 고른 건지, 왜 비밀을 털어놓은 건지 물었죠.
you asked me why it was you, why I was willing to expose my secrets to
이
you.
조사팀에서 교수님을 찾는 제 심정을 진심으로 이해해줄 수 있을 만한 사람이 당신 한 사람밖에 없었거든요.
Oh, because you're the only one who can relate to the emotions I went through during my search for my mentor. She finds herself unable to refute him. Those emotions of not wanting to see another person take risks alone and wanting to bring that person back to her side urgently. He probably felt all those emotions she experienced tonight in the home theater when he watched the video of his mentor.
그래서 석찬호 교수님을 납치한 사람들과
As I had
접촉하기로
had those
결심하기
thoughts,
전에 전 제 자신과 두 가지 베팅을 했어요.
I made 2 wagers with myself before I decided to contact the people who kidnapped Neil Hume. 2 wagers?
네. 첫 번째는 당신이 여기로 끌려와서 석찬호 교수님이 납치되었다는 사실을 알게 되더라도 조사팀의 다른 사람들한테 이걸 알리지 않을 거라는 것.
The first wager is whether you would tell the other members of the investigation group after being brought here and learning of Neil Hume's kidnapping.
물론 배팅하기 전에 미리 계획을 준비해 두긴 했어요. 협상이 끝난 다음에 적어도 당신만큼은 안전하게 떠날 수 있도록 말이에요.
Of course, I had devised plans to ensure that you at the very least could leave safely after the
오늘
negotiations.
밤에 아무도 도와주러 오지 않았더라도 당신은 무사히 빠져나갔을 거예요.
You would be able to leave safely even if no one came to our rescue tonight, at the very least. Her intuition tells her that this is not the time to ask Artem about the plans he devised. Sometimes choosing silence after recognizing the truth can be a kind gesture to those in front of you.
결과적으로 제 계획은 필요 없게 됐지만 당신도 다른 사람한테 석 교수님이 납치됐다고 말하지 않았거든요.
And I didn't need my plan in the end, and you didn't tell the others about Neil Hume's kidnapping. Oh, the other wager was if the members of N2X would come to their rescue, and they did. That's right, because she grips the railing tightly as the look in Artem gives her seems to penetrate the softest part of her heart and makes her afraid to look at him. It's because I have a strange feeling that you don't want everyone to know that you're searching for Professor Hume yet. You wanted to get in touch with those criminals to confirm his situation before telling anyone about
그렇게
it.
생각한 이유가 있나요?
Why do you think that? Based on your usual way of doing things, it's impossible for you to take part in such a risky transaction, not unless there's a compelling reason, such as wanting to confirm whether Professor Hume had done anything to betray the investigation team after being kidnapped and wanting to clear his name. Because there was indeed some speculation surrounding his disappearance.
메일을 보낸 사람이 교수님인 건 맞습니다. 하지만 그게 교수님이 유신성 씨를 납치했다는 증거가 될 수 없죠.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago. The email address does belong to Professor Hume, but that doesn't prove any involvement with Jian's kidnapping.
이메일 주소뿐이라면 해명의 여지가 있을지도 모르죠.
There might be room for doubt if there was just an email address.
하지만
But
최근에 복구된 이메일에선 혼자 와라라는 요구 사항까지 명시돼 있었어요.
it was clearly stated in the email we retrieved to come alone.
백은우 씨, 증거는 확실해요. 석찬우 씨가 스승이라고 해서 사실을 부정하면 안 되죠.
The evidence is irrefutable. You can't deny facts just because he was your mentor. I remember that. That was a long time ago. The most direct way to confirm this would be to find a chance to meet him in person. Because I trusted you, I decided to wait until you had done what you wanted to do before taking any action.
믿음인가요?
Was it trust? Mr. Wing? Suddenly, something feels different. Although the neon lights in the distance are still illuminating her eyes, she sees a hint of darker emotions in Artem's eyes. It's like her honesty and trust in him have made him feel guiltier instead of relieved. Oh. She suddenly feels like she really needs to console him, so she speaks before he can. But aren't we certain now? He didn't do anything for his kidnappers, and there's no evidence that he kidnapped Jian. You said he didn't write those fake legal documents.
거짓말이에요.
I lied. Oh my god! Bro! The moment Artem whispers those words, the office building facing the rooftop dims as the lights are turned off. Dark clouds pass over the glass surface of the office building, making their figures even harder to see in the huge reflection. You lied? I don't understand.
그 서류는 교수님이 직접 만든 거예요.
Those documents were indeed written directly by him.
사람마다 특정한 표현이나 습관 같은 게 있거든요.
Everyone has their own specific writing
전
habits.
교수님과 오랫동안 함께 일해온 만큼
I've worked with him long enough to tell with one look.
왜 들키지 않은 건지에 대해서는
The reason I didn't tell
범죄
them
조직의 조직원들도 석 교수님이 작성했다는 사실을 몰랐다는 거겠죠.
is because even the people in that organization probably aren't sure if he wrote those documents. Are you saying they were tricked? How's that possible? Did he do that or?
현재로서는 확실하지 않아요.
I don't know.
지금 확신할 수 있는 건 단 한 가지뿐이죠.
I'm only sure of one thing.
현재 제가 파악하지 못한 어떠한 이유로 교수님은 납치당한 이후에 많은 양의 서류를 위조해 김태석의 정체를 숨겨줬다는 거예요.
For reasons unclear to me, he's forged many documents while he was kidnapped to cover up Finn Jackson's identity.
지금까지 알아낸 정보는 유신성과 아무런 관련점이 없지만 사람들의 상상력을 자극하기는 충분하죠.
Although the information I've found so far has nothing to do with Gian, it's already enough to make people imagine things. But he could have been forced, right? Her voice is louder than usual due to her eagerness to refute Artem's inference. However, Artem just shakes his head and looks in a direction where she can't see.
그럴지도요.
Maybe.
하지만 교수님의 성격이라면
But based on what I know about his
모든 수단을
personality,
동원해 외부와 연락하려 하셨을 거예요.
he'll most likely try to make contact with the outside world.
전에도 그러셨거든요.
He's always been like that.
저랑 약속도 했고요.
And he made a promise to me,
반쯤 농담이었지만
even if it was just a joke. Or half a joke. He's always been.
법학과에서 한 강의를 엿들었다고 했으니 알고 있겠죠?
Since you heard what I said in that class, you already know what it is, right? To be honest, she didn't need any reminders, as her memories come flooding back when she looks into Artem's eyes.
정확히 말하자면
To be surprised, or
제가
precise,
교수님과 잠시 떨어져 행동한 시기가 있었는데
someone,
그때 교수님이 정체불명의 사람에게 미행을 당하시게 된 거죠.
yeah, to be more specific, after we split up, somebody followed Professor Hume.
교수님은 본인이 감시당하고 있다는 걸 눈치채셨고
He realized he was
위급한
being
상황을
followed,
암시하는 메시지를 저한테 보내셨습니다.
and he sent me a message to hint at his situation.
휴대폰으로 메시지 보내면 상대방이 알아채지 않을까요?
Wouldn't they notice that something's wrong if he sent a text message?
그 메시지는 교수님과 저만 이해할 수 있는 내용입니다. 전에 함께 학술 문제를 논의할 때 접했던 언어로 작성됐거든요.
That message is something only the two of us can understand. It's in the languages we used when discussing some academic issues in the past.
미리 말하자면 그렇게
Strictly
복잡하지
speaking,
않았습니다.
It's a simple combination of foreign languages,
산스크리트어나 그리스어 같은 외국어의 간단한 조합이었기 때문이죠.
such as Sanskrit and Greek.
그렇게 전 바로 위급 상황임을 알아차리고 경찰과 협력하여 교수님을 위험에서 구출해낼 수 있었습니다.
That's when I realized the urgency of the situation and worked with the police to get him out of danger.
교수님은 그 일이 끝나고 농담까지 하시더군요.
After all that ended, he even joked with me about it.
우리가 만든 암호가 꽤 효과적이군.
Our secret code is
앞으로도
pretty
계속
effective.
사용하는 건 어떤가?
Why don't we keep using it?
만약 우리 중에 누군가가 위험에 처하거나 연락이 끊기게 된다면
Perhaps if we end up in
이런
some danger or
방식으로
lose contact in the future,
구조를 요청할 수 있지 않겠나라고 말씀하셨죠.
why don't we use it as our SOS signal?
저라면 분명 본인을 찾아낼 수 있을 거라 믿는다고 하시면서요.
He said that he trusted I would be able to find him.
손 한번 줘볼래요?
Will you give me your hand? After getting her silent consent, oh my gosh, Artem holds her hand on the railing gently. He turns her palm over and writes a string of symbols on her palm with his index finger, each stroke giving her a solid sensation. This is the secret code my mentor and I
그리스어
use.
구문으로 이루어져 있죠.
It's a Greek phrase.
뜻은 난 여기에 있다.
It means I'm right here. After writing this, Artem seems to want to let go of her hand for a moment, but instead decides to hold it tighter. The warmth of his palm spreads into her palm, enveloping her along with his whispers.
교수님을 찾았어요.
I found him.
근데
But
어떻게 해야 다시 데려올 수 있을까요?
how can I bring him back? Oh, I love his voice right now. Oh, it sounds so... Oh, it sounds so hopeless. The combination of the voices from the past and questions from the present make it difficult for her to tell whether Artem is really asking her for a solution. The wind carries his words away easily, leaving the two of them standing in silence in the small corner of the rooftop.
물론 방금 말한 것처럼
Of course, like he said,
교수님이 구조 요청을 못하신 이유는 여러 가지가 있을 거예요.
it's very possible he hasn't been able to ask for help.
하지만 저는 예전처럼 교수님을 믿어드린다고 해도
Even if I trust him like
다른
always,
사람은 교수님이 서류를 위조한 걸 알게 되면 어떻게
what
생각할까요?
would others think when they learn about the fake legal documents he wrote?
사람들은 보통 겉모습만 보고 무언가를 판단해요.
Most people only look at the surface.
위조된 서류 문서가 눈앞에 놓이면 최악의 경우를 상정할 수밖에 없는
With the
거죠.
fake legal documents in front of them, they would assume the worst.
그래서 전 다른 사람이 교수님을 배신자라고 생각하고 행동을 취하기 전에
So I have to do something to prove his
교수님은
innocence,
변하지 않았다는 걸 증명해야만 해요.
and prove that he hasn't changed. That's why you made a second bet tonight. Subconsciously, she finished his thoughts in a whisper. After all, his words and deeds tonight have proved one thing. He'll continue to do everything he can to find Neil Hume after tonight. In front of her, although the night breeze has tousled his bangs, he looks through them at her with
두
unreserved trust.
번째 배팅은 당신이 모든 걸 알게 된 다음에도
Oh, this was the second bet.
제가 교수님을
whoops.
찾아 결백을 증명하는 걸 허락해 줄 거라는 것.
My second bet is whether you would allow me to search for my mentor and prove his innocence after you find out everything.
이제 말해줘요.
So tell me now.
두 번의 배팅. 그 결과는 제가 맞게 걸었나요?
What's the result of my two wagers? Tell me the results of my wagers. At the same moment Artem says this to her, the tall buildings around her all go to sleep one after another as the lights are turned off. As always, they will illuminate the world again the next day, just as they have for countless days and nights before. But is it truly so? As she looks at Artem, she has a strong feeling that something is changing and that neither she nor him can do anything to stop this change. Regarding your question, there's an answer you're hoping to hear, right?
네.
Yes. He trusts her completely, just like how he trusts Neil Hume. He trusts that she will understand his actions and wait for him to gather the evidence needed to restore people's faith in Neil Hume, even if he has to pay a high price. So his real question is, tell him whether he was right. So tell him he was right to bet on her out of his trust in her. Oh.
지금 당장 대답 안 해도 돼요. 부담 가질 필요도 없고요. 어떻게 하든 다 받아들일게요.
Oh. You don't have to answer me right now, and you don't need to feel very pressured either, because no matter what, I will accept whatever answer you give me.
누가 왔네요.
Someone's coming.
오늘 밤에는 충분히 많은 일이 있었으니까
A lot has happened tonight.
제가 전에 약속한 대로 집까지 데려다 줄게요.
As I promised, I'll take you home. As if to confirm Artem's words, footsteps soon sound from the other side of the rooftop. It's time for her to make a decision. People will soon learn that Neil Hume has been kidnapped and will ask Rosa and Artem whether they know more about his situation. And she will keep his secret. After her experiences tonight, she has made up her mind. Her instincts dominate her due to her turbulent and chaotic emotions. She looks at Artem and hooks her pinky around his.
이건
What is this? This way. With Artem's hand in hers, she pushes him into the small corner of the rooftop again before squeezing in herself. Don't move. Oh! Dang, Rosa. Although the footsteps start to fade in the distance, she doesn't let go of Artem yet. She quickly frees one hand to mute both of their phones.
대체 왜?
What are you? Let me stay here for a little longer. Before I answer your question, I want to confirm two things with you.
알겠어요.
I understand. Probably because he hears a stubborn tone in her words, Artem chooses not to stop her and even moves slightly closer to the railing. Only in this way can the two stay together and look into the distance in this place between the apartment and the boundless darkness of the night. With their communication devices muted, the surroundings are so quiet that only the sounds of their shared breathing can be heard. While they are shrouded in silence, the shadow cast by the railing creeps towards Artem, leaving half of his body in the soft light and the other half in the shadows. Given the current situation, if we are to find Professor Hume, Finn Jackson is our most obvious and important clue. The sooner we find him, the higher our chance of finding Professor Hume, am I right?
네.
Yes.
납치당한 사람한테 시간은 생사를 가르는 문제니까요.
For a kidnapped person, time can be a matter of life and death. So if we want to bring Professor Hume back to us as soon as possible, we must close this case as soon as we can, right?
제 생각은 그래요.
I think that. She closes her eyes to take a deep breath and takes a deep breath. Oops. When she opens her eyes, the idea that took root in her heart since she was in the home theater grows stronger. You have my promise. I'll keep your secret until we close the case.
조금 있으면 여기 있는 모두가 교수님이 납치당한 사실을 알게 될 거예요. 그땐
But it won't be long until everyone knows that he's been kidnapped. When that happens, even when that happens, I won't reveal anything that will make people start speculating. After all, no one knows for sure whether Professor Hume really has become a traitor. Publicizing this rashly is likely to cause unnecessary trouble. Moreover, he hasn't gotten in the way of our investigation yet, so it's better to wait and see. At the same time, since the mystery concerning Professor Hume is directly related to the truth of this case, our best course of action is to close the case as soon as possible.
고마워요.
Thank you. After we close the case, I'll decide whether to keep this secret depending on the situation. If you accept my conditions... Her tone is firm and slightly serious, but her extended pinky exposes her true feelings. Then I want you to make a promise to me, just like with your mentor in the past. Don't do risky things alone anymore. If you have to do something risky, bring me with you, okay?
교수님 때처럼 말인가요?
Like my mentor? Artem and his mentor, Rosa and Artem, she feels like she's in a wonderful fantasy the moment he hooks his pinky around hers. Images of her in the present and Artem in the past overlap in her mind, but this time, she'll make sure he doesn't walk down a path leading to chaos.
좋아요.
Alright,
약속한 거예요.
I promise.
결과가 어떻게 되든 당신의 판단을 절대적으로 믿을 테니까요.
No matter what happens, I'll trust your judgment. She releases Artem's hand and subconsciously sighs in relief like she's accomplished something important. Only then does she realize the rooftop of Artem's place is unusually cold at night and shivers.
이제 들어가요.
Let's go back inside.
여긴 다 좋은데 저녁만 되면 바람이 세게 불거든요.
Everything is good about this place except that the wind gets strong at night. He quickly takes off his jacket and wraps it around her before going downstairs with her. For a moment, everything feels back to normal. While listening to Artem joke about the layout of his place, she responds to his comment with a smile. If I lived in such a beautiful yet empty place, I would probably sneeze the whole time while enjoying the night view. What am I saying?
저도요.
Me too. As if to comfort her, Artem pauses while taking off his jacket in response to her words. But seeing his expression as he looks at the city night, he realizes that there's more to it than that.
하지만 여기에서 오랫동안 야경을 보고 있으면 가끔은 외로워질 때도 있어요.
If you look at the night view for too long, you may feel lonely.
이 세상은
Sometimes.
너무나도 빨리 변화하고 있어요.
Everything changes
비해
quickly in this world.
저희들의 존재는 너무 미미해서 변화를 멈출 수가 없죠.
And we're so tiny that we can't seem to do anything to stop it. Before he finishes speaking, a police car's siren blasts through the air in the middle of the night as it speeds through the streets under the rapidly constructed office buildings and luxury apartment buildings nearby. If one gazes at the scenery for too long, it really is easy to have the illusion that they are facing everything alone. Order can be broken in an instant, and the bonds established with others could suddenly disappear for good too, leaving one all alone with their loneliness. The fuzz, right? Rosa smiles in response to these thoughts and returns to the balcony while holding Artem's arm. By the way, Finn Jackson's case hasn't been closed yet, so I might be bothering you a lot in the future. You won't always be alone.
당연하죠.
Of course. So, she picks up her pace to catch up with Artem until the two of them are walking side by side. With the warm indoor area in sight, she takes off Artem's jacket and returns it to him. At the same time, she slips a candy into a pocket while he isn't paying attention. The spicy aroma of chili oil candy blends in with a faint fragrance. On the soft fabric, their scents have already intertwined. From now on, share some of your loneliness with me. Oh, that was sweet. Oh my god, back to Neil Hume! This story has been crazy. In this room, it's impossible to tell time with the clock alone. After the sound of a muffled kick resounds in this room, illuminated by cold light all year round, Matthew Richter swaggers into the room after retracting his leg. Matthew Richter is in on this too? I guess it's not surprising.
아직도 안 갔어?
So you still haven't left?
의사놀이 그만하고 빨리 정리하고 가.
Stop playing doctor. It's time to pack up and leave.
누가 오나요?
Is someone coming? Jerome Adams looks back and asks calmly. Neil Hume, who seems to be on his last breath in front of him, also raises his head slightly. What do you mean last breath? Are they gonna save him before he... Oh my god. It's starting to get really dangerous.
누구겠어?
Who do you think? Wilson Sorge.
회신하러 온다니까 좀 있으면 도착할 거야.
He's coming for a ward round and will probably be here soon. This so-called ward round refers to Wilson Sorge's routine checkup of the health status of the kidnapped individuals. Multiple. After checking their health, the kidnapped individuals will be asked to change their minds every day, usually having to choose between submitting to him or receiving a drug injection. Matthew Richter walks around Neil Hume and clicks his tongue as he kicks away his syringe that was left here a few days ago.
고유진 몰래 석찬호 보러 온 거 아니야? 그러면 지금 빨리 튀거나.
Oh, you came to see Neil Hume behind Wilson Sorge's back, right? So you should leave now or
얼버무릴 수 있는 변명을 찾는 게 좋을 거다.
you'll need to come up with an excuse quickly. Before Jerome Adams can respond, Neil Hume winks obviously at him with his murky eyes. As his eyes search for Jerome Adams, he utters something hoarsely.
자네
So you weren't
고유진이 보낸 게 아니었나?
sent by Wilson Sorge?
말씀드렸잖아요. 어려서부터 전 제
I already told
뜻대로만
you.
행동해 왔다고요.
I decided to only do what I wanted since I was young.
난
Neil Hume's voice trails off, maybe because he's too tired to keep speaking, or perhaps he's simply lost in thought. Seeing that the person in front of him has fallen silent, Jerome Adams quickly changes the subject.
지금이라도 결정하세요.
You should make a decision now.
스승님의 명령이 아니라 제 의지로 교수님을 찾아왔다는 걸 알게 되셨으니
Now that you know that I've come
이제
here on my
제가
own and
가져온
not because
서류를
of Dr.
한번 보고
Sorge,
싶지 않으신가요?
are you still not willing to look at the documents I brought?
한 번만 펼쳐보시면
You take a
새롭게
look.
시작할 기회를 얻게 될지도 모르죠.
Maybe you'll be able to
왜
start over.
본인이 아직도 금난 계곡에 남아 있는지 생각해 보세요.
Think about why you stayed at Gladiolus Valley. What are you saying?
석 교수님,
Sorry, I cut him off.
이곳에 만병통치약이 있는지 직접 확인하고 싶지 않으신가요?
Professor Hume, don't you really want to confirm for yourself if there's a panacea here?
아니면 단순한 연구보다는 살아있는 사람한테 더 관심이 가시는 건가요?
Are you more interested in real people than in scientific research?
저나 고유진 같은 사람이 왜 이런 길을 선택했는지 궁금하시겠죠.
Aren't you curious? Sorry. About finding out why people like me and Wilson Swords chose this path?
정말 저한테 관심이 없으셨다면 애초에 저랑 이렇게 오래 대화를 나누시지도 않았을 테니까요.
If you really had no interest, then you wouldn't have talked to me for this long.
듣자하니 법조인들은 저희 같은 사람들의 심리를 그렇게 흥미롭게 여긴다던데요.
The minds of people like us are appealing to some legal professionals.
날 끌어들이면
If you're trying to win me over. Neil Hume laughs mockingly while coughing at the wet ground.
쓸모를 다한 자네가 스승님에게 버려지는 건 아닐지 걱정되지도 않나.
Aren't you afraid your mentor will toss you aside when he's done using you?
그 자는 네 아버지한테도 손을 댔네.
He got rid of your
너한테
father with his
무슨
own hands,
짓을
right?
하든 죄책감조차 느끼지 않겠지.
So he wouldn't feel guilty about anything he does to you.
이제 금방 고유진이 회진하러 올 거네, 견우.
Wilson Swords is coming for a word round, Jerome Adams.
좀처럼 날 보러 온 걸까? 아니면
Is he here to see me?
점점 말을 안 듣기 시작한 널 찾으러 온 걸까?
Or is he coming
생각해
to
본
look
적
for
있나?
you after realizing that you've become more disobedient? Think about it carefully. Before Neil Hume finishes speaking, Matthew Richter clicks his tongue a few more times to rush them, but he turns and leaves the room after seeing that he's been ignored. After watching him leave the room without saying anything to save himself, Neil Hume looks into Jerome Adams' eyes again. Now,
구경 좀 시켜주는 건 어떤가?
how will you expand my horizons? God.
어라, 이상하네.
Oh, how strange. In the Forensic Evaluation Center of Stellus, a researcher frowns while flipping through a stack of freshly printed reports on Ben Jackson's case. A colleague who is walking toward the pantry with a cup of instant noodles casts a curious glance at him and is about to say something when the researcher waves at him first. Hi, Roderick.
미안한데 최대한 빨리 경찰 쪽에 알려줄 수 있어?
Can you contact the police for me right now?
감정 결과가 나왔는데
The forensic
사건
results are
현장에서
out.
발견한 그 캐리어 최예월과 관련 없을 가능성이 높아.
Oh!
오히려
The suitcase found near the crime scene may have nothing to do with Tara Upton because is it not her blood? The researcher suddenly stops talking. An uninvited visitor walks in with big strides before catching his breath after pushing the door open.
지금 시간 되겠습니까?
Are you free right now?
감식반이 쓰레기 매립장에서 비닐봉지 하나를 입수했습니다.
Ah!
최대한 빨리 감정을 부탁드리죠.
The CSI found another plastic bag from the landfill and needs you to issue a forensic report as soon as possible. Don't end like this.
비닐봉지?
A
안에
plastic
뭐가
bag?
들었죠?
What's inside?
지금 경찰이 확인한 물품 중에는
Oh, I'm so
김태석의
scared.
옷가지가 섞여 들어 있습니다.
Among the items confirmed by the police so far are articles of clothing that belong to Finn Jackson.
그럼 다른 건
And the other things? Even though the least likely hypothesis must be stated clearly at this time, so Darius Morgan says one more thing without any delay.
김태석 본인의 신체 조직일 가능성이 있습니다.
It's possible they might be Finn Jackson's organs. Ew! Ooh, gross. Did Tara Upton kill Finn Jackson instead? Oh, gross. Ew. Oh, no. I knew it. Cliffhanger.